So this crazy hot, rich, and kinda standoffish VP totally gets his V-card swiped overnight. And the part that made him beyond mad. The girl who did the deed with him completely ghosted, ditching the presidential suite. A guy was lying on the bed, totally built and tall. His face was like legit gorgeous. Was this for real the man she'd been married to for 2 whole years? She never in a million years thought he'd be this young and hot. Susie bit her lip, then totally went for it. She climbed on top of him and started going for his belt. Just then, a strong hand with super defined knuckles grabbed her wrist and yanked it back. She tumbled right onto his chest. His warm breath hit her face as he asked in this deep, icy voice, "Who are you?" Susie's heart basically stopped. Her fingers brushed his lips. "Shh, don't ask. I'm your wife." Finally, she just went for it and kissed him all soft but also completely wild. Susie's hands got brave, going right for his chest. That's when he flipped her over in one move, pinning her down. "You asked for this." He kissed her neck like he was starving. The next morning, Fu Nanching woke up to find the bold girl from the night before had totally vanished. He was instantly furious, his eyes blazing with some scary level rage. She hooked up with him and then just bounced with zero explanation. A little later, his assistant rushed in. "Sir, we found out who the woman from last night was." As he got dressed, his voice was pure ice. "Who is it? The madam?" Fu Nanching was totally confused. "Which madam?" "2 years ago, the family matriarch set you up to marry Suwe, the daughter from the other family." Fu Nanching's whole vibe went dark, like he was ready to murder someone. He turned and stormed off to Yu Garden. Meanwhile, Suwe saw the marks all over her neck and her expression soured. "So how was it with my husband last night?" "Had a good time, didn't you?" "Those marks were from her husband. They were supposed to be on her asterisk neck, but she wasn't the one there." Her words were a total gut punch to Susie. She looked up. "I did what you asked. Can you let my grandma go now?" Suwe gritted her teeth, warning her, "You better keep what happened last night locked down. If you dare tell a soul about being with my husband, your grandma is a goner. Fu Nanching is the head of the Fu family now. Your job as my stand-in is over. I'm taking back my spot as Mrs. Fu." It finally clicked for Susie that the mysterious head of the Fu family was actually Fu Nanching. 2 years ago, Suwe hated his guts for being an illegitimate kid and made Susie marry him instead. And now she wanted to be Mrs. Fu again. Just then, Suwe reached up and wiped off the foundation on Susie's face. Suddenly, a long, nasty scar was on full display. "Get it," Suwe sneered. Susie touched her cheek and quietly said she did, while Suwe's internal monologue was probably calling her an ugly freak. All of a sudden, a maid came rushing in, totally panicked. "Young madam, the master is back!" Suwe shot Susie a death glare. In that moment, the door opened and Fu Nanching walked in, rocking a custom suit that just screamed power and ice. Suwe ran up to him, all smiles and energy. She tried to act all cute, throwing herself at him. "Honey, you were so rough with me in the hotel room last night." But plot twist, Fu Nanching grabbed her wrist, his voice dripping with cold fury. "If you have a death wish, just say it. You actually dared to pull a stunt on me." Suwe felt like her wrist was about to snap. She frantically explained, "Honey, it was your grandma's who pushed us to finally seal the deal. She slipped something in my drink. I'm the victim here too." Fu Nanching's face was a mask of pure annoyance. The matriarch again. Susie was hiding in a corner watching him and totally freaking out. She'd heard that the Fu family boss was a complete shark in the business world, showing absolutely no mercy. If he found out she was the one he'd been with, she would be so completely doomed. Susie turned to make a run for it. Just then, Fu Nanching's sharp senses picked something up. He looked up and his eyes locked right onto Susie. "Hey, stop right there!" Susie froze on the spot, her heart hammering. Had he figured it out, Fu Nanching walked right up to Susie. "Who are you? Turn around." His whole vibe was just way too intense. Susie had no choice but to slowly turn and face him. The first thing Fu Nanching noticed were her super clear bright eyes. His gaze went sharp as a razor. "It's you." Susie's heart literally skipped a beat. Oh my god, did he recognize her? The VP had thought that girl was his actual wife. He never expected it to be the quiet little maid beside her. Fu Nanching just kept staring at her, his gaze totally fixed. Under his stare, the love bites on her neck felt like they were on fire. Seeing things were getting mega awkward, Suwe quickly jumped in. "Honey, are you getting her mixed up with someone? This is just Susie, the new maid." Fu Nanching looked down at her, his cool expression hiding a look that was part investigation and part daring. The little maid met his gaze head on. Susie was a nervous wreck, but she played it cool, lifting her head to make sure he got a good look at the long scar on her right cheek. She put it on full display. "Sir, you've got the wrong person. I don't know you. I'm just a maid here." Fu Nanching frowned a little. For real, that wasn't the face. "Then why were you trying to bolt just a second ago?" "Sir, I wasn't running. I was just on my way to the kitchen to get to work." Fu Nanching stared her down for a few solid seconds. The face he remembered from that room was Suwe's. Yet here he was, mixing up a maid for her right in front of Suwe. His voice went flat. "Go." Susie turned and walked to the kitchen. Fu Nanching blew Suwe off and went upstairs. Suwe immediately stormed into the kitchen, fuming. "Susie, I'm warning you, stay the hell away from my husband." Susie just gave her a blank look. "I can bounce right now if you want, but you have to let my grandmother go." Suwe yelled at her. "The job's not done. I already told people you're a maid here. My husband will get suspicious. If you just disappear, you're staying put as a maid. She gave a nasty smirk. In that case, you better pull out all the stops to lock down your title as Mrs. Fu and fast. You definitely don't want me sticking around to watch you crash and burn. Shot her a death glare, totally speechless. Then it hit her, how could some ugly girl have such gorgeous eyes, and why did her face kind of look like her own? You know, before all the expensive plastic surgery. The surgeon had told her the design was based on some girl he saw in the street downtown. As Suwe walked away, she sneered, "Stay in your lane, you ugly freak." She told the staff to stick Suxy in the crappiest little maid's room and give her all the gross back-breaking chores. Back in that tiny room, Suxy just stared at the long scar on her face in the mirror. Staying here meant having to face that guy, but for her grandma, she had no other choice. At least Fu Nanching had no clue what she really looked like. Even though she was technically the Su family's real daughter, she'd been switched at birth. After they found her, they were disgusted that she grew up in the middle of nowhere, had zero class, and had a scar, so they refused to officially claim her. They just shoved her into the nanny's room and gave her the silent treatment, while the precious Su family daughter, Suwe, loved making her life a living hell. Right when she was about to head back to the countryside, the Fu marriage deal went down. The Sus basically held her grandma hostage, forcing her to be the replacement bride. She was their puppet, plain and simple. Suxy's bangs hid the determination in her eyes. She had to save her grandma. Fu Nanching went back to the master bedroom, took an ice-cold shower, and slipped on some black silk pajamas. He stood by the massive window taking a sip of red wine. A second later, he set down the wine glass. He fell onto the soft bed, the same one Suwe had been sleeping in for 2 years. That's when Fu Nanching caught a faint, amazing scent lingering on the pillow. He'd smelled it last night, too. The crazy part was he'd actually slept well. He'd had major insomnia for years, but last night he just knocked out. Was it because of Suxy's scent? To test his theory, Fu Nanching got up and headed downstairs. Soon enough, he spotted her slim figure in the living room. Suxy was trimming flowers and putting them in a vase. Then she heard steady footsteps coming up right behind her, stopping just inches away. The next thing she knew, 2 large hands were on her waist. Through her thin shirt, she could feel his broad, firm chest pressing against her back, pulling her into his arms. Suxy shivered, completely frozen. She didn't have to turn around to know it was Fu Nanching. Suddenly, his handsome face was right next to hers, his voice a low whisper. "Suxy, why do you smell so good?" "What perfume are you wearing?" The hot, super tall VP had weird taste. He wasn't into his own wife, but was all over the new maid. He totally thought she was Suwe. Suxy immediately spun around. "Sir, you have the wrong person. I'm not your wife." Just then a maid called from the hallway. "This way, Mrs. Fu." Suwe was here. Suxy's heart dropped. Her finger got pricked by a thorn. It finally dawned on Fu Nanching that he was holding the maid, not Suwe. His perfect eyebrows furrowed just a tiny bit. This was the second time he'd made this mistake. She quickly pushed him away. "Sir, let go of me, your wife is coming." Fu Nanching watched her panic. She seemed so scared of him, always staring at the ground, too afraid to even look at him. He asked softly, "Where did you get hurt?" Suxy finally looked up at him, her eyes a little dazed and shy. "It's nothing. Thanks for asking, sir." She grabbed her cut finger and popped it into her mouth to stop the bleeding. Fu Nanching's eyes got darker as he stared at her lips. Her mouth was dewy and had this naturally stunning red color. At that exact moment, Suwe walked in, catching Fu Nanching and Suxy standing super close. Her face went sour in a second, and she snapped at Suxy. "What are you just standing there for? Get to the kitchen now." Suxy scrambled away. Suwe turned to Fu Nanching, getting all cutesy. "Honey, let's go eat." In the kitchen, Suxy tried to calm her racing heart. She'd been terrified for a second, thinking Fu Nanching knew who she was. Thankfully, he just had her mixed up with someone else. All she wanted was to get her grandma out and avoid any more drama. Outside, a servant called, "Suxy, bring the milk out." She carried the milk to the dining room, walking in just in time to hear Suwe trashing her. "Babe, this Suxy girl is a total country bumpkin. Everyone avoids her because of her messed up face. I was the only one nice enough to give her a job." Suxy's face was a blank slate. She was so over it. Suwe was always putting her down. She glanced up at the man at the table. Fu Nanching was just sitting there reading a newspaper like he hadn't heard a single word Suwe said. During the day, Suxy was a student teacher at a local school. The second class ended, she was out of there standing on the side of the road trying to catch a cab to Garden, but it was impossible to get one there. All of a sudden, a sick-looking luxury car pulled up beside her. The back window slid down, and there was Fuyu's handsome face. "Hey, little clown, can't get a ride? Hop in, I'll take you." Suxy hesitated for a second, but got in anyway. "Thanks." She opened the back door and slid in. Fuyu said, "Little clown, this is my uncle." Suxy looked toward the driver's seat. It was Fu Nanching. She was filled with instant regret. How on earth was Fu Nanching Fuyu's uncle? What are the odds? "Uncle, this is my classmate Suxy. She's had a massive crush on me forever. Today she even wrote me a love letter. Let me read it to you." As he said that, Fuyu pulled a letter out of his pocket. Suxy was in shock. When had she ever written Fuyu a love letter? It had to be some of her classmates pulling a stupid prank, forging a letter in her name. Just then, Fuyu started reading the letter super dramatically. Dear Fuyu, I'm like so totally into you. I love your sexy lips, I just want to kiss you. I love your six-pack abs, I just want to see what's under. Outfit. Even though I'm not a hottie, I have a super sweet personality. Please be my boyfriend, signed your little clown Susie. I couldn't help but glance up and my eyes totally locked with Fu Nanching's in the rearview mirror. My heart immediately started pounding. I couldn't even look at him because the second our eyes met, I had a total flashback to that night in the hotel. His hands on my waist, the intense way he looked at me. Fuyu threw his arm around me, all smiles. Little clown, I had no idea you were crushing on me this hard. Okay, it's official, we're dating. You're my girlfriend now. I had to fight the urge to literally shove him out of the moving car. Shut up! Fu Nanching's eyes were straight up ice. He slammed on the brakes and his voice was beyond cold. Fuyu, get out! Fuyu just looked confused uncle, this isn't my stop. Fu Nanching's face got even darker. He bit out every single word. If your legs work, then walk. Why did he even care if we were dating? Why was he being so weird about it? Fuyu is totally terrified of his uncle, so he immediately let go of me. See you tomorrow, little clown, I'll pick you up for our date. Bye, Uncle So. The second he was out, Fu Nanching floored it. And then, it was just the two of us in this crazy expensive car. The guy didn't say a word. I was sitting there stiff as a board. 30 minutes later, we pulled up to Yew Garden. Fu Nanching got out and practically yanked me from the car, his voice totally annoyed as he warned me not to mess around. With his nephew. Yeah, right. I'm just the hated stand-in. By day, I'm the ugly, quiet little maid. But at night, I take off the mask and become the secret girl for a literal billionaire CEO. Fu Nanching got back to his room and crashed into bed, but he couldn't sleep. The scent that always lingered on his sheets was totally gone. Without it, his insomnia was back full force. He sat up, grabbing his phone, and made the call telling them to send the young madam up. Downstairs, Suwe was literally bouncing. She ran right over to me to gloat. My husband wants me upstairs tonight. We're finally sharing a room. I gave her zero reaction. She just smirked. Come on, help me with my bath. Afterwards, Suwe grabbed some super expensive perfume and doused herself in it. So jealous, Susie, don't forget you're just the pathetic little stand-in. I'm the real Mrs. Fu. And with that, she strutted out. Suwe burst into the master bedroom and basically threw herself at him, cooing, Honey, I'm here. Fu Nanching had been waiting for her for that specific scent, but when she jumped on him, all he got was a wave of nasty perfume. He shoved her off instantly. What is that smell? Why don't you smell like the sheets? Suwe totally froze, and then he mentioned the scent on the bed and it hit her. She'd never even slept in this bed. I had. He wanted my scent. Fu Nanching's eyes narrowed dangerously. Maybe the person who's been sleeping here wasn't you. OMG, he's gonna find out! She scrambled for a lie. It was me. I swear I just took a bath with flower petals. It must have covered up the other smell. Fu Nanching was furious. Then what are you waiting for? Go shower. Now I want that original scent or you can kiss being Mrs. Fu goodbye. Suwe could tell he was in a seriously bad mood today and just bolted. She wondered if someone had ticked him off. I was just getting ready for bed when Suwe stormed in looking totally defeated. You're back already, did Fu Nanching kick you out? Suwe gritted her teeth and ordered, Tonight you're sleeping with my husband. When I heard that, I just froze for a few seconds before I could even speak. Your husband asked for you. I'm not going. Suwe actually cursed. You think I want you to go if it wasn't for... When she saw I wasn't budging, she had to pull out her trump card. She pulled out her phone and showed me a video. You should really think this through, Susie. Your grandma seems to miss you. She asks for you by name every single day. The second I saw my grandma, I started to panic. I had no choice. I couldn't say no. I just had to agree. Fine, I'll go. A nasty winning smile spread across Suwe's face. She made me promise I wouldn't let her husband get close to me, and that I had to be out of there before 6 in the morning. Not 1 minute longer. I just looked down and whispered, I get it. She smirked again. Now hurry up and put those scars back on your face. We wouldn't want you to scare my husband. Again. I went back to the maid's room and wiped off the fake ugly scars. It felt so good to take the makeup off, but I knew I had to be so careful so no one would find out. Suwe kept using my grandma to threaten me. It was clear I needed to find a way to figure out where she was, and fast. Meanwhile, Fu Nanching was lying in bed, super annoyed that the little maid with those innocent-looking eyes would write a cringy love letter to hit on his nephew. I walked out and headed to the master bedroom. I really thought after that one night we'd never have to do this again, but here I was having to pretend to be Suwe and get in his bed. I carefully climbed in, staying all the way on the other side as far from him as possible. Fu Nanching opened his eyes looking at the person next to him. He sounded annoyed. Why are you so far away? Get over here. I sort of scooted a little closer, but he just reached out, grabbed my hand, and pulled me right into his arms. He immediately smelled that nice scent. This was it. This was the one. He asked, You never told me what kind of perfume you use. I could feel myself blushing as I told him the truth. I don't wear any. Fu Nanching started playing with my hair and kinda laughed. So you're telling me this is just how you smell? I got so shy I buried my face. That's not what I meant, young master. Fu Nanching's face immediately fell. He grabbed my chin, making me look at him. Only the little maid called him young master. My heart literally skipped a beat. I was so nervous I completely forgot what I was supposed to call him. I rushed to explain, I'm nervous. It's my first time, being with you. He cracked a small smile. You seemed pretty bold that night, you practically jumped me. So what are you supposed to call me? I was so embarrassed I could barely get it out. Husband. If Fu Nanching ever found out I was really that little maid. Like, what was he even thinking? His arm was clamped around her waist like he was scared she'd bolt, and his voice was all low. Go to sleep, Susie. She just mumbled, night. Yeah, the girl everyone called a monster had to play stand-in for her sister, sharing a bed with a literal billionaire CEO. Susie's eyes snapped open at the crack of dawn. A glance at the clock showed it was already 6. Oh crap. Susie's one rule was to be gone before 6, not a second. Over. She was late. Susie tried to slide out of bed, but Funing's arm tightened around her waist. Where are you going so early? Stay a little longer. This guy apparently had major insomnia, but holding her he'd slept like a rock. He just wanted to keep her there. But Susie was panicking. No way could she stay. She wriggled out of his grip and shot up. I'm just gonna get up first. You can sleep in. Funing's brow furrowed, totally confused why she was bailing so fast like she was running from a fire. He'd asked her to stay and she just left once Susie finished putting her scars back on. She walked out to find Sushi looking absolutely thunderous. Sushi hissed, Susie, what was that? You stayed with my husband for 5 extra minutes. Was it just too cozy in there for you to handle? Leaving. Susie felt like she'd been caught red-handed. If you're that worried, then maybe you should stop making me share a bed with your husband. Seriously, it was a good thing she bolted or she wouldn't have had time to get her makeup on. Sushi looked like she was about to blow a gasket, but she had bigger fish to fry. What scent was that? Give me the perfume now. Okay, why were both Funning and Sushi so obsessed with her perfume? Susie just raised an eyebrow and pulled out the bottle. Sushi snatched at her eyes, landing on the CCE label. But the bottle was bone dry, totally empty, which meant Sushi would have to buy her own if she wanted to. Get into Funning's bed. Sushi's face twisted into a nasty snarl as she swung her hand at Susie. You freak, wasting CCE perfume on you is a joke. But as the slap flew, Susie's hand shot up and caught Sushi's wrist. She gave a cool little smirk. Oh, so it's not a waste when you use it, then go buy some. That brand was crazy exclusive. Sushi and her mom had been trying to get it forever. This so-called country bumpkin probably bought a knockoff. Sushi was about to lose it, but then she caught a glimpse of the master bedroom door opening. Funning. A weird smile spread across her face. Susie, are you making fun of me? Because I can't afford it. Then she let out a shriek and stumbled backward dramatically. Susie, why would you push me? Just then a tall figure strode over, planting himself in front of Sushi. Who gave you permission to lay a hand on her? Seeing Sushi's instant soap opera performance, Susie knew exactly what was up. Her eyes met Funning's, which were like chips of ice. He was staring right at her, his expression totally blank. He said one word, apologize. Susie's jaw set. I didn't touch her. She's faking. I'm not apologizing. Sushi clutched Funning's sleeve, her voice all weak and pathetic. Honey, she grabbed me. And then she shoved me. His stare felt like daggers and his voice dropped even lower. I'm giving you one chance. Apologize. Now. And for a split second, she'd actually expected something from Funning. What a joke. She was just the stand-in. To him, she was a nobody. And now Sushi was hiding behind him, flashing a nasty, triumphant smirk. Susie stood there for a beat, then walked right up to Sushi and gave her a real shove. With a legit shriek this time, Sushi actually hit the floor. Susie looked down at her. There. Now I really pushed you. My bad. And with that, she turned on her heel and walked away. Funning was clearly not expecting that. As he watched her walk away, all cold and defiant, his gaze darkened. She glanced back at him one last time. Sir, I already apologized. I'm going down to start my work. Sushi scrambled up, shaking with rage. Honey, she's just the help. How can she get away with that? You have to do something. Funning's expression soured. His voice was ice cold. Sushi, don't ever pull a stunt that pathetic in front of me again. Sushi was totally humiliated. He knew, then why did he? Funning's face was a blank mask. The only reason I backed you up is because I was pleased with last night's arrangement. Be in my room again tonight. She just stood there, frozen. One night. It took only one night for Susie to start getting to him. If the truth came out, her position as Mrs. Fu would be toast. No Funning could never find out. Sushi whipped out her phone and speed-dialed her mom, sobbing, Mom, you have to get me a bottle of CCE perfume like right now. It's how Susie is getting to him. Her mom just laughed on the other end. Shuo, relax. I already have someone tracking down that perfume. And as for Susie, your father and I have a plan to marry her off. Hearing that, Sushi smirked. Marry her off, her mom chuckled. We know a certain young master son. He's our ticket to getting that CCE perfume hookup. Your father and I have put together a very generous package for Susie to deliver to him. So later at school, Susie got a call from Lilan. She wanted to meet at the Cloudy Hotel to talk about her grandmother. Right. Susie was dying to see what kind of scheme this mother-daughter duo was cooking up. A slow smile spread across her face. She fired off a text to Sushi. OMG, I forgot my room card. Can you bring it ASAP? I'm locked out. They all saw an ugly duckling having no clue that the billionaire CEO was actually starting to fall for her. After her last class, Susie grabbed a cab straight to the Cloudy Hotel. 30 minutes later, she walked through the lobby doors. And right at that moment, Funing's car was parked just outside and he saw the whole thing. He and Secretary Song headed inside just in time to see his little maid, Susie, slip into room 809. He frowned, and then some guy followed her in. Who is that? Funing demanded. Secretary Song leaned in, his voice low. Sir, that's Sun Quan. He has a really bad rep, and some creepy hobbies. Word is 2 of his wives are already dead. Song was totally clueless about what his CEO was thinking. The guy's face, lit up by the sketchy lights, was impossible to read. He just shot back cold as ice. Nah, he went in on his own. No one made him. Susie heard someone coming, spun around, and saw this total creep Squan staring at her. Who are you? He gave this nasty grin. I'm Squan Gorgeous, and you're the special delivery from the Sue family. He went for her, but Susie was way too fast and dodged. She smirked, so glad she came ready. She showed him her whole face, and half of it was covered in some seriously gnarly scars. Squan totally lost it when he saw. You freak, where did you crawl out from? The Sue's sent me this asterisk. But Susie was super chill. Young master's son, don't flip out. This has to be a mix-up. I might not be a looker, but my sister is literally the prettiest girl in city. Asterisk, she's asterisk gotta be the one you're supposed to marry. And look, here she is now. Right on cue, the door swings open and Sushi walks in. Susie, are you for real? You forgot your keycard, so I had to bring it all the way here. The second Squan saw Sushi, his creepy eyes just totally lit up. He scrambled over to her. My bride, you're finally here. Sushi was like frozen. Young master's son, what are you doing? Get off me. Susie is the one you're supposed to marry, she yelled. Sushi, shut your mouth. You think the Sue family would try to marry asterisk me, asterisk a girl with scars, to young master's son? What do you take him for, a joke? Squan shoved her hard right onto the bed, laughing like a maniac. Now the Sue family won't even think about tricking me. Sushi Gorgeous, let's have some fun. Sushi was freaking out. This was supposed to happen to Susie. How did it end up being her? Young master's son, let me go. No, Susie, help me, please. While Sushi was screaming for help, Susie just walked out. Sushi, only you, the #1 beauty in Yes City, are good enough for young master's son. She shut the door hard. Then her phone buzzed. She checked it. It was a text from Fuyu, of all people. Little ugly girl, I finally found you. A few seconds later, he was calling. Susie ignored it. She figured he was just messing with her. Why was he blowing up her phone? She could not deal with this uncle and nephew duo again. But just then, a familiar shape was walking toward her. No way. Fuyu had actually followed her. Susie was shook. There was literally nowhere to run. So she just shoved open the door to the presidential suite next to her and ducked inside. But Fuyu was heading right for that same suite, yelling, Uncle, Uncle, and that's when it hit Susie. Oh my god, this can't be Fu Nanching's room, can it? She glanced around the huge room, then sprinted to the bed and dove under the covers. Fu Nanching came out of the bathroom, and his deep, annoyed voice boomed, Fuyu, what's with all the yelling? It was totally him. Susie knew that voice anywhere. So to ditch Fuyu, she'd jumped into Fu Nanching's bed. The girl with the scar trying to hide from a regular dude had actually climbed into the bed of a billionaire CEO. Fuyu was whining. Uncle, I heard you married Sushu, the biggest babe in your city. That's like huge news, and you didn't even tell me I want to meet my new aunt. As Fu Nanching went to get into bed, he pulled back the covers. Fine, come over for dinner in a few days. But then he totally sensed something was off. Someone was in his bed. His eyes narrowed. He reached out and yanked the covers up. And there was Susie's little face with that long scar staring right at him. It was his maid. Fuyu couldn't see a thing from where he was standing. He pulled out his phone, looking confused. Uncle, have you seen Susie? She's here at the Cloudly Hotel today, but I can't find her anywhere. And her phone's going straight to voicemail. Fu Nanching just smirked. Yeah, I see her right now. She's in my bed. Hearing Fuyu ask about her, Susie looked up at him, her eyes all wide and begging, and she just shook her head like, please don't rat me out, just let me hide for a sec. Fu Nanching was thinking, yeah, right, and was about to yank her out of his bed and toss her out. But in that split second, Susie lunged forward. She grabbed onto his super strong legs. His back went rigid against the headboard, his Adam's apple bobbing like crazy. A sudden wave of heat washed over him as Susie clung to him for dear life, like she was part of him. Just then, Fuyu looked up from his phone. Yo, Uncle, why so quiet? You seen that dork Susie anywhere? Fu Nanching yanked the blanket over her in a flash. making sure his nephew couldn't see a thing. He just shook his head. Nope. All right, I'll check somewhere else. Later, uncle. And just like that, Fuyu was gone. Now it was just the two of them in the room again. Fu Nanching ripped the covers back, hissing, "You done clinging to me, get off!" Susie had never wanted to die of embarrassment more. She scrambled off him to explain, but her stupid long hair got snagged on his robe button, and she was yanked right back. Fu Nanching's gorgeous face went totally dark as he gritted his teeth. His voice was low and dangerous. "Susie, are you seriously doing this on purpose?" This super awkward position made Susie's face feel like it was on fire. Her heart was suddenly going a million miles a minute. "No, my hair's stuck on your button, I'm trying to get it." Fu Nanching felt her hands brushing against his chest. And even through the fabric, it was like little bolts of electricity shot straight to his core. "Susie, what are you even touching right now?" he growled. Susie totally freaked her fingers, turning into useless spaghetti. "I'm not touching anything. Can you just help me?" He roughly yanked her hair free, then threw the covers aside and stormed out of the bed, roaring, "Get out of my bed!" Susie scrambled off the bed and stood in front of him, tripping over her words. "Sir, I swear I didn't know this was your room. I was just doing what you said, hiding from your nephew, and I ran in here." Before she get a word in, Fu Nanching cut her off. "I told you to stay away from my nephew, not come and hit on me." Susie shot back. "I didn't." Fu Nanching reached out and grabbed her chin, mocking her, still gonna deny it. "You were just trying to get a room with Squan, weren't you?" Susie totally froze. He'd seen her with Squan. Just as she was about to explain that it was because Fu Nanching wasn't trying to hear any of it. "Playing my nephew hooking up with Squan and now you're sneaking into my bed, Susie? Like, do you have any shame at all?" Susie just looked at him, a smirk playing on her lips. If I am coming on to you, why are you so worked up? Could it be that you're actually into it?" And just like that, the ugly girl dared to straight up kiss the billionaire CEO. "Fu Nanching, what are you even saying?" Susie raised her eyebrows, her bright eyes holding a flirty look. "Am I wrong? The way you're acting, you're just mad you can't handle being into someone like me." Fu Nanching's eyes instantly went dark. He reached out and wrapped his hand around her throat. "Susie, are you asking for a death wish?" She couldn't get any air and the feeling of suffocating just got worse. She wasn't about to die like this. She still had so much she needed to do. Fu Nanching stared her down, totally psycho, with no sign of letting go. Then an idea sparked. She leaned in fast and pressed her lips against his. Fu Nanching froze. She actually kissed him first. He wanted to shove her off, but her lips were so soft and sweet it was like intoxicating. While he was totally stunned, Susie pushed him away and backed up a few steps. Fu Nanching was literally fuming. He had to be crazy to ever think this thirsty little maid could be the girl from that night. That girl was Susie, not her. He threatened her. "This is the last time. You pull a stunt like this again and you won't be seeing the light of day." He grabbed a tissue and scrubbed at his lips. "Even if I were to be into someone, Fu Nanching would only be into gorgeous women. So don't even think about it. I'm not into you." His cold, brutal words hit her like a ton of bricks. Susie didn't say a thing. Him like I care if he's interested. Then she turned and just bounced. Susie went to the bathroom and splashed cold water on her face. It didn't matter if Fu Nanching hated her. It's not like they were a thing anyway. As soon as she got her grandma safe, she'd be out of his life for good. She walked out of the Cloudly Hotel, trying her best to just erase everything that went down. Just then, Fuyu came running up. "Ugly girl, there you are. I've been looking all over for you." This guy Fuyu just wouldn't quit. He'd actually found her. Looks like all that hiding was pointless. She gave him a deadpan look. "What do you want, Fuyu?" He just smiled. "Do I need a reason to find my girl? Come on, let's go hang out." She laid it out for him. "Fuyu, I didn't write that love letter. I'm not into you, and I'm not gonna be your girlfriend." Susie tried to walk away, but then Fuyu's eyes went wide and he stared at her, totally bugging out. "Ugly girl, your face! Oh my god, Susie, you're gorgeous. Why are you rocking the whole ugly duckling thing?" At that exact moment, a tall, handsome guy walked out of the Cloudly Hotel. It was Fu Nanching. Fuyu saw his uncle immediately and yelled, Uncle, dude, you gotta see Susie's face." Susie quickly ducked behind him, making sure Fu Nanching couldn't see her. Fuyu, please don't tell anyone about my disguise, okay?" "Why?" Fuyu asked, all confused. "Because it's like super complicated. Fuyu, please just help me keep it on the down low. Don't tell a soul." Seeing her super serious look, Fuyu nodded. "All right, I promise I'll keep your secret, but you have to do one thing for me." He grinned. "It's no big deal." Fuyu was totally stoked. "Be my girlfriend." This guy was seriously using this against her. She shot him down fast. "No, I already told you I don't like you. Stop wasting your time on me. I have to go." She glanced up and saw Fu Nanching's dark eyes locked on her. She had no choice but to keep hiding behind Fuyu. That whole scene just ticked him off even more. He marched right over to them. Fuyu smiled. "Then just give me a shot. Be my girlfriend for 1 month. If you're still not into me after a month, I'll back off for good." If she said no, her cover would be blown. "Oh, fine. I'll do it." The hotshot rich vice president looked down on her for being just a maid. Little did he know she was the actual boss in charge. Susie quickly threw her makeup back on behind him. Just then, Fu Nanching came over. Fuyu, what's all the yelling about? What's up with Susie's face? He lied straight to his face. Oh, I just wanted you to see how not so hot Susie is. She looks even worse today than yesterday, haha. Susie was done with her makeup. She stepped out from behind him. Fuyu laughed. Ugly girl, don't be shy, come hang with me. Uncle, this girl right here officially agreed to go out with me. Susie could feel Fu Nanching's icy death stare on her like it could burn a hole right through her. She had literally just crawled out of his bed, and now she was dating his nephew? Yeah, no wonder he thinks she's got zero class. Just then, Secretary Song quietly reminded him, Sir, the meeting starts in 30 minutes. We should probably head back to the office. Fu Nanching tore his eyes away and turned to go. Fuyu was totally psyched. I was a total bro just now, right? I didn't spill a thing about your situation. So let's go on that date. Movie's on me. Susie shut him down. I'm good, Fuyu. Not really feeling a movie. I gotta go. After saying that, she turned and took off. Fuyu sighed. Why does she always ditch me? The second she left, her phone started ringing. It was Lilon. Susie hit accept. Susie, you need to come home. Now. She hung up. Right after. The second Susie walked into the living room, she heard Suwe sobbing. You have to make this right, Mom. She totally did that on purpose. Susie just stood there on the side watching the whole drama unfold. Kadu Lilon shot up, pointing a finger right at her. Susie, you're just evil. You totally set your sister up to go see Squan. Have you any idea what kind of creep he is? And went to slap her. But Susie caught her wrist, a sly little smile on her face. Oh, so you do know what Squan is like, Mom. I thought you were clueless. Just then, Su Chengrong stormed in his face like a thundercloud. Lilon rushed over. Honey, what did Sun say? Su Chengrong was fuming. What do you think he said? Sun already got our bid to CC perfume for us. We were this close to sealing the deal, and now Suwe went and busted Sun's head open. If that was you, would you still want to play go-between? Suwe started crying. Dad, Mom, I'm the one who got hurt here. It's all Susie's fault. Su Chengrong yelled. Even if you grew up in the middle of nowhere with no manners, you don't act like this. Do you have any clue how important Sun and CC are to this family? She just smirked. I didn't before. But I'm getting the picture now. You'd literally sell your own daughter for a deal with CC. You're a Su. When the family does well, you do well. You're supposed to pull your weight. For the family. Susie's smile was pure ice. I'm a Su, sure, but so are Su Chinro and Suwe, right? Why aren't they the ones making this contribution? Lilon snapped. Suwe is marrying Fu Nanching. How could she possibly do that? And Shinro is brilliant, a genius at making perfume. She's been studying in France for years. She's always been the family's golden child. I can't believe how selfish you are, only thinking about yourself. Suwe shrieked. Susie, we took you in. We paid for your grandma's hospital bills. With a face like yours, you should be grateful a guy like Squan even looked at you. Don't be so ungrateful. Susie stood tall, not flinching. Oh, I wanted to help the family, I really did. But unfortunately, I'm just a girl from the sticks with a messed up face. Sun isn't into me. Guess I can't help. You! And with that, Susie spun around and walked right out. Su Chengrong was so mad he could barely breathe. The second that rebel was out of the Su house, she pulled out her phone and fired off a text. Send back the Su family's bid. A reply came back instantly. Yes, boss. Then she strolled away like she owned the world. Moments later, Su Chengrong's phone rang, and the color drained from his face. Lilon was starting to panic. Honey, what is it? He ground out each word through clenched teeth. CC perfume. They sent back our entire bid. The handsome rich vice president had mistaken the little maid for his wife, tormenting her, making her his. Lilon just collapsed onto the sofa. What are we going to do now? The room felt like it was suffocating. Then Su Chengrong remembered something. Suwe, what's the deal with you and Fu Nanching? When is he finally going to announce your engagement to the world? Suwe immediately got shifty. It's complicated, but it'll be soon. As soon as I can get that CC perfume deal. Su Chengrong slammed his fist down hard on the table. Useless. You can't even handle one little thing. If you had any real talent, I wouldn't be begging people for favors, they'd be begging us. Lilon jumped in to defend her. Chengrong, just give Suwe a little more time. Su Chengrong's face was grim. I'll give her time, but you better not screw this up, Suwe. Don't you forget how you landed this engagement in the first place. Suwe's face went white. Yes, father. I'll get Fu Nanching to announce our engagement ASAP. 2 years back, she'd swiped a jade pendant from Susie's room. The Fu family saw that exact pendant and immediately agreed to the engagement. But back then, Fu Nanching was just the family's dirty little secret. Suwe wanted nothing to do with him. Who knew he'd end up running the entire Fu empire now? She had to lock down her spot as the future Mrs. Fu before he found out the truth. Over at Yew Garden, Susie was getting ready for bed when Suwe barged in looking absolutely furious. Susie, you're back on duty tonight with a Fu Nanching? Would I have to go sleep with him again? What is he, a toddler who needs a babysitter every night? When Susie didn't move, Suwe's voice turned nasty. Just do what I say, or have you forgotten about your dear old grandmother? He is still under my control. At the mention of her grandmother, Susie's expression changed. Fine. Your husband's arms are super comfy anyway. I'd love to go crash with him again for you. She smirked and walked out. Suwe was practically boiling with rage and jealousy. She was supposed to be Mrs. Fu, but she'd never even been held by him. Meanwhile, Fu Nanching stripped off his suit and stepped into the shower. The cold water poured down from above, hitting his chiseled body. He shut his gorgeous eyes, letting the cold spray wash over him. All he could see was her face, the one with the long scar. She'd actually blown off his warning and was really seeing his Shiai. Was she pulling the same moves on Shi, using them again? Fu Nanching came out in a pair of black pajama pants and saw Susie already on the bed. The moment he slid in, he caught that sweet scent coming off her, driving him crazy. Susie's eyes fluttered open and she just looked at him. Noticing the deep crease between his perfect eyebrows, she asked softly, "What's wrong? Did someone make you mad? Is it that Susie?" He snapped at her. "Don't say her name." So it was about her. "Wow, you really hate her, don't you?" Fu Nanching realized how harsh he sounded and gently reached out to cup her face. "I just don't want to deal with all that drama right now. Did I scare you?" Susie shook her head, then lifted her hand to smooth out the worry line on his forehead. "It's late, we should sleep." "I'm not tired yet." Susie asked him, "Then what do you want to do?" Fu Nanching's gaze dropped to her lips, his eyes darkening with desire. "What do you think?" And then he leaned in and pressed his lips right against hers. In that one moment, everything just stopped. Susie couldn't even hear her own heart pounding in her chest. She just stared wide-eyed at the guy who was suddenly kissing her, totally forgetting how to breathe. After a few seconds, her brain rebooted. Like she was just here to crash, not to get all involved with Suwe. Susie started to freak out, her hands pushing against his chest, which felt like a brick wall. "No, get off me." He was a total statue, not budging an inch. So Susie had no choice but to bite down hard on the corner of his lip. The jolt of pain made him finally let her go. He wiped his lip like what was that? Susie's mind raced, and she clutched her stomach. "It's not that I'm rejecting you, I'm just on my period. It's a really bad time." Feigning gave her a totally skeptical look. "For real?" Susie nodded like her life depended on it, giving him the most earnest look ever. "Yeah, totally." Feigning actually believed her. His huge hand landed on her flat tummy, gently rubbing it. "Does it hurt?" Susie just obediently shook her head no. Then his low, kinda hot voice rumbled from above her. "Your period doesn't stop you from kissing though, right?" And just like that, his towering frame was over her again, his mouth crashing down on hers. This trillion-dollar CEO is only into his wife at night. He can't stand the daytime version. Feigning stared down at her super intense. Her bright eyes were wide with shock from the kiss, all shiny with tears like a scared little deer. That pure, innocent vibe was something else, and the corners of his eyes went dark red. As he asked in a raspy voice, "Never been kissed before?" Susie was way too embarrassed to answer. I mean, besides asterisk, that one night asterisk, she'd never been close to any guy. A slow smirk spread across Feining's lips. "Relax, I'm not gonna hurt you." After he said that, he kissed her again. Susie could totally feel him being way gentler this time. He pressed softly against her lips, being super patient with her, kissing her for who even knows how long. When he finally pulled away, the girl's dark hair was all over the white pillow, her face flushed and pale, so delicate she looked like a painting. Basically a total little enchantress. Feigning rolled onto his side, pulled her into his arms, and whispered, "Sleep now." The next morning, Susie was out of the master bedroom before 6 a.m. She stuck the fake scar on her face and got to work. At that moment, Sushi stomped over, looking seriously ticked off. "Is my husband awake?" "Nope. I told him I was on my period last night, so don't blow my cover." Sushi immediately latched onto the important part. "Why did you say that? Did he try something with you last night? You must have thrown yourself at him, you shameless hussy." Susie just kept working with a stone-cold face, not even bothering to answer. She just shot her a look. "So, why are you letting this so-called shameless hussy sleep with your husband?" Sushi knew Susie was too quick for her. She'd never win a war of words. Then suddenly Sushi got an idea. Feigning wasn't up yet. She could totally order Susie to go into the master bedroom in 10 minutes to collect his clothes from yesterday. Seeing that scheming smirk on Sushi's face, Susie knew she was plotting something shady again. Sushi zipped upstairs and pushed open the master bedroom door. Feigning was still out. This was her chance. She tiptoed to the bed, slid in, and started creeping closer to him. But before she could even touch him, Feining's eyes snapped open, his sharp gaze pinning her down. "What are you doing?" Sushi totally panicked. "Honey, I came to sleep with you." Feigning sat up and said, coldly, "Get out. Tell someone to change all the sheets. And don't ever get in my bed during the day again." Sushi's face went white with fear. Just then the master bedroom door opened, and Susie was standing there. Sushi immediately yanked down a strap on her slip dress, showing off her pale shoulder, then dramatically threw herself into Feining's arms. "Honey, you're so mean, I'm still not feeling good." Feigning frowned at the sudden hug attack. He glanced toward the door, and his eyes landed on Susie's small face with that long scar. She was just standing there, obviously not expecting to see this scene with him and Sushi in bed. She froze for a hot second. Feining's mood took a nosedive. "Get out." The words were like ice. What kind of manners do you have just barging into the master's room whenever you want? Get out! Susie turned and ran. As if I even wanted to see that, she thought. My eyes are literally burning. In the living room, she heard Fanning yell, "You get out too, pull that again, and you'll lose your hands." Susie just laughed like, whatever. He's not so special. Sushi came up to Susie all smug. "See, now you get it. My husband was only mad because you interrupted our private moment." Susie's face was a blank slate. So that asterisk was why Sushi told her to go up in 10 minutes to watch their little lovey-dovey show. Crossing her arms, she shot back, "Oh, I didn't just see it. I also heard your husband tell you to get lost too." Just as Sushi was about to explode, Fuyu's voice called out, Uncle, are you up?" Sushi immediately put on a sweet face to greet him. "Young Master Fu, what brings you here?" Fuyu's eyes lit up. "Little clown, what are you doing at my uncle's house? Hey, where's your scar? How come you're not playing ugly today?" Hearing that, Susie knew Fuyu thought Sushi was her. After all, they had the exact same face. She was about to say something, but a deep voice echoed from upstairs. "What playing ugly, Fuyu? What are you talking about?" Susie's heart did a backflip. Oh crap. The trillion-dollar CEO was finally figuring out something was wrong. He looked straight at the little maid. "Why is your face identical to Sushi's?" Feigning stared seriously at Fuyu. "Why did you mistake them just now?" Fuyu just stammered, completely at a loss for words. Feining's gaze shifted to Susie's face, his dark eyes narrowing. He'd never noticed before that the unscarred side of Susie's face looked exactly like Sushi. He ordered coldly, Come here." She walked up to Feining. "What do you need, young master?" Feining pulled her forward, then covered her scar with his hand. Her clear, gorgeous face was revealed. Yep, it was 100% identical to Sushi's. His dark gaze turned crazy dangerous like a black hole. "Tell me," he growled, "why is your face identical to Sushi's?" Sushi immediately jumped in. "Honey, she got plastic surgery to look like me. That scar is from a botched surgery." Feining stared at Susie. "Oh, really?" Susie could only nod. He just looked at her for a second before saying something that made her heart totally stop. "Have you been lying to me about anything, like maybe covering up a scar to pretend you're Sush?" Susie felt a cold sweat break out. Crap, he was getting suspicious. She had to play it cool. He didn't know the scar was fake yet. Looking up, she said, "Mr. Fu, even if I caked on concealer, it would never pass up close. You can't exactly fool the guy you're sleeping next to." And it was true. The last 2 nights, the girl in his arms was completely barefaced. Her skin was clear, soft, and perfect. Fu Nanching left with a final warning, "You better not be playing me or you'll seriously regret it." And with that, he was gone. Once his intense vibe was gone, everyone could finally breathe again. That was way too close. Fu Nanching almost figured it all out. Fuyu stepped forward. "Hey, little clown, what are you doing working as a maid at my uncle's place?" "I'll literally double your pay to come be my personal maid." Sushi crossed her arms, scoffing. "Seriously, Fuyu? Why would you want some girl who got a whole new face just because she calls you uncle? She's so full of herself. If you ask me, you're the one who's obsessed with plastic surgery." Sushi was seething with jealousy. When the heck did Susie get her hooks into this guy from the Fu family? He just grinned at Susie. "So what do you say, little clown? Ditch this place and come with me. I'll take good care of you. I'm loaded." Just then a deep, annoyed voice cut in. "Fuyu, get back here. You're coming to the office with me. I want to see what you've actually learned in those finance classes." Fuyu immediately whined. "Oh, no way, uncle. Then I'll just have your dad cancel all your credit cards." "What, cancel my cards, but I have my own money?" Fuyu was totally floored by his uncle's power move. "Fine, whatever, I'll go with you." Fuyu gave Susie a bummed-out look. "Little clown, I'll catch you later." Finally, they were gone. A second later, her phone buzzed with a text from a random number. "Break up with Fuyu, now." From the simple, bossy tone, Susie knew exactly who it was, Fu Nanching. "Go tell that to your nephew yourself," she muttered. All she wanted was to save her grandma. She didn't have time for this rich boy drama. She turned to Sushi. "Tell me, where did you hide my grandmother?" Sushi just smiled smugly. "Like I'd ever tell you?" Susie just pulled out a photo from the hotel yesterday. It was a pic of Squan all over Sushi on the bed. The color drained from Sushi's face. "When did you take that? Give me that phone now." She lunged for it, but Susie was too quick. "Tell me where my grandma is, or I'm sending this straight to Fu Nanching. Let him know you've been cheating on him. Your sister's rep will be toast too." Sushi went white as a ghost. She couldn't believe Susie had set her up. She was going to have to beg. Susie said coldly, "So start talking. Where is my grandmother?" Sushi spat it out through clenched teeth. "Jongan Hospital Room 311, Susie smirked. "Oh, and by the way, I quit. I'm not coming back." Hearing this, Sushi totally freaked. "What, you're not coming back? But what about tonight?" Meanwhile, Fu Ning got back to UG Garden with Secretary Song and went straight to his study. Fu Nanching was at his desk buried in paperwork. He didn't even look up when he asked in a low, cool voice, "Did you get in touch with CC?" Secretary Song answered respectfully, "We did, sir, but we haven't gotten a straight answer yet." Fu Ning frowned, leaning back in his chair and ordering coffee to be brought in. A few minutes later, Aunt Jo came in with the coffee. Feigning asked coldly, Where's Susie? I haven't seen her since I got back. Is she slacking off? Aunt Jo gave a little bow, sir. That new maid! She quit! Quit! His voice was sharp. Did she run off to be my nephew's exclusive little helper? I warned her twice and she just blew me off. Feigning grabbed his phone and found Susie's number, then immediately dialed it. Over at Zhongshan Hospital, Susie was sitting with her grandma when her phone started ringing. She glanced down, saw it was Fu Ning, and instantly declined the call and blocked his number. Ever since the maid quit, the billionaire CEO had been in a seriously foul mood. Was it possible he was actually into her? He tried calling again only to get the message, "Sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service." Just then a knock on the door. He bit out a single word. "In." Secretary Song tiptoed in. "CEO, we heard back from CC. She says she's swamped. If you want to order the birthmark removal cream, you'll have to book an appointment with her secretary and get in line." Hearing this, Fu Ning's expression went thunderous. He hit redial. Same automated voice. Secretary Song gently pointed out, "Sir, I don't think calling is going to work. The number isn't connecting." He looked genuinely confused. "Why not?" "Because you might have been blocked." Fu Nanching slammed his phone on the desk. No one had ever blocked him before. Ever. His dark eyes went ice cold. His gorgeous face looked like it was carved from a glacier. Secretary Song risked a peek at the call log. It was the maid. So the birthmark removal cream the CEO was trying to get was for her, and now he couldn't even reach her. Fu Ning's icy gaze flicked back to him. "Get out." Secretary Song basically teleported out of there. He felt like he just stumbled onto a massive secret. What juicy rich people drama. Now Fu Nanching was alone in the study. He stared out the massive window, feeling totally off. Was he mad about CC, or was this about Susie the maid? Finally, he had to admit she was the one messing with his head. This was not a good sign. It was better that she was gone. Their paths would never cross again. Fu Ning left the study. "Where's the young madam? Tell her to come to my room." A servant answered respectfully. "Sir, the young madam's mother took a fall. She went home to take care of her." Fu Ning's eyebrow twitched. "I see." The next day, Fu Nanching headed to the office. First off, he was in the total funk. His vibe was so dark and his expression was seriously scary. Everyone could tell their CEO was ticked off and knew not to mess with him. Someone found Secretary Song and quietly asked who got on the big boss's bad side. Secretary Song just raised his eyebrows, all mysterious, hinting it was probably because of some girl drama after work. Later, Fu Nanching rolled up to EP Laon Villa. He saw Fu Ying punch in the code and walk right in. The second the door opened, he heard Fu Ying's giggles. "Cece, make yourself at home. My little place is awesome. I promise I won't kick you out." "Fu Ying, thank you so much," Susie said, running while looking back at her. And then she slammed right into a solid muscular chest. Susie literally felt like she'd hit a brick wall. Ouch. The moment this girl just fell into his arms, Fu Nanching's whole body went completely stiff. Ugh, it was this asterisk girl. Why her again? Just then, Fu Ying spoke up. "Uncle, what are you doing here?" Had she seriously stumbled into a whole den of the Fu family? Fu Ying teased. "Uncle, you gonna let go of my Cece? How's her 26-inch tiny waist feeling?" That's when Susie realized he was still holding on to her. She immediately started squirming, trying to break free. Fu Nanching couldn't help but hold her for a second longer. Only when she really started struggling did he finally let go. Fu Nanching was shook that this girl ended up at his villa, let alone crashing right into his arms. "Fu Ying, explain what's happening." Fu Ying grabbed Susie's hand. "Uncle, Cece is my guest. I invited her to stay with me." Fu Nanching shot Susie an ice-cold look. "You need to move out, now." Susie was floored he'd kick her out on the spot, but she had to stay. The ghost orchid in the backyard was way too important. Susie scrambled after him, reaching out to grab his sleeve. "Mr. Fu, wait. Can you just give me a little time? I'll be gone the second I find a place," she begged, looking totally pitiful. "Mr. Fu, please. My grandma is in the hospital. We have to pay these crazy expensive medical bills every day. I literally have nowhere else to go." Fu Nanching turned his head and his eyes locked on her bright red lips, which looked so soft and tempting. Suddenly he flashed back to that intense kiss they had. His Adam's apple bobbed. Then he said, "The minute you find somewhere else, you're out." After saying that, he just went upstairs. Susie finally let out a huge sigh of relief. Okay, so this guy responds to being nice, not to being pushed. A bit later, the maid and the niece were checking out a lookbook together, which was just page after page of hot guys and their abs. When the billionaire CEO found out, his face went totally dark. He immediately snapped, "What is this? You're not studying and you're corrupting my niece too." Fu Ying pulled Susie down onto the sofa. "Cece, sit down. I've got something awesome to show you." "Can I take a rain check?" Susie was remembering the last time Fu Ying shared something awesome with her, which was a totally spicy magazine. Just then, Fu Ying mysteriously whipped out a little booklet. "This time it's different. This is my personal catalog of hotties with all their contact info. Cece, what about this one with the golden retriever energy? He'd be totally obsessed with you." Susie frantically shook her head. No hard pass. "Okay, what about this one? Look at those abs. You just know his core is strong." All their loud chatter reached Fu Nanching's ears. He frowned. What were those two getting into now? Neither of them even noticed a huge, intimidating figure standing in the doorway. He demanded in a deep voice, "What's so interesting that you're looking at?" Startled by his voice, Susie rushed to cover the catalog. "Mr. Fu, we're doing homework." Fu Nanching stepped closer and his huge presence cast a shadow right over her. "Oh, really? Then what's this?" Fuyu gave Susie the most innocent look. "Uncle Cece made me look at it." Susie stared at Fuyu, her eyes wide. Wow, she really just threw her under the bus. Fu Nanching picked up the catalog and flipped through it. It was filled with all kinds of hot guys like a giant buffet for the eyes. He let out this angry laugh. "Susie, care to explain? Not only are you ditching your studies, but you're also being a bad influence on my niece." Susie was speechless. Him of all people, as if his niece needed any help getting into trouble. Susie knew there was no way she could explain her way out of this. "Vice President, I'll start studying right now." She reached for her school papers, but of course with a thud a magazine fell out. She glanced down and saw it was that same spicy magazine Fuyu had pushed on her. Now that the magazine was laying wide open, not even 100 excuses could save her. She quickly scooped up the magazine and hid it behind her back. Just then she heard his voice seething with anger. "So this asterisk is the homework Miss Susie has been doing?" Susie looked at him with big watery eyes, trying to explain. "Vice President, why are you so mad? Is it illegal to look at cute guys? What century is this? Can't we have a little health education?" Watching her try to talk her way out of it, Fu Nanching's handsome face twisted. "Keep talking and see if I don't shut that mouth of yours." Fuyu, who was totally eavesdropping, lit up. She immediately piped up, "Yeah, shut her mouth, uncle. I'm pretty sure you're flirting." Susie slapped a hand over her mouth and quickly apologized. "Vice President, we were wrong. We won't do it again." Fu Nanching's face just got darker. He stayed completely silent. If this girl dared to cross the line one more time, she was going to regret it. He let out a cold huff and left. The second he was gone, Fuyu immediately tried to get back on Cece's good side. "I'm so sorry I couldn't let my uncle find out. He would 100% tell my parents." Susie just gave her a look that screamed their friendship was over. She started packing her books to leave. Fuyu quickly said, "Wait, what if? Cece, what do you think of my uncle? I bet I can get you pictures of his abs." Susie totally freaked out, looking at Fuyu in horror. She couldn't believe such a cringe thought even existed in her friend's head. "Don't you dare, I want no part of that." With that, Susie bolted. Fuyu just nodded to herself, totally convinced. Susie was definitely into her uncle. She had to get those abs pics. The next day, Susie woke up super early and left. The villa's backyard was basically her own private greenhouse now. This was the real reason she wanted to stay. The vibe was perfect for her precious plants. She went to check on the ghost orchid. After days of TLC, the ghost white orchid was just about to bloom. She was going to grind it up to make an ointment for Fu Nanching's birthmark. Just then her phone buzzed in her pocket. It was Jinshan Hospital. "Miss Sue, your grandmother is awake." Susie literally bolted to the hospital. In the room, she hugged her grandma tight. "Grandma, you're awake. I was so worried I missed you so much." Her grandma's eyes fluttered open to look at Susie, and she weakly patted her head. "My Cece, you're here. Where's your jade pendant?" Susie's stomach dropped. She didn't have it with her. "Grandma, it's at the Sue family house." Her grandma closed her eyes, looking tired. "Good girl. Don't lose it. Go get it back quickly." Susie nodded. "Okay, Grandma, just wait for me. I'll be right back." She immediately drove to the Sue family house and went straight to her room, but the pendant was totally gone. It was supposed to be right there, unless someone swiped it. Suxy, who had run off, saw Susie and was totally shocked. "Susie, what are you doing back here?" Susie just stared her down. "I'm here for my pendant." The moment she mentioned the jade pendant, Suxy's whole vibe shifted. Susie's eyes narrowed. "Did you take my pendant?" Suxy's face was a mess of guilt. Susie's voice dropped to a freezing whisper. "Give me back my pendant." Meanwhile, the hotshot VP heard his wife say that she didn't remember anything about that night. His eyes went dark instantly. He leaned in, teasing, "Should I help you remember tonight?" Back at the house, Suxy put on a fake innocent act. "Susie, why are you asking me? It's not my fault you lost your stuff." "You're saying I took your pendant, yeah, right. Got any proof?" Susie marched forward. "Then I'm searching your room." Suxy immediately blocked her path. "You wouldn't dare!" Susie just shoved her aside. "Get lost!" Suxy's nose slammed right into the wall. Susie saw how pathetic she looked and just laughed. Suxy felt the blood and freaked out. It hurt so bad. She screamed hysterically, "My nose, somebody help!" Right then, while Suxy was clutching her nose, Fu Nanching called. "My driver is coming to get you. We're going to my family's place. My mom wants to meet you." Her nose was literally crooked now. How could she possibly meet his mom? Did she really want everyone to find out she'd had plastic surgery? Suxy tried to make an excuse, but he hung up after like 2 rings. What was she gonna do now? Suxy immediately spun around to face Susie. "Susie, you have to meet my mother-in-law for me." Susie's expression didn't even flicker as she shot back 2 words. You're crazy. You want me to pretend to be you? Absolutely not. Hearing that, Suxy's face totally crumpled. If you don't go, we're both going down. I'll tell Fu Nanching everything. What do you think he'll do when he finds out the truth? He'll probably strangle you. Susie stopped in her tracks. Fu Nanching had already done that once. The terrifying memory of choking still haunted her. Susie closed her eyes and finally gave in. Fine. When she got to the Fu family mansion, Fu Nanching was already waiting, a deep frown on his ridiculously handsome face. He was clearly impatient. Why are you so late? Susie said softly. It's my first time meeting your mom. I was nervous and wanted to look okay. Fu Nanching looked her up and down. She seemed like a whole different person. Her hair was tucked back and her skin looked amazing with this cute nose and bright red lips. Fu Nanching's voice actually got a little softer. No makeup today. Susie shook her head obediently. No. Should I put some on? Fu Nanching's voice was low. No need. My mother has already been waiting forever. Let's go. He held out his hand to her. My mom is always bugging me about getting married and having kids. When we're around her, we need to act like a super happy couple. Susie obediently placed her hand in his. Fu Nanching held it tight and led her inside. The second they walked into the living room, they heard Mrs. Fu's stressed-out voice. Fu Nanching, where is my daughter-in-law? What's taking so long? Everybody watch the doors. Don't let him find another excuse to sneak off. Just then, Mrs. Fu turned and spotted the delicate girl behind Fu Nanching. Her face immediately lit up. You're finally here. Mom's been waiting for ages. So this is my daughter-in-law, Susie called out sweetly. Mom, Mrs. Fu beamed, clearly super happy with her. Wonderful, wonderful, sweetie. I've heard all about you. Then she leaned in and whispered, You're the one who finally tamed my wild son, right? He was totally inexperienced, so Mom has to ask, how was that night? Susie's face instantly went bright red. The memory of that night, the one she tried to bury, just flooded her mind. All she could stammer out was, I don't remember anything. Mrs. Fu just laughed. Sweetie, tonight the whole family is going to have dinner together. You can try some of my cooking. Susie gave a small smile. Okay, I can help you in the kitchen. Later in the kitchen, Fu Nanching saw Susie standing on her tiptoes, trying and failing to reach the dumpling. Wrappers on a high cabinet. He walked up behind her, reached his long arm right over her head, and grabbed them with no problem. Susie whispered, thank you, but Fu Nanching didn't give them to her. Instead, he boxed her in against the counter. He leaned down, bringing his handsome face way too close to hers, and asked in a low voice, That night, you really don't remember anything? Susie's blush immediately spread to the tips of her ears, and her eyes darted around nervously. Fu Nanching let out a low, husky laugh. He hadn't realized how cute she was. He couldn't stop himself from teasing her more. So should I help you remember everything tonight? He was this powerful VP who hated her, and his love life was a total mess. For a crazy second, she thought about just calling his bluff and kissing him. That would make them both guilty, and maybe they'd just go down together. Just then, Mrs. Fu came over. Sweetie, can't you reach? Let me... She stopped when she saw her son basically holding his daughter-in-law, and quickly gasped, Oh, before turning away. My bad, didn't mean to interrupt. As you were. Susie literally wanted the floor to swallow her whole. She tried to dart left, but he blocked her. She dodged right, and he was right there with her. His tall frame was like a wall, totally boxing her in with this annoying smirk. So Susie dipped her hand in some water and flicked it right in his perfect face. That's for being a jerk. Fu Nanching flinched, and she made a run for it. He watched her bolt, wiping the water from his face before letting out this low, amused laugh. The three of them sat down for dumplings. Mrs. Fu smiled. Sunshu, dear, I've got a room all set up for you upstairs. You should get some sleep soon. Susie shot a look at Fu Nanching. Wait, what? She had to share a room with him, asterisk again, asterisk. Her mind flashed back to that second night, to that insane kiss, and her cheeks went nuclear. Fu Nanching went into the bedroom and was taking off his jacket when Susie's phone buzzed. He couldn't stop himself from glancing over. The text was from Fuyu. His whole expression soured. Was Fuyu actually talking to Susie? Right then, Susie came out of the bathroom. Fu Nanching's eyes snapped to hers. Fuyu texted you. Why the hell would he be texting you? Susie swore Fuyu was going to be the literal death of her. She tried to play it cool as she grabbed her phone. Oh, you know how he's into that little Maid. He was just asking me about Susie. I actually think they'd be kinda cute together. Fu Nanching's face was a total blank slate. I don't. Fuyu's a good kid. Susie is way out of his league and not in a good way. She's not good enough for Fuyu. So asterisk, that's asterisk why he was always so against it. I don't get what Susie ever did to you. Why do you hate her so much? Fu Nanching stepped closer, staring down at her before pinching her cheek. His words were quiet, but they hit hard. Her life is complicated. Susie gritted her teeth. So in his mind, Fuyu was some perfect angel and she was... What trash? Susie was seeing red. On pure impulse, she shot up on her toes and crashed her lips against his. Asterisk. Fine, asterisk, she thought. Asterisk, if I'm so complicated, then you can be too. Fu Nanching's whole body went completely rigid. Then his hand snaked around her waist, pulling her in. A few moments later, he was staring down at her, his eyes dark and intense. Whoa, slow down, Mrs. Fu. I haven't even showered yet. Susie's heart started doing that crazy thing again. She was just trying to make a point, but she was asterisk not asterisk Mrs. Fu. Susie shoved him back. Then go take your shower. Fu Nanching's eyes raked over her one last time, his Adam's apple bobbing before he finally headed for the bathroom. She slid into bed and unlocked her phone. Her stomach dropped when she saw Fuyu's text. Hey, clown girl, date tomorrow. A date? Was he kidding? She was stuck here playing pretend. Susie typed back fast. Can't, I'm busy. Fuyu's reply came instantly. Did you forget our deal? If you bail on me, I can't promise I'll keep my mouth shut. Susie clicked her phone off and dove under the covers. A second later, the blanket was yanked away. A very clean, very fresh out of the shower Fu Nanching was getting into bed. What are you doing, trying to suffocate yourself? It wasn't suffocation she was worried about. It was being played from every single angle. Susie quickly wrapped her arms around his waist, putting on her sweetest voice. Hey, I have to do something tomorrow, so I can't hang out with you and your mom. Seeing her acting all cute and cuddly, his voice softened. My mom really wants us to stay for a couple of days. What's so important tomorrow? Got a date with my nephew. Like she could ever tell him that. Susie looked up at him with wide eyes. Isn't my mom sick? I really want to go be with her tomorrow. Please, hubby. He just stared down at her, not buying it. Ugh, wasn't he the one who liked it when she was sweet instead of fighting time to lay on the puppy dog eyes? This had to work. Susie put a little tremble in her voice, leaned in and gave him a soft kiss. Please, hubby, just say yes. Fu Nanching was clearly not immune. He reached out and pulled her right on top of him. Fu Nanching's gaze was deep and hot on her face, his voice all husky as he asked, Mrs. Fu, you forget what happened last time. Don't worry, we can always have a repeat performance. The super hot VP was getting cozy with his wife. And of course, that's when the door swung open, completely killing the vibe. Susie's face was flaming red. She was so mortified. Fu Nanching just lifted an eyebrow. So that night you got on top of me and unbuckled my belt? Susie totally slapped her hands over his mouth. OMG, that's so mortifying, stop talking. His kiss on her soft, sweet-smelling palm made her heart flutter. Susie yanked her hands back, totally freaked. Like, what was he doing, kissing her hand? A second later, Fu Nanching leaned up and pressed his lips against hers. Susie's brain completely short-circuited. She couldn't even think. Her hands were flat against his rock-hard chest, trying to push him away. Fu Nanching's eyes fluttered open, glowing crimson as he gave her a look that was a little bit annoyed. She was so not letting him kiss her. This is kind of part of the deal, Mrs. Fu. While she was totally frozen, the door suddenly flew open and Mrs. Fu literally fell into the room. She'd obviously been listening the whole time. Fu Nanching instantly pulled Susie off him, yanked the blanket up and held her protectively in his arms, shooting his mom a death glare. Mrs. Fu scrambled up, slapping a hand over her eyes. Just keep going, I saw nothing. And my lips are totally sealed. After that, the romantic vibe was completely dead. Susie bolted for the bathroom. I gotta use the bathroom real quick. Watching her run off in a panic, Feigning just flopped back, totally defeated. He covered his eyes, his Adam's apple bobbing. The next day, as Feigning was driving, he asked, So did you tell Mom you were heading back to your family's place? Susie just nodded. Mm-hmm. Thanks for the ride, hubby. About 30 minutes later, the car pulled up to the Su family's gate. Susie started to unbuckle her seatbelt. Okay, hubby, I'm getting out. But Feigning grabbed her arm. Hey, Mrs. Fu, are you coming home tonight? Susie looked up at him. Why? His tall frame leaned in super close. To finish what we started last night. You wouldn't even open your mouth. And just like that, the whole steamy scene from last night replayed in her head. A total flashback hit her. Susie practically threw the passenger door open and made a run for it. We'll talk later, bye. Fu Nanching just watched her go, a smirk playing on his lips, and then he grabbed his phone and called Secretary Song by the Polar Star and have it sent to the Su family's house. Once she was far enough away, Susie covered her burning face with her hands. It was so freaking hot. Every single time. Feigning teased her. She'd blush like crazy, her heart would pound, and her whole body would just go weak, totally out of her control. She knew this was so not right. She put on her fake scar-switched outfits and then went to meet up with Fuyu. Fuyu pulled up in a ridiculously flashy Ferrari, holding a giant bouquet of red roses. Clown girl, these are for you? Susie immediately backed away. Young Master Fu, you really don't have to. But Fuyu just shoved the roses into her arms. It's our first date, just take them, he said, slinging an arm over her shoulders. Let's go catch a movie. Susie went completely stiff. The way Fuyu touched her made her feel crazy uncomfortable. Just then, a loud horn blared, and a car screeched to a stop nearby. Fu Ning's handsome, ice-cold face appeared. Fuyu greeted him like nothing was wrong. Uncle, what a coincidence! Susie's heart did a backflip. Him here, seriously? Why was this guy everywhere? Fu Ning's intense gaze swept over them with this super judgy, I'm the adult in charge kind of vibe. He said, It's not the weekend. Instead of being in class, you're sneaking around on dates. Busted by his uncle on their first date, Fuyu was speechless. Susie felt unbelievably awkward. She already couldn't stand him, and he probably thought this was all her fault again. Get back to class. After dropping those 3 words, Funing drove off. Fuyu was legit terrified of his uncle, so of course. He didn't dare argue. Looking totally bummed, he said, "Clown girl, our date's a bust today, but I'll drive you back to school." And Susie suddenly felt like running into Funing wasn't so bad after all. At least he'd saved her from the date from hell. Meanwhile, some maid was secretly checking out the billionaire CEO's abs on her phone and got totally busted. Now she's in major trouble. He's demanding that she take her clothes off. Su Chong-rong slapped Suwe hard across the face and screamed, "You're worthless! Why haven't you gotten into Faning's bed yet? Look at you! What chance do you have now?" Suwe trembled, too scared to say a word. Right then, her uncle Su-jun walked in with his wife and their daughter Su-air. "Whoa, bad timing. Looks like I'm interrupting second brother yelling at his kid." He helped Suwe up, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Hey, second brother, it's not Sue's fault CC Perfume returned your shipment. You can't just take it out on her. Her aunt just had to stir the pot." "Yeah, second brother. If you hit her like that, how's she supposed to find a boyfriend? Our Suwe is like a huge deal in the supermodel world now. Maybe we should have her set Suwe up with someone." Suwe glared at them. I don't need your fake pity," she said through gritted teeth. "I already have a boyfriend." Suwe smirked. "Oh, cousin, so you got work done on your face? No wonder Uncle's pissed. Rich guys aren't into plastic-looking girls these days." Suwe couldn't take it anymore. "Who do you think you are being so nasty? Do you have any idea who my boyfriend is?" Just as she was about to spill everything, Su Chong-rong stopped her. He whispered that the Fu family didn't want to go public yet, and she hadn't even locked down the title of Mrs. Fu. "Don't cause problems for me," Suwe sneered. "Cousin, you don't need to put on such a show. We're all family here." Just then, a maid burst in. "Sir, miss, a gift was just delivered for the second miss." Everyone's head whipped around as the package was opened, revealing the gift. "Oh my god, it's the priceless polar star!" Suwe was in total shock. She never expected anyone to send her the polar star. It had to be from Feigning. There was no one else. What on earth did Susie do last night? Suwe shoved Suwe aside. "Oh, this is from my boyfriend. He bought it for me. I just didn't think it would get here today." She snatched up the polar star, showing it off. "Cece's a supermodel, right? You've probably worn all kinds of insane jewelry. Has anyone ever given you a polar star?" Su-jun's vibe instantly soured. "Bro, Cece, you never mentioned this boyfriend of yours. Guess we've been totally slacking." Chong-rong looked so smug. "He's a major deal. He's coming to my birthday party in a few days. You'll all meet him then." Anne just plastered on a fake smile. "Well, since Cece's already got a boyfriend, I guess we won't play matchmaker. We're like so looking forward to your birthday party to meet this major deal." Then they made a slick exit. "Later, bro." The second they were outside, they dropped the act. "Ugh, major deal, for real. Who even knows if that polar star's legit? I can't wait for the drama to unfold at his party." Su Chong-rong gave her props. "You totally nailed it. At my birthday bash in a few days, you've got to get Fu Nanching to show up. It's the perfect time to go public with you two." Cece nodded. "I got this," she said before, storming back to her room. She was totally losing it, just throwing stuff everywhere. What kind of spell did Cece use to get him? She knew she had to grab this chance to make them official. Meanwhile, over in the villa, Cece's phone went off. She yawned and grabbed it to see what was up. What she saw literally almost gave her a heart attack. It was a text from Fuzezi. "Don't be mad at me. Peep my uncle's abs pic. You're into him, right? So like, why not just become my auntie?" She opened the picture. A full-on photo of Fu Nanching's abs filled her screen. The guy was seriously ripped. Like, what girl wouldn't be? Into that, Cece was totally blushing just looking at it. Just then a cold voice cut in. "Had your fill." Cece whipped around, totally shocked. She saw his sharp eyes narrow and he looked scary and tense. Fu Nanching was towering over her, looking at her like she was some bug he wanted to squash. Susie wanted to explain, but what was the point? He totally hated her guts, so nothing she said would even matter. Fu Nanching just scoffed from his throat like, "Busted, and you're still gonna lie about it." Susie whipped out her phone and deleted the pic right in his face. His gorgeous face went all dark and stormy. "You really think deleting the photo fixes anything?" Susie was so over this drama. "Chill, you still have your pants on. What's the big deal?" Not gonna lie, a tiny part of her was kinda bummed she didn't get the full picture. Fu Nanching had never met a girl with zero shame. His long, strong fingers grabbed her chin, forcing her to look at him. "Susie, did I stutter last time? I'm not interested. I have a wife, I actually like her, and I have zero intention of cheating." A sharp pain shot through Susie's chest. "So he really for real liked Suxy?" "Oh, got it, Mr. Fu. It won't happen again." Fu Nanching gave her an ice-cold stare. "You don't actually think you're getting off that easy, do you?" Susie met his gaze, her eyes wide and clear. "So what do you want from me?" His voice was like ice. "Take off your clothes." Whoa, so the hotshot VP had some interesting kinks, telling the little maid to get naked. "As if!" Susie yelled. Fu Nanching pushed down on her shoulders, pinning her, his handsome face getting even darker. "You want me to do it for you?" His hand shot out and yanked her cardigan down. Her little spaghetti straps were showing paired with shorts, a total innocent girl look. Fu Nanching was trying to shame her, but one look and his pupils like totally blew wide open. Susie, furious, just hauled off and slapped him right across his perfect face. His eyes were suddenly blazing with a terrifying rage. Susie, do you have a death wish? Turnabout is fair play, right? You got your picture. Susie totally saw where this was going. She fought back like crazy. Fu Nanching, don't you dare! He lifted his hand, his fingers coming closer. She lunged forward on her toes and bit his shoulder hard. Fu Nanching slammed her back against the wall in a flash. She looked right up at him, totally defiant. So Fu Nanching, what is this? Are you just mad? Or did you just want an excuse to get your hands on me? His sharp eyebrows knitted together at her words. She leaned in her face close to his like a total troublemaker. You talk a big game about hating me, but look at you. Is this how you treat all the girls who get near you? I wonder what Mrs. Fu would think. That's when it finally hit Fu Nanching. His tall-built frame was literally pressing her into the wall. A grown man in a suit pinning a delicate-looking girl who looked barely 18 against a wall. The vibe was way too intense. Realizing just how messed up this looked, Fu Nanching instantly shoved her away. Susie grabbed her cardigan from the floor and threw it back on. So, Mr. VP, are we doing this or not? 'Cause if not, I'm going upstairs. Fu Nanching's heart was pounding, his intense eyes locked on her. Forget it. This was just a warning. Try something like this again and I won't be so nice. With that, he just turned and walked away cold as ice. He rubbed his bitten shoulder, his perfect eyebrows all scrunched up. Shoulder. Why did she always get under his skin? Just then, his phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Suwe. Babe, I got the Dior jewelry. I'm obsessed. He remembered Suwe whispering softly in his arms last night, all those sweet nothings, and the tension in Fu Nanching's face just melted away. He texted back, Good, I'm glad you like it. Suwe replied, Babe, good news. My period's over. The hint was like super obvious. A slow smile spread across Fu Nanching's lips. Can't wait, he typed. The next day, Susie's phone rang. It was Suwe. Susie, you're on duty with my husband again tonight. I told him my period ended, so don't mess this up. A chilly smile played on Susie's lips. Fine, you just wait. And with that, she hung up on her. Suwe, are you for real or just playing dumb? Later, when Fu Nanching was done with work, he drove from his office back to the Fu mansion. When he found out Suwe wasn't home, he shot her a quick text. Where are you? Over at the Su house. Suwe totally freaked when she saw the message. She tried calling Susie right away, but it went straight to voicemail. Susie had promised, so why wasn't she there? She started frantically calling again and again, but still, nothing. After half an hour, Susie was totally losing her mind. Finally, the call connected. She immediately went off. Susie, what the heck are you doing? Why was your phone off? Do you have any idea how long my husband's been waiting? Susie's voice was super calm. My jade pendant. Where is it? This was just a little reminder that I'm the one calling the shots in this game now. You don't give me my pendant, I don't go anywhere. Suwe was totally backed into a corner, and she was furious. I'll give it to you tomorrow, I swear, but you have to go to Fu Nanching tonight. If he finds out, we're both toast. Susie really didn't want to go, but she was trapped. She could only agree. Fine, I'll go. But this is the absolute last time. Then she hung up. Tonight was going to be the last time she ever had to be a stand-in. Her last time playing pretend, and her last night with the billionaire CEO. When Mrs. Fu saw Susie walk in, she rushed over to greet her. Shoo shoo. You're home. Mom will have the kitchen warm up some food for you. Susie just smiled and waved it off. It's okay, Mom. I already ate. That's when Mrs. Fu noticed her empty wrist. She immediately pulled out a stunning emerald jade bracelet and slipped it onto Susie's wrist. Shoo shoo, this is from Mom. This jade bracelet is a family heirloom. It's incredibly precious. Susie's stomach dropped. She felt like such a total fake lying to Mrs. Fu's face. Feelings, Mom. I can't take this. Mrs. Fu just smiled. Oh, take it, sweetie. It was always meant for my daughter-in-law. You're the perfect one for it. This is your home now and nobody's going to mess with you. Susie's heart totally melted. Seriously, having Mrs. Fu as a mother-in-law was the best. For the first time ever, she was actually jealous of Sushu. Susie took it for now, but she totally planned on giving it back to Mrs. Fu when the time was right. Then she pulled out a little pouch. Mom, I made this. It's got some herbs and stuff inside. It's nothing fancy, but I hope you'll keep it with you. Mrs. Fu took the little pouch and right away this amazing fresh scent hit her. Scent. She absolutely loved it. It's gorgeous, sweetie. This is so thoughtful. Right then, they heard steady footsteps. Fu Nanching was here. His eyes landed on her and he said, So you're back. Susie just nodded with a little, Mrs. Fu nudged them. Okay, you two go get some rest. I'm heading to bed too. Fu Nanching took Susie's small hand in his and led her back to their room. Once they were inside, he noticed how cold her hand was. Whoa, why are your hands so old? Before he even finished, Susie snatched her hand back and slid the jade bracelet off her wrist, holding it out to Fu Nanching. He glanced at the bracelet, then his eyes locked onto her small face. He asked, his voice soft, You don't like it? No, I don't. When he didn't take it from her, Susie just set the jade bracelet on the nightstand. If something wasn't really hers, she wasn't going to keep it. Period. Susie turned and walked into the bathroom. I'm gonna shower first. Fu Nanching's brow creased. He had no idea why she was being so distant with him all of a sudden. A little while later, Susie came out after her. Shower. She pulled back the covers and slid into bed next to him, but made sure to leave a ton of space between them. Fu Nanching reached out an arm, silently asking her to come closer. Susie shifted a little, letting herself settle into his arms. The girl closed her eyes, her long lashes like butterfly wings resting on her cheeks, so quiet and pretty. Fu Nanching reached up to touch her face. What's going on with you today? Susie turned her head, dodging his hand. Fu Nanching's eyes landed on her lips. He leaned down to kiss her and she didn't pull away. But she didn't kiss him back either. She was just there. Fu Nanching shifted, pressing his weight over her, sensing she wasn't into it. He propped himself up on an elbow, his voice low and a little teasing. Mrs. Fu, open up. Susie's eyes snapped open and she flat out refused no. Fu Nanching's stare was like literal lava. He actually laughed. No, then why'd you take my diamond? Why were you sending me all those flirty texts? Of course it was Sushi who took the diamond and sent the texts. Susie just blinked at him. I was just messing with you. Is that a crime now? She rolled over, giving him her back. I'm just really tired tonight. Fu Nanching had no other choice but to lie back down, running a hand through his hair in total frustration once Susie was asleep. Fu Nanching just kept staring at her. He gently turned the heartless little thing to face him again, pulling her into his arms. But then he suddenly froze. Through the collar of her pajamas he could see her collarbone, and right below it there was a 3-petal peach blossom birthmark. He remembered it the night he got back. When she showed up in his room, he'd seen that exact same 3-petal peach blossom. Okay, so all his worries before were for nothing. Fu Nanching finally fell asleep holding her. The next morning he woke up, and the spot next to him in bed was empty. Susie was already gone. Why does she always get up so freaking early? He wondered. Just then his phone buzzed. It was a text from Sushu. Hey honey, sleep well last night. A little smile played on Fu Nanching's lips as he typed back just 2 words. Very well. Sushu texted again. Babe, I have to tell you something. I'm throwing a birthday party for my dad tomorrow. Can you make it? Fu Nanching raised an eyebrow and just texted back. Sure. Meanwhile, a certain girl ends up at a hotel's wild dance party all by herself, catching the eye of way too many guys. But little did she know a certain billionaire CEO was watching her the whole time, his expression ice cold. He was hit with a wave of jealousy so intense he just wanted to claim her as his own right then and there, and make her completely his. Later, Susie got a call from Sushu, who told her the jade pendant wasn't with her. Apparently it came to the Fu family as part of her dowry 2 years ago. Now they had to search the entire Fu mansion for it. Susie was literally speechless. The Fu mansion was massive. How was she supposed to find one tiny jade pendant? The fact that it was even there in the first place just made everything a million times more complicated. Suddenly her phone lit up. It was Fu Nanching. He'd sent a text. Cece, you free, wanna go to the mall later? A half hour later they met up. The two of them were just laughing and talking when they spotted a couple of familiar faces, Sushu and her bestie, Lian. Lian was the first one to start trouble, sneering, Look, the ugly squad is hanging out. What a perfect match. Sushu put on this totally fake sad face. Lian, don't say that. You'll hurt their feelings. Lian just laughed. Oh, Sushu, you're just too nice. Fuing felt her stomach turn listening to them. Ugh, I knew I smelled something rotten. Turns out it's just someone's nasty attitude. Sushu's face went from 0 to 100 real quick. She stormed right at Fuing. But Susie stepped in front of her friend, a small knowing smile on her face as she looked right at Sushu. Sushu, I'd be real nice to Fuing if I were you. Or you're seriously going to regret it. Fuing is Fu Nanching's favorite niece. You don't even recognize your own husband's family. Wow, how clueless can you be? But Sushu was feeling herself playing with her platinum heart of the earth necklace. Me regret police. What important people could you possibly know? Do you even know what this is? Lian jumped in to show it off for her. Susie, this is the Star of Earth. It's worth like several $100 million. Sushu's boyfriend gave it to her, and he's going to be at her dad's birthday party tomorrow. Susie was instantly annoyed. This meant they were going public. It looked like Sushu was about to make her big play. Sushu was practically glowing with excitement. So you jealous? Too bad, Susie. Guess you just don't have that kind of luck. Then she whipped out a black card and strutted to the counter. I'll pay for this. Watching them walk away, Fuing was practically steaming. Cece, that Sushu is so full of herself you'd think she's literally marrying my uncle tomorrow. Susie glanced at the clueless Fuing like spot-on guess. She grabbed Susie's hand. Ugh, on such a good day, why did we have to see them? Total bad vibes. I'm taking you to a club tonight to forget about it. Later that night at the Tinang Runjin Hotel, Susie was getting kinda nervous. Ying, we should probably bounce. If your uncle finds out, he'll totally freak. Fuing just waved her off. Chill, he's not even here. She pulled out 2 masks. Put this on, let's go dance. Susie took one and slipped it on, hiding her whole face except for her eyes. Foying yanked Susie right into the middle of the dance floor. The heavy metal music was blasting and everyone was going crazy. Foying started getting into it, getting close to Susie with some seriously fire dance moves. Susie couldn't help but smile. Okay, fine. Tonight we forget all the drama and just let loose. And with that, she started moving her hips like she was made of water. The two of them were instantly the main event on the dance floor. A bunch of guys rushed over, all dancing around Susie and Foying. But right then, up in a quiet private VIP room, Fu Nanching was sitting like a king, his long fingers holding a lit cigarette, his insanely handsome face set, his intense hawk-like eyes seeing everything, were locked on those two figures on the dance floor. He clocked them the second Susie and his niece walked in. He was supposed to be there for a meeting. A CEO next to him noticed his stare. The CEO thought it was weird. Mr. Fu, those two hotties down there look pretty young. You into the whole high schooler vibe? Fu Nanching lowered his hand to tap the ash into the ashtray. No, that's my niece. CEO Lee gave him a knowing smile. Oh, so they're both your nieces. Fu Nanching was so over this conversation he just stood up to leave. He stormed onto the dance floor, his eyes giving off this cold, chilling vibe. It was actually terrifying. The guys on the floor were still swarming them. Somebody complained, yo, who's pushing back off? But then they saw him, and the crowd just parted for Fu Nanching. Foying was shook, feeling dizzy like she was hallucinating. She whispered, Susie, my uncle is here. It was way too loud, Susie couldn't hear what Foying was saying. Foying pointed behind her. Uncle, my uncle is right behind you. Susie spun around confused, and she actually saw Fu Nanching. Susie seriously never expected to run into him on a club dance floor. Her long eyelashes trembled. She managed to say, Mr. Fu. Fu Nanching stared at her coldly. Who told you to bring my niece to a place like this? The tall, gorgeous vice president grilled the innocent girl. Who was the guy you gave everything to? She wanted to scream, it was you, I gave it all to you. But she stayed quiet. After the girl got wasted, she was led away by some random dude. That's when the trillion-dollar CEO finally panicked, dropping everything to go find her. Fu Nanching's hands clenched into fists. She was supposed to be a nobody, so why did he care so much? Susie was so done with his bad moods. She looked right up at him. I'm free to go dancing. What does it have to do with you? Why are you so mad? Fu Nanching's eyes went dark and he grabbed her, hand turning to leave. Foying quickly grabbed Susie's other arm. Uncle, I'm the one who brought Susie here. Fu Nanching's voice was pure ice as he bit out the words. Shut up. Was I talking to you? Suddenly a classmate yelled over to them. Susie, Foying, you guys are here. Our booth is right over there. We're all classmates. Come hang out. Foying lit up. Yeah, totally. Come on, Susie. Susie pulled free from his grip, mister. Fu, this is kind of a young people thing. You're busy. You don't need to join us. It would just make everyone feel awkward. Fu Nanching was clearly pissed, glaring over at her with fierce eyes. The classmate immediately jumped in. No, not awkward at all. Welcome for real. So the three of them walked over and sat down. The girl next to Susie immediately started whispering, Susie, do you know? That guy, he's so hot. He was totally holding your hand earlier, but he seemed so intense. Do you have his number? Susie just shook her head. He's Ying's uncle. I barely even know him. Just as she said that, she felt Fu Nanching staring at her. He muttered something like, barely know me. Susie's mind flashed to waking up in his arms last night, his body pressed against hers while he kissed her. He wasn't intense at all. Someone started dealing cards. Seeing Susie just staring into space, they nudged her. What are you thinking about? Draw a card. She finally snapped out of it and picked one. Susie's luck was literally the worst. She got the lowest card. A guy from her class had the highest. The guy grinned. All right, Susie, I get to ask you a question. Are you still, a virgin? Susie looked up at everyone and answered honestly no. The whole table immediately erupted. Whoa, didn't expect you to be so blunt, spill. Who'd you give your first time to? Fu Nanching's cold, steely gaze landed on her face. Susie gave a bitter smile. What had she ever done to deserve that look from him? Foying forced a smile. Susie, come on, play. The second round started. Susie felt like she was cursed as she got the smallest card again. This time the highest card was in Fu Nanching's hands. He let out a low laugh and leaned forward slowly. My question is, who did you give your first time to? This bombshell question once again made the vibe super intense. Everyone was pressuring Susie. Follow the rules, come on, tell us who it was. Susie's eyes automatically darted to Fu Nanching. He was already looking at her. She wanted to just scream at him, I gave my first time to you. But she didn't. Instead, Susie grabbed a beer bottle, taking the punishment. She slammed back 10 bottles of beer, drinking them super fast and hard. Fu Nanching kept staring at her, the tips of his ears turning a little red. Susie gave a self-deprecating smile. She must look like a total disaster in Fu Nanching's eyes. Then she stood up, stumbling her way to the bathroom. A few minutes later, as soon as she walked out of the bathroom, this creep young Master G totally blocked her path, giving her this gross look. Well, if it isn't the Su family's ugly duckling. Your face is a mess, but your body's not bad. Susie was a little tipsy and was so not in the mood for this loser. She just tried to walk away. But then young Master G suddenly grabbed her waist. She totally freaked out, yelling, "Get off me!" Mr. Lee, who was talking business with Fu Nanching, saw the whole thing go down. He immediately called Fu Nanching like, "Vice President. Your niece just got pulled into room 106 by young Master G. You need to get here like now." Fu Nanching was still out in the main hall. He looked at his phone, then over at Fu Yin, but Susie was gone. He shouldn't have been surprised. In his mind, she was always jumping from guy to guy, totally shameless with zero self-respect. It would be weird if their asterisk wasn't at asterisk a guy. He felt this wave of anger and just coldly told Mr. Lee, "Just leave her. Whoever she wants to mess around with is not my problem." Right then, Secretary Song came up to him. "Sir, it's time to leave. You have to be at the Su family's birthday party first thing tomorrow morning." Hearing that, Fu Nanching's whole expression darkened. If Secretary Song hadn't said anything, he would have totally forgotten about the Su family's party, forgotten about Sushui, and forgotten that he was still married to some rich girl. Right now, all he could think about was Susie, that little maid. His face got super serious. He just bolted, running straight for the guest room. Hallway. He started scanning for the room number. He found it, kicked the door wide open, and stormed in. And that's when the $1 trillion CEO finally figured out the scar on the little maid's face was totally fake. Right below her collarbone, you could see a 3-petal peach blossom birthmark. Back in the room, Susie was fighting like crazy to get away. All of a sudden, she whipped out some kind of incense and pointed it right at G's nose. In like 2 seconds, he was out cold. Thank God she'd brought that sleeping stuff with her, or who knows what would have happened. Susie used every ounce of her strength to shove him off, but he was like a dead weight. She just couldn't move him. Then a second later, the door flew open. Fu Nanching barged in, looking absolutely furious. He took one look at the scene and his face went completely stony. He grabbed Gia's collar and just started wailing on him, landing punch after punch until his face was a mess. He was brutal, totally merciless. Susie never expected Fu Nanching to show up, let alone go off on Gia like that. She immediately jumped off the bed, screaming, "Stop!" But Fu Nanching acted like he couldn't even hear her, just kept swinging. Susie watched, completely horrified. Without even thinking, she ran and wrapped her arms around Fu Nanching from behind, her body pressed tight against his back. "Stop. You're going to do something you regret if you keep going." As Susie's soft, warm body pressed into him, Fu Nanching tensed up and finally stopped. He just stood there frozen for a few seconds, then pulled out his phone. He called Secretary Song. "Room 106, handle this." Then Fu Nanching grabbed Susie's wrist and started dragging her toward the bathroom. Susie stumbled, trying to keep up as she was. Pulled her inside. He cranked on the shower and ice-cold water just started pouring down on her. Susie shivered, staring at him in total shock. What was wrong with Fu Nanching? She shoved him, trying to get away, but Fu Nanching grabbed her waist and yanked her back. He pushed her into the corner, grabbed the shower head and just started spraying her with cold water. He demanded, "Where did he touch you, here or here? Wash it off! Wash off everywhere he touched!" Susie looked at this dark, angry man in front of her, and all the feelings she'd been holding back just exploded. She shot up, yelling, "Fu Nanching, what did I ever do to you that makes you always humiliate me and come after me like this?" Fu Nanching grabbed her hand, pinning her against the wall. His voice was low and dangerous. "You didn't do anything to me, but you tempt me, Susie. Every single time I see you, I lose it. It's you who keeps tempting me." Susie felt so unbelievably wronged. Her wide, wet eyes stared back at him like a cornered, stubborn animal. Tell me when I ever tried to tempt you." Fu Nanching could barely hold himself back, staring into her teary eyes at her fragile, stunning beauty. He whispered, "Right now." Fu Nanching let go of her wrists and cupped her small face in his hands, his lips coming down on hers. Susie flinched. "Back, what was he doing? Didn't he hate her?" Susie quickly turned her head, dodging his kiss. "Fu Nanching, what are you doing? Have you forgotten you're married?" Those words were like a bucket of ice. Water dumped over his head. Fu Nanching's tall frame went completely still. He was married. What the hell was he doing, losing control over some other girl? His voice went cold. "Get out!" Susie turned to leave. But right then, Fu Nanching saw it, that 3-petal peach blossom. Earlier, when G had ripped Susie's collar, the 3-petal peach blossom right below her collarbone had been revealed. Fu Nanching's eyes locked onto it instantly. His eyes narrowed, a thought clicking into place. In one quick move, he yanked Susie back again. She started to fight him. Fu Nanching, let go. "Didn't you say you'd never cheat? You're someone else's husband." Fu Nanching's gaze turned intense as she struggled. He reached out and pushed aside her collar, revealing the rose-colored 3-petal peach blossom. It was right there, completely in his view. She actually had the 3-petal peach blossom, too. This birthmark. Wasn't it supposed to be on Sushui's body? And that's when the tall, handsome vice president finally realized that the girl who was with him that night was actually his little maid, not his so-called fiancée Sushui. A huge wave of shock washed over Fu Nanching's face. He stared at the long scar on the girl's face. Then he reached out and touched it, rubbing it hard with his thumb. In a second, the edges of the scar started to smudge and fade. The scar was fake. She'd drawn it on. And suddenly everything started flashing through his mind. It was like something straight out of a movie. Fu Nanching was always like 10 steps ahead of everyone. He instantly put two and two together. He'd had his suspicions before, but he never imagined her scar was actually fake. He just stared at the girl in front of him, his eyes dark and intense like a predator about to corner its prey. Susie was still totally clueless. Whoa, whatever was in those drinks is hitting hard. I can't even push you away. Fu Nanching, let me go. If you don't, I'm calling Suwe and telling her you're messing around. A dangerous laugh rumbled in his chest. Call Suwe. You really think this wasn't all part of the plan? It was Suwe, and her little scheme, wasn't it? Sushi was the one who practically gift-wrapped her and sent her to his bed. Nobody had ever dared to play him like this. Fu Nanching leaned down and pressed his lips to hers. Susie's mind went totally blank. He was kissing her. For real. What did he want? He knew who she was, and he was still doing this. This dude was completely unhinged. Fu Nanching swooped her up into his arms and walked right out of the bathroom. He tossed her onto the huge, soft bed. Susie's head was spinning like crazy. She tried to sit up, but then everything went dark. The guy was on the bed, one knee planted down his tall frame, just hovering over her. One hand was propped up, next to her head, and with the other he started unbuttoning his shirt. His movements were reckless and wild, filled with this raw, grown-up vibe that was honestly terrifying. Susie was scared. The whole situation had just gone completely off the rails. Fu Nanching, look at me. I'm Susie, not Sushi. A smirk played on his lips as he touched her face. Not Sushi. Susie, you're the one I've been hunting. Under her terrified gaze, Fu Nanching kissed her. Again. Susie was sure he'd lost his mind. Fu Nanching, get off. If you even try to touch me, I'll call the cops. He laughed like she'd just told the world's funniest joke. Go ahead. I'd love to see you try. Since threats weren't working, Susie tried a different angle. Fu Nanching, aren't you and Sushi supposed to go public tomorrow? How can you pull a stunt like this the night before? He couldn't care less. And didn't Sushi crawl into my bed the second I got back and was taking over the Fu family? She's the one who got into my bed. Susie's eyes lit up with a bit of hope. If you just let me go, I'll disappear. I'll stay so far away from you and Sushi. You guys can be happy and we can all just go back to our own lives. Fu Nanching grabbed her chin, his grip tight. Oh, so that's the game plan. He kissed her again. Hook up with me, then shove me off on Sushi and get away scot-free. You started this game. You don't get to decide when it's over. It's not that easy. Susie's head accidentally slammed against the headboard. Her whole body just trembled twice. She squeezed her eyes shut as hot, salty tears started burning at the corners of her eyes. Something inside Fu Nanching's chest just twisted. His big hand gently covered her bangs, shielding her head. He started placing all these soft kisses on her hair. Why are you crying? Open your eyes and look at me. Susie opened her eyes, and they were swimming in tears so clear and innocent. Her pupils were all red. Fu Nanching held her close and asked, I heard you're not exactly innocent anymore. Who was the first guy say his name? Susie was furious. She hated him so much. She dug her nails into his muscles, leaving these gnarly red scratches as she screamed, Fu Nanching! He just smiled. You're soaked. He took Susie's hands and put them on his waist. Aren't you gonna take these off, what you shy? Susie was in fact super shy, and her face felt like it was on fire. The next morning, a pop song started blaring from a phone, waking Fu Nanching up. He grabbed the phone from the nightstand. It was Sushi probably blowing up his phone about showing up to the Su family's birthday bash. His eyes still had a hint of last night's softness as he just declined the call. He pulled the girl in his arms closer and went right back to sleep. 30 minutes later, Susie's eyes fluttered open. She just stared at the ceiling for a second, totally lost. Then a deep magnetic voice came from right next to her ear. You up? Susie turned her head and saw his ridiculously handsome face. It was Fu Nanching. All the memories from last night came rushing back. It wasn't a dream. She actually hooked up with Fu Nanching. Seeing the pure panic in her eyes, Fu Nanching's thin lips curved into a mysterious smile. Sleep okay last night? Want to go for round 2? Susie shot up like a rocket. Her brain was a total train wreck. She couldn't figure out why he'd done that. This was bad. Really, really bad. Just then a knock came from the door, and his secretary's voice followed. President, I have the items you requested. Right here. Fu Nanching took the bag and handed it to Susie. Take this. Susie just looked at him. What is this? He said it so coldly. The morning after pill. This was the same guy who, after finding out the truth, totally wrecked Sushi and publicly took back that legendary emperor's heart diamond. Fu Nanching's voice was ice sharp enough to cut. Susie, you don't seriously think I'd have a kid with you, right? Take the pill. I don't want any accidents. Susie got the message loud and clear. She took the morning after pill and swallowed it right there in front of him. I took it, Mr. Vice President, so can I go now? Fu Nanching warned her. About last night. It stays between us. I don't want anyone finding out, especially my future Mrs. Fu. Susie just blew past him and headed for the door. If you didn't want Sushi to know, you shouldn't have done it, you psycho. Just as she walked out, she got a text from Sushi. It's Dad's birthday today. Where are you? She just wanted an audience to watch her big debut with Fu Nanching all while pretending to be the perfect daughter. She then got into a cab. Her mind was just replaying last night over and over. Doesn't Fu Nanching like Sushi? Then why would he hook up with me? 30 minutes later, Susie showed up at the Su family's banquet hall. A bunch of people were totally fawning over Sushi. OMG Sushi, is that the Imperial Star? It's gorgeous. Sushi, let's go shopping and hit the spa tomorrow. Don't you dare forget about your girls just because you landed a rich boyfriend. Sushi faked a pout. Tomorrow's probably a no-go. I gotta hang with my boyfriend, he's like super clingy. It's cool though, I'll catch you guys later. Sushi was totally loving every second of this. Just then, Susie showed up. Leland was like, ugh, she's still so tragic, not even a decent outfit to her name, while Leland was literally about to secure the bag and become a legit rich wifey. Leland totally stomped over to Susie, looking super annoyed. Susie, didn't I tell you to stay hidden? Do you want everyone knowing we have some cringe country relative? Just then, Susu sauntered over all hip-swaying confidence. Mom, chill, I told her to come. Susie, today you get a front row seat to my glow-up. After you see this, you better drop any crazy ideas you have. Susie's face was a total blank slate, she didn't even say a word. Su Chongrong rushed over all stressed out. Susu, did you call Mr. Fu? This party's been going for ages, where is he? Susu had been blowing up Fu Nanching's phone, but it just kept going to voicemail. Dad Nanching's probably just slammed I'll hit him up again. Still no answer. She was starting to get a bad feeling. Susie was just standing there thinking, busy, yeah right. Feining's probably still passed out at some bar, who knows if he's even awake. All of a sudden, there was a huge stir. Someone yelled, he's here, he's here. Susu's rich boo had finally arrived. She shot Susie a smug look. My man is here. You're gonna want to watch this. Oh, believe me, my eyes are peeled. People started whispering, has anyone actually seen Susu's boyfriend? Nah, but we're about to. A guy who can drop cash on the Imperial Star has gotta be next level. Then a figure walked in. It was so not feigning, but some super old dude. The second he walked in, everyone's smiles just died. Instead of the hot and powerful Fu Nanching, it was a guy who looked like he was in his 70s or 80s. The room totally exploded in chaos. Suwe gasped. OMG, Susu is asterisk, this asterisk your rich boyfriend. How could you be with someone that old? The old man walked right up to her. Susu snapped. Who even are you? Who let you in security get him out of here? The old guy was wearing a fancy suit looking like a butler from some majorly rich family. Miss Su, hello? I'm here to collect the Imperial Star. It isn't yours. Susu instantly clutched the Imperial Star on her neck. What gives you the right to take my necklace? The Imperial Star is mine. If it's not mine, then whose is it? The old man just gave a little smirk and motioned with his hand. Two huge bodyguards in black suits stepped right up. They literally ripped the Imperial Star off Susu's neck. The massive diamond scratched her, leaving a bloody line. Susu let out this crazy scream. Leland immediately threw her arms around Susu, yelling like a maniac. Who do you think you are? You can't just come in here and get rough in our house. Somebody help. Su Chongrong totally over it shot Lilan and Susu a death glare. Shut up, stop causing a scene. After the old guy and his crew left, the whole party just erupted. Suwe jumped right in. Susu, I offered to set you up, and you picked an old man. Seriously, how desperate are you? Another guy totally switched up his vibe. Mr. Su, is that your son-in-law? I'm just curious, does he call you dad? Or do you call asterisk him asterisk dad? Susu heard every single word. She just completely fell apart right there. Sinking to the floor, her mind totally blank. She never imagined it would go down like this. After everyone finally cleared out, Leland asked, Chongrong, what was that all about, that old man? Su Chongrong cut Leland right off. That was Fu Ning's butler. This was all Fu Ning's idea. Susu just shook her head, not wanting to believe it. What, no way, that's impossible. Looks like the hotshot CEO finally got jealous. The little maid and his nephew went on a secret date. Susu was still in total denial. Feigning would never do this to me. He was perfectly fine yesterday. He promised he'd tell everyone we were together at my birthday party. Su Chongrong's face went beet red with rage. He lifted his hand and slapped Susu right across the face. You're useless. Go figure out how to get Fu Ning back on your own. After screaming that at her, he stormed off. Susu just crumpled to the floor, sobbing her eyes out. She couldn't get why feigning would be so savage to her. Then she looked up and saw Susie just standing there. Susie's gorgeous eyes were just watching her, totally calm and collected, taking in her whole meltdown. Susie, are you here to laugh at me too? Susie gave a small smile. You already know the answer to that. And thanks for the special invite to watch the show. And with that, she turned and walked away. Susu was so mad she looked like she was about to pop a blood vessel. She just let out this piercing shriek. Later in class, Susie put a hand on her stomach, her face looking a little pale. Just then, Fuyu ran up. Hey, little ugly duckling, you busy tonight? Want to go on a date? Susie was so not in the mood for him and just started to walk off. But then she suddenly swayed. Fuyu instantly reached out and steadied her. The next thing she knew, everything went black and she just went limp. Fuyu's whole expression changed as he caught her. Hey, ugly duckling, what's wrong? Meanwhile, in the study at the Eplon Villa, the butler came back with the imperial star. Young master, I got the necklace back just like you said. Here it is. Fu Nanching, looking all handsome and distant, just kept signing papers without even looking up. Toss it. Right then there was a knock at the door. Feigning glanced up and just said, "Come in." The secretary walked in right as the butler was dropping the imperial star into the trash can. A crazy expensive piece worth like hundreds of millions just getting chucked. Was it because Susu had worn it? Fu Nanching looked up with this icy expression and asked, "Are the divorce papers ready?" Secretary Song nodded. "All set, sir. You're officially done with Susu." But in his head, he was picturing that small face under his. Last night, her dark hair all a mess around her face, so soft and wild. It was the kind of thing a guy couldn't just forget. Okay, so now that Susu was handled, it was Susie's turn. He kept working for a bit, then he glanced outside. It was already pitch black. He checked the time. It was already 8 p.m. Why wasn't Susie back yet? He was just about to go find her when Fu Ning walked in. "Uncle Yu crashing here tonight." Tonight, instead of the main house, Fu Nanching's jaw tightened, and he asked, clearly annoyed, "Where's your friend? Didn't she come back with you?" She suddenly grinned. "Oh, Cece, I saw her with Fuyu this afternoon. They're totally on a date." The second she said that, the look in Fu Nanching's eyes went ice cold. Fu Ying had no clue what was up with her uncle's vibe, and just sighed. "Ugh, I was totally shipping Cece as my future aunt, but I guess she's trying to be my sister-in-law instead. You blew it, uncle." As she said it, she trailed off because she saw her uncle's face looked absolutely murderous. Fu Nanching gave her a deadpan look and tossed a stack of test papers at her. "Got too much time on your hands, do these problems." Fu Ying bolted. "Out of there." "Don't take it out on me. Cece and Fuyu are a thing now." Fu Nanching sat by himself, pulling out a cigarette and sticking it between his lips. Taking a long drag, he thought, "A date with his nephew. We literally hooked up last night, and today she's with that kid. She's got some serious nerve." Around 11 at night, a car pulled up to Ipan Lawn Villa. Susie got out looking super pale. She'd passed out at school, and Fuyu took her to the hospital for an IV that took 4 hours. That's why she was getting home so late. Fuyu asked, all worried. "The doctor said you're allergic to some medicine. What are you allergic to?" Susie had to make something up. "Oh, it's nothing, just some cold medicine. Anyway, for real, thanks for today." Fuyu reached out and gently patted her head. "What? Are you talking about you're my girlfriend? Of course I'm gonna take care of you." His hand was still on her head when Susie's eyes went wide. She spotted Fu Nanching on the balcony, one hand shoved in his pocket, his face a shadow in the dark. He was staring down at them with this cold king-of-the-world look. Susie instantly dodged Fuyu's hand and forced a smile. "Fuyu, I'm gonna head inside." With that, she rushed in. Fuyu yelled after her, "Night, ugly, sleep tight." But the moment Susie got upstairs, that tall, imposing figure stepped out, blocking her path. He had a cigarette hanging from his lips and was staring her down, looking totally pissed. Susie looked up at him. "Vice President, is there a problem?" His lips twisted into a smirk as he lowered his voice. "Where have you been out messing around with my nephew this late?" The handsome vice president's jealousy was on full display, grilling the girl he acted like he didn't even know, even after everything that happened between them. Susie said flat out, "Vice President, we're not a thing. I don't have to report my every move to you, do I?" Fu Nanching didn't get mad. He just took a drag of his cigarette and blew a cloud of smoke right in her face. The sudden smell of it filled her nose and mouth. Susie gagged and started coughing like crazy. Then his fingers, still holding the cigarette, grabbed her chin, forcing her to look up with her watery eyes. He smirked cruelly. "Acting like you don't know me after we shared a bed?" Susie's pale face turned bright red with humiliation and rage. How could he just say that? She glared at him. "Vice President, I'm your nephew's girlfriend now. You need to track our dates or something." To Fu Nanching's surprise, his grip on her chin tightened, his smirk totally gone. "Did you have this much of a mouth on you when Fuyu kissed you?" His grip hurt. She looked right at him and parted her lips, flashing the tip of her tongue, her eyes full of defiance. "What, a mouth like this?" Fu Nanching's expression darkened, but you could still see his Adam's apple bob. How did she get so rebellious, so ready to fight and push all his buttons? Fu Nanching's face flushed with anger as he said recklessly with a bitter laugh, "Guess it's a good thing I was careful. Otherwise, if you ended up pregnant, we wouldn't know if it belonged to the nephew or the uncle." He wasn't even finished when Susie's eyes narrowed, and she swung her hand, slapping him hard across his arrogant, handsome face. The sound of it cracked in the air. Fu Nanching's head snapped to the side. He slowly turned back, glaring at her like he could kill her. He couldn't believe she actually hit him. Susie's palm stung. She'd put everything she had into that slap. She thought he deserved it last night when he crossed the line with her. She leaned in close. "Vice President, what's wrong? Go on, hit me back. You're the big shot after all. You could snap your fingers and ruin my life in E-City, make my life a living hell." Fu Nanching's fists clenched. But looking at her defiant face, he just couldn't bring himself to lay a hand on her. He just stormed off. Susie stumbled into her room, her stomach twisting into knots. Fu Nanching had been messing with her from day one, pushing her closer and closer to the edge. But she wasn't Suwe, and Fu Nanching had no idea. He didn't know about her allergies either. He knew literally nothing. He was just a total absolute jerk. A few days later, Susie got home and started digging in her bag for keys. She realized she didn't have them. She had no choice but to call Fu Ying. Hey, I forgot my keys. When are you getting back? Fu Ying sounded super stressed. I'm totally stuck right now, but there's a spare key with my uncle. I'll text him. Just go grab the key from him. Before Susie could argue, she hung up. So great. Now she had to go find Fu Nanching. In a private room at the Song Hotel, Fu Nanching was at the head of the table playing cards with a bunch of rich guys. He had on a white shirt with the top button undone, and his vibe was just cold and silent. Song Zelen whispered, my second bro. Bro has been in a major funk these past few days. Who ticked him off? His whole vibe is pretty bad. Wen Xuan told him not to sweat Nanching, saying he'd sort himself out. Song Zelen just had to chime in. Yo Fuji Jewelry picked 10 new brand ambassadors today. All different types, and every single one is a total smoke show. Should we get some of them to come hang? Fu Nanching lifted his gorgeous eyes and stared him down. You got something you want to say? Acting like he hadn't said a word, Zelen immediately clammed up. All of a sudden, a girl's voice piped up. Vice President. She shyly crept closer, her voice all soft and sweet. Vice President, let me help you with your hand. Fu Nanching barely glanced over, deadpanning 2 words. Beat it. His mind drifted back to Cece again. She never backed down, not even a little, and only knew how to push his buttons. Xia Qian raised his eyebrows. Whoa, hold up, Nanching. Isn't this usually your type? Song Zelen busted out laughing. What's the point of being so basic? I'm telling you, you need someone with some fire. There's this supermodel Cece, and she is straight fire. You interested, bro? Fu Nanching just kept smoking, scrolling on his phone. He coolly said one thing. Nah, I'm good. Cece was in the main lounge, touching up her lipstick. A second later, she saw Cece's reflection in the mirror. She spun around Cece. I was gonna just ignore her, but finally I mumbled, sister. She marched right up and snapped, this is the song's turf. Who do you even think you are waltzing in here? You better bounce before you start drama and drag me down with you. Cece just gave her a cold stare. I'm here to find someone. I'll leave once I find them. She scoffed. Finding someone as if you'd know anyone here. Who are you even trying to kid? Cece, stay in your lane. Right then, Secretary Song walked over. He said super politely, Miss Cece, please come with me. Cece followed Secretary Song toward the VIP rooms. Cece watched, totally fuming. What the heck? How can she go in there? What major player did that busted chick manage to hook? The hotshot VP, totally wanting to get the shy girl alone, cooked up a plan on the spot. He shot Cece a text. Come hang with me tonight. I want to get a better look at that 3-petal peach blossom mark of yours. Fu Nanching was glued to his phone. Xuan and S. Zelen were whispering, dude, how many times has he checked that thing? Nanching has to be waiting for some girl's text. No way, we literally just sent one packing. My bro's standards are way too high. Who could possibly get his attention? Just then, Cece walked in. Vice President, I'm here for the key. When Xuan and Song Zelen saw Cece obviously clocking the scar on her face, he was totally shocked. You've got to be kidding me. Cece frowned and said it again. President Fu, can you give me the key? Fu Nanching looked at her red, teary eyes and that fragile look on her face, and he couldn't resist messing with her. It's in my suit jacket. Come and get it yourself. Cece slowly walked over her body, barely grazing Fu Nanching's as she quickly started fishing around in his pockets. A small smirk played on Fu Nanching's lips. He was clearly enjoying this. Cece looked up at him. Vice President, I checked. It's not in the pockets. He grinned. Is that right? Maybe I remembered wrong. Why don't you check again? Cece already knew he was just messing with her and wasn't falling for it again. If you don't want to give it to me, then forget it. I'll just crash somewhere else tonight. She was about to get up. But out of nowhere, Fu Nanching grabbed her, keeping her there. She totally struggled. Fu Nanching, let me go. Just then a voice they both knew rang out. Cece and Fu Nanching both turned. It was Fuyu. He came over and asked Cece, we were literally just at the next table. Didn't see you. What are you doing with him? Cece explained. I came to talk to the vice president about something. I just tripped, that's all. Fuyu draped his arm over her shoulder. Oh, you all done. My friends are here too. This is the perfect chance for you to meet them. The very next second, Fu Nanching's whole expression went dark when he heard Cece say, yeah, I'm done. As your girlfriend. I still haven't met your crew. Song was so confused about what was happening. How could that asterisk girl be Fuyu's girlfriend? Fu Nanching's eyes were locked on her and he looked seriously ticked off. Her laughing and chatting with Fuyu sitting all quiet and sweet next to him. They were totally at that perfect flower-like age. You could just feel the puppy love in the air. Fu Nanching was so not happy. He quietly lit a cigarette and pulled out his phone to text Suwe. Come over tonight. When Suwe saw Fu Nanching's message, she got super excited. He wanted her to come keep him company tonight. Finally, she'd been waiting for this day. She quickly replied, honey, I'm on my way right now. She had already bought that CC perfume. This time she was going to make the first move. She had to make Fu Nanching go public with their relationship. She thought Fu Nanching wouldn't text again, but just then another message from him came in. Tonight I want to get a real good look at Your three-petal peach blossom birthmark. The smile on Suwe's face hadn't even fully formed before it completely vanished. What birthmark? She didn't have that birthmark. Could it be Susie's birthmark, then? Tonight was going to be another win for Susie. She could only let Susie take her place to be with Fu Nanching again. Finally, she furiously called Susie. Susie's phone rang in the private room. She looked at the caller ID. It showed Suwe. After she answered, Suwe's voice came through tight with anger. Susie, where are you right now? I don't care where you are, get over to Song's Club and keep Fu Nanching company right now. She quickly lowered her voice. Suwe, I'm warning you, leave me alone, I'm done being your stand-in. Suwe used the jade pendant as an excuse again. You haven't found the jade pendant, right? I know exactly where it is. At the Su family house. Keep Fu Nanching happy tonight, and I'll tell you tomorrow morning. Fu Nanching watched the girl in the corner of the sofa, her fingers gripping her phone so tight her knuckles turned white. She looked totally pissed and frustrated, biting her lip so hard it was about to bleed. It was obvious she didn't want to be with him tonight, but this game was already in motion, and she wasn't the one in control anymore. It was getting super late, so Fuyu was like, I'll take Sui home. Fu Nung was about to bounce too with Wen Shuen and Sani right behind him. They totally spotted Susie saying bye to Fuyu and started whispering. Bro, you're not actually falling for that girl, are you? She's your nephew's girlfriend for real. It's the first time Nanching has ever let a girl get this close. Whatever, it's his business, you know. Just stay out of it. He whipped out his phone and made a call. The person on the other end picked up instantly. So is Vice President Song gonna see me? He was like, my brother doesn't want to see anyone today. We'll talk later. Suwe played it cool like, it's fine. I mean, I only saved you by chance. I wasn't expecting anything back. Hearing that, he got all emotional. You're too sweet. How can you even compete with those thirsty girls? Don't worry, I've got your back. Suwe's lips curled into a slow smile. I just really admire the vice president's talent. Whatever happens, happens. You know, I gotta go. She hung up and just started laughing. OMG, this idiot is so easy to play. And that Susie girl. Who knows who she's messing with? She's not a looker, but she's got game. Right then, she saw Susie chatting with some pot-bellied old guy. So that's the big shot this little clown managed to snag. Suwe immediately pulled out her phone. Snap. She took a pic. Looking at it, Suwe gave this creepy smile. She was not about to let anyone get ahead of her, especially not this nobody. Turns out the maid could actually translate a bunch of languages. When the hotshot CEO found out he was even more into her, but because she was in such a rush, she accidentally bumped into that same pot-bellied dude. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Susie apologized, then darted into the hotel. She ducked into a bathroom and peeled the fake scar off her face, revealing her stunning, icy, beautiful face. This time she had to get that jade pendant back. Period. Then she went to room 6901. She reached out and knocked. The door opened like right away. It was Secretary Song. He was super polite. Madam, the president has some urgent business. If you could just wait a sec. Susie walked in and saw a stack of papers on the table. What's all that? She asked. He answered, Madam, those are some French documents we need like ASAP. The translator is running late and we're scrambling to find someone. Susie, with nothing better to do, was just like, I can translate it. 30 minutes later, Fu Nanching came back. He saw Susie sitting there, totally focused on translating the French files. Just then, his deep, smooth voice cut in. Did you major in French in college? Susie looked up at his ridiculously handsome face. She shook her head. Nah, I just kind of learned it. On my own for fun. Many other secret skills was she hiding. He tilted his head and asked how many languages she knew. Susie just raised an eyebrow. Definitely not as many as you, Mr. President. I'm just a normal person. He started casually playing with her hair. Be my translator for the day. Should I pay you? Susie quickly stammered. You don't have to. He asked again. So how about a reward instead? Just as Susie was about to say something, his cool, soft lips were on hers, holding her still. Susie's eyes went wide. Her mind just went totally blank. So that asterisk was the reward he was talking about. She reached up to push him off. Stop it, Fu Nanching. He just stared at her, his eyes all intense. Did you forget who you are? You're Sushi, my wife. Susie, who'd been struggling, froze. Right, she was supposed to be Sushi. She couldn't fight back. If she did, he'd get suspicious. When he saw she'd stopped moving, Fu Nanching wrapped his arm around her tiny waist, pulling her close. Just relax. This is normal for a husband and wife. Tears started to fill Susie's, with her Fu Nanching's lips curved into a smirk. This little liar was still playing games, so he decided to play one too. I was wasted that night and thought she was you. I seriously can't stand that maid. She's nothing compared to you. You're the one I actually like. Susie's whole vibe just darkened. So that was it. That night he was just drunk and thought she was Sushi. Susie shoved him away hard. She scrambled up and ran to the bathroom feeling like, why are you mad? Susie struggled. She did not want him touching her. Get off of me. Just then her waist twinged as he tightened his grip and lifted her right onto the counter. Mrs. Fu, have I been too nice? To you? Susie's eyes got all red. Fu Nanching, please just chill. My body. He cut her off, totally teasing her. It's that time of the month again. It's been like almost a whole month now. Susie just stared at him, totally speechless. The vibe got so awkward. Then all of a sudden, Fu Nanching lifted her legs. Susie turned her head away, completely mortified. He tried to kiss her again, but her lips were sealed shut. Fu Nanching let out this frustrated laugh. Are you trying to mess with me? You're not gonna open your mouth? His big hand squeezed her face until her lips puckered. Then he kissed her. Again, but this time it wasn't gentle or sweet at all, like he didn't even care how she felt. Then out of nowhere he called out, Suwe. That's what she got for killing the vibe. Susie's face went sour. Her fingers crept up his strong shoulders and she opened her mouth like she was giving in, and then she bit him, hard. Fu Nanching immediately let out this yelp of pain. The next second he was pulling off his shirt. His chest was totally ripped like wow. Just then, Susie spoke up. Fu Nanching, did you buy it? I don't want to take any pills. He held her, a smirk playing on his lips. Why call me Fu Nanching? Say husband, I want to hear it. The handsome vice president had already figured it out. The little maid was in on an act with Suwe. Since that's the case, he decided to play along. It was a 3-person game, and he'd see who would be the ultimate loser in the end. The next morning, Susie was already up. She opened her eyes. Fu Nanching hadn't left yet. He was sleeping, while holding her. She got up and got dressed, her whole body aching. Today she had to find Suwe and demand to know where the jade pendant was. Then she turned and left the room. After the door closed, the man on the bed opened his eyes. Actually, he'd woken up the moment she moved. Fu Nanching sat up and made a call to find out where she went. Secretary Song answered that Miss Suwe wanted to see Miss Susie. I didn't want to waste my breath. Susie, where's the jade pendant? She threw a piece of clothing at her. Suwe got pissed and demanded, Did you two sleep together again, Susie? Remember your place? Immediately reacted and scrambled to put her clothes on. She sweetly went to greet him, calling out husband in a sugary voice. I was just saying how happy I was last night. Fu Nanching turned his head, looking tenderly at Susie. I was happy too. Are you free? I'll take you shopping. Suwe immediately lit up. Really? I'm free whenever. No, today she had to find out where the jade pendant was, otherwise Suwe might. Suwe didn't dare to piss him off, so she could only nod. Okay. The 3 of them got into the car. Fu Nanching was driving with a giddy Suwe in the passenger seat. Susie sat by herself in the back. Fu Nanching smirked. Susie, you're so weird. You call me husband all day, so why not at night? Susie replied sweetly. Husband, if you want to hear it, I'll let you. They arrived at the mall. Suwe saw Susie looking all over the place. She sneered. Susie, what are you even looking at? There's nothing here you can afford. Then Suwe spotted a bracelet. Husband, look how beautiful this one is. Fu Nanching gave her a look. I left some papers in the car, go get them for me. Suwe definitely didn't want to. Husband, can't Susie go? He said coldly. These papers are highly confidential. I can only trust you with them. Hearing that made Suwe completely melt. This was his 100% trust in her after all. Business secrets that Susie wasn't. In front of Suwe. Susie watched Suwe walk away. So naive. If the papers were really that confidential, why would he leave them carelessly in the car? Just then the store manager brought over a diamond bracelet. Sir, this bracelet is made with 6 sets of top-grade pink diamonds. The design is so dreamy. Which lady will be wearing it? Fu Nanching looked at the bracelet, totally satisfied. Then his eyes landed on Susie, gesturing for her to try it on. She stared at Fu Nanching, completely shocked. Wait, wasn't this for Suwe? Was he just having her model it since Suwe wasn't around? The store manager took the diamond bracelet and gently slipped it onto Susie's slender wrist. The way the diamonds sparkled against her pale skin made her look like a porcelain doll, unbelievably beautiful. Even Fu Nanching couldn't hold back a smile. The polar star went to the wrong person last time, but this time, this bracelet finally found its home. Just as Susie started to slide it off, he stopped her cold. His voice was low, a total threat. Don't you dare take that off. If you do, I'll tell everyone we spent the night together. Susie's brow furrowed. He's actually lost his mind. Fu Nanching just arched an eyebrow, his eyes locked on her face. Take the bracelet and we'll call it even. And stop spouting nonsense in front of my Mrs. Fu. I'm crazy about my wife and I don't need you messing with our vibe. His words sent a chill right through her. I won't say a thing. And I don't want your bracelet. Fu Nanching stared down at her. If you don't want the bracelet, what do you want me? Don't get greedy. I'm not yours. He then pulled out a black card to pay for it. Just then, Sushi came rushing back in, totally out of breath. Honey, did you get it wrong? I checked the car like twice. The papers you mentioned aren't there. Fu Nanching's gorgeous face was a total blank mask. Guess I remembered wrong. Sushi's eyes were practically glued to all the sparkly jewelry. Babe, let's look at some more stuff. That diamond bracelet from a minute ago was so pretty. Fu Nanching was already turning to leave. Just remembered I have a huge meeting so I can't hang out anymore. Sushi's face just fell. Seriously, wasn't he supposed to buy her jewelry and diamonds like she just ran one errand and didn't even buy anything? Just then, Sushi's eagle eyes totally locked onto the diamond bracelet on Susie's wrist. Susie, wait a sec, isn't that the bracelet from earlier? So why's it on your wrist, babe? Did you seriously buy that for her? Sushi was literally about to lose it. Wow, Susie, I had no idea you were such a player getting a guy to drop cash on you that fast. He just shrugged and said asterisk asterisk, I didn't ask for your opinion, just take it. Asterisk asterisk. Sushi totally flipped and raised her hand to slap Susie's face. Asterisk asterisk, Susie, you little asterisk asterisk. But just as she was about to hit her, this cold, strong hand shot out and snatched Sushi's wrist. Fu Nang was suddenly standing there, all tall and intense, right in front of her. Wait, why was he protecting asterisk me asterisk? Wasn't he supposed to be into sushi? He grabbed Susie's hand and started to pull her away, his voice cutting through the drama. Asterisk asterisk. Yeah, I bought it for her. Got a problem. Take it up with me. Asterisk asterisk. Watching them leave, Sushi looked like she was going to spontaneously combust. She realized the first thing she had to do now was get a 3-petal peach blossom birthmark. She had to become a perfect copy of that Maid. And just when I was starting to kind of maybe feel something for the billionaire CEO, he goes and stomps all over it himself. Grip that was surprisingly comforting. Sushi was absolutely fuming. After a scene like that, there was no way she was telling him where the jade pendant was. He suddenly stopped walking and asked, "Why'd you protect me back?" "They're asterisk asterisk. You're mine. So what's the big deal if I protect you asterisk asterisk?" Susie mumbled back, asterisk asterisk, I am not yours. Asterisk asterisk. A little smirk played on Fu Nanching's lips. Asterisk asterisk. Oh, really? Then whose are you? My nephew's asterisk asterisk. Susie opened her mouth to argue, but Fu Nanching just cut her off. Asterisk asterisk. Stay away from my nephew. I don't really do sharing. Asterisk asterisk. That one word felt like a bucket of ice water being dumped on her head, completely killing the tiny spark in her heart. The Su family mansion. Asterisk asterisk Miss Su. Just so you know, Miss Swan landed the gig as the food jewelry spokesperson. In a few days, the old madam is throwing a celebratory party at the mansion, so don't you forget to show up. Asterisk asterisk. She just said asterisk asterisk. All right, I'll be there. Asterisk asterisk. Talk about perfect timing. She'd been stressing about how to get in touch with Sushi, and now she was basically forced to go to a family party with her in a few days. Later, the old madam grabbed her hand and repeated asterisk asterisk good asterisk asterisk 3 times. Asterisk asterisk good good good. Our Swan is finally doing something with her life, becoming the face of food jewelry, and even scoring an invite to the Fu Corporation banquet. You're one step closer to getting in with the Fu family. Asterisk asterisk. Swan was all like asterisk asterisk. Grandma, you're totally making a big deal out of nothing. Asterisk asterisk. Sujun chimed in with a smirk. Asterisk asterisk. Oh, Swan's just being modest for the family. I mean, the Fu party isn't for just anyone, unlike some people's families. They couldn't even get one invitation. Asterisk asterisk. Susie's whole vibe instantly soured now that everyone was shooting her jealous looks. The other day, asterisk asterisk Lilan was like totally shook. Asterisk asterisk Susie, you have a boyfriend. Who is he? Asterisk asterisk. Susie was trying so hard not to lose her cool and snapped asterisk asterisk. I don't have a boyfriend. Asterisk asterisk. Sue Air just whipped out the photos on her phone. Asterisk asterisk. Stop hiding it. This is Susie's boyfriend. Asterisk asterisk. The picture was of some bald guy with a beer belly who looked like he was over 50. Everyone started laughing about how pathetic it was, saying they couldn't believe she had the stomach for it. And with her looks, she should just be grateful to get anyone. Susie shot back asterisk asterisk. I have zero connection to this man. Asterisk asterisk. That's when Sue Air yanked her collar open, putting the red marks on her shoulder on full display. Asterisk asterisk Susie, you say you have no connection? Then what's this asterisk asterisk? The whole room totally erupted. A small dangerous smile curved Susie's lips as she said in a crystal clear voice, asterisk asterisk, get your hand off me. Asterisk asterisk. Sue Air stared into Susie's eyes, gritting her teeth. Asterisk asterisk Susie, how dare you talk to me like that? Asterisk asterisk. The words were barely out of her mouth when Susie's hand shot out and grabbed her wrist, and with a quick smooth twist, a sickening sharp crack of a bone echoed in the room. When the insane pain hit her, she let out a blood-curdling scream. Old Madam Sue and Sue Jun totally freaked and ran over, shielding Sue Air. Asterisk asterisk a doctor. Hurry, call a doctor. Asterisk 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 Susie. How could you put your hands on your cousin? Your cousin is a supermodel and the face of Fu. If something happens to her, even 10 of your worthless lives wouldn't be enough to pay for it. Asterisk asterisk. Susie's face was totally unfazed. Asterisk asterisk. She came at me first. I warned her, she didn't listen. It was purely self-defense. Asterisk asterisk. Sue Air was sweating buckets from the pain. Asterisk asterisk. Grandma, it hurts so bad I think my bone is broken. Asterisk asterisk. Susie just turned to leave. Asterisk asterisk. Looks like I'm skipping this meal. Sue Air, don't forget to come find me. Asterisk asterisk. About half an hour later, Sue Air was on her phone searching for the diamond bracelet Susie was wearing, and she found it in like 2 seconds. When she saw the price, she literally gasped. It was insanely expensive. How on earth could Susie afford it? But right then, her heart was just on fire with envy. And then an idea sparked and she, Sister Susie. The other day she was at a hotel with some old man bringing so much shame to our family. The family wants to teach her a lesson but can't. Young Master Song, can you help me? Asterisk asterisk Song Zeline immediately. Agreed. Don't worry, I'll teach her a lesson for you. Asterisk asterisk. After he hung up, Wen Xian looked up at Song Xiling. Asterisk asterisk Xiling Nanching is still out of town on that business trip. You probably shouldn't mess with Susie. Asterisk asterisk. But he just waved it off. Asterisk asterisk bro. Hospital. Hello, Miss Sue. You need to get here like right now. Young Master Song just barged into your grandma's room and we can't stop him. The second Susie heard that, her heart totally dropped, and everything she was holding just crashed to the floor. She sprinted to the room immediately. Susie knew him in a second. He was the guy playing cards with Fu Nanching in the private room that other night. Fu Nanching's good friend, the heir to the Song family, Song Zili. A seriously scary I could end you look flashed in her eyes. You wouldn't dare! Song Zili just barely lifted his hand, giving them the signal to go ahead. What wouldn't I dare? If you know what's good for you, you'll leave my brother alone and go back to whatever hole you crawled out of. Pure fury filled Susie's eyes. She brought her knee up hard, right where it counts. The super hot vice president had rushed in like a hero, totally solving her grandma's hospital problem. He showed up when she needed him the most. Song Zili jumped up, gritting his teeth in pain. Susie, you really don't know your place. Just wait, no hospital in all of Yi City will dare to take your grandmother. As he stormed out, he shot her one last dark look. Susie rushed to check her grandma's pulse. Thanks to her heart medication, her grandma's heart rate was still stable even without the oxygen mask, but they had to get it back on like ASAP. Soon the doctor came in. Miss Sue, we can't risk keeping the patient here any longer. She just laughed, but it was a bitter sound. Is your hospital looking for a lawsuit? The media in Yes City is going to love this. I had no idea you guys were so eager to ruin your own reputation. In the end, they only gave Susie a few hours to find a new hospital. Susie pulled out her phone and made a call. The other end picked up instantly, and a smooth, charming guy's voice said, Hello. CCE, hey, it's me. What's the fastest your medical team could get here? From the school? It would take till tomorrow at least. What's up? Susie was panicking. My grandma can't wait that long, but no hospital here will risk ticking off the Song family. He had an idea. Since you've made an enemy of the Song family, your only option is Fu Hospital. Fu Nanching has been wanting you to mix some perfumes for him. He'll definitely do you this favor. She needed that oxygen mask. Susie hesitated for a second before finding his number. When she called, it was picked up almost immediately. Susie said hello, but it wasn't Fu Nanching who answered. It was a super sweet girly voice. Hi, the vice president is taking a shower. May I ask who's calling? Susie was floored that he'd have a woman with him on a business trip. She hung up immediately. She felt like such an idiot for calling. What was she to him, a hookup at best? Maybe just one of many. Just then her phone lit up. Fu Nanching was calling back. She went to open it. Outside stood a man in a perfectly tailored suit. Hello, Miss Sue. I'm the CEO's executive assistant. The CEO sent me to ask if you need any help. Since he'd sent someone, Fu Nanching's people were of course crazy efficient. They had probably already gotten the full story on their way over. Don't worry about a thing, I've already contacted Fu's City Hospital. 30 minutes later, her grandmother was in a VIP suite with the oxygen mask back on. The knot in Susie's chest finally loosened. Thank you for all your trouble. The assistant handed her a phone. You don't need to thank me, it was all the CEO's orders. Please take this video call. Susie took it and saw that familiar handsome face. Fu Nanching looked at her through the screen, his eyebrows slightly furrowed. He asked softly, Why didn't you answer my calls? Susie tried to sound casual. Didn't hear it. He let out a small laugh. You're a terrible liar. What were you thinking when my secretary answered? His words made Susie blush bright red. Why are you even talking about that? I wasn't thinking anything. It's fine, I'm hanging up now. You have a meeting, so we can't talk much, he said, cutting her off. Just stay calm at the hospital and we'll talk about everything else when I get back. Susie handed the phone back, saying thank you. She sat by her grandmother's bedside. This time she was truly grateful to Fu Nanching. It seemed like whenever he showed up, her whole chaotic world would just go quiet. Then the door to the room opened. Fu Nanching was back. The man had come late at night, still in his suit, and looking exhausted from travel, his eyes completely fixed on Susie. He walked toward her, the bedside, and totally touched the cheek of the girl sleeping on the bed. Seriously, it's the only time she's this chill. Susie felt something cool and kinda tickly on her face, like someone was there. He was totally messing with her. She blinked her eyes open, feeling super groggy, and actually saw Fu Nanching looking down at her. Seeing how silly and cute she looked, all confused, Fu Nanching smirked. Too out of it to recognize me. Once she confirmed she wasn't hallucinating, she shot right up. Mr. Fu, you're back. Weren't you on a business trip? Fu Nanching's voice was soft. Work's done. How's your grandmother? Susie nodded, a little dazed. She's stable, thank you. Mr. Fu! He took Susie's hand and led her towards the bathroom. As the door clicked shut, Susie's heart hammered against her ribs. Mr. Fu, what are you trying to say? Can't we talk out there? I really want to thank you for this. Fu Nanching pulled Susie into his arms, cutting her off. Is this how you thank someone? He'd thought about it before. It wasn't right that she had to be the one to ask him for help. And here it was, Payback time. Mr. Fu, how do you want me to thank you? I know you helped me because of Sushi. How about I take you both out to dinner sometime? She brought up Sushi on purpose to remind him of his married man status. Fu Nanching was way too smart to miss it, but his smile never wavered. No need for that. Why do you smell so good? Susie's body went stiff, her heart pounding. I used a lily and sandalwood body wash. If you like it, I can give you one. Fu Nanching gently stroked her face. Sure, give me one. Looks like we like the same things. Susie pressed her hands against his firm chest. And Mr. Fu, please have some self-control. He sounded like he was teasing her. My secretary told me you called, said Mr. Fu once, then hung up. When I called back, you didn't answer. What happened? Susie's pale face instantly flushed bright red. She didn't say a word. Fu Nanching grabbed her chin, forcing her to look up at him. Did Song Shilin give you trouble? The tall, gorgeous vice president was so good at playing the hero, and now he was here to collect his reward from the damsel in distress. Susie had logged into her alt account, refusing to sleep with him, but she didn't expect the billionaire CEO to realize she was the same girl. He even wanted her to send a voice note calling him husband. It hadn't felt that weird before, but his question now made her eyes turn red. Song Xiling said I came on to you that I'm not good enough for you. Who the hell does he think he is? And who came on to who? Fu Nanching stared at her watery red-rimmed eyes, her pupils shimmering. That broken look just did something to him, making his prominent Adam's apple bob. He tried to console her, half joking. His thumb moved from her neck to her bright red lips. I know he wronged you. Now that I'm back, I'll go beat him up right now. Would that make you feel better? Susie struggled to push him away, her brow furrowed in distress. Let go of me! Fu Nanching's lips just curled up as he pressed her even closer. Susie, I helped you. Shouldn't you pay me back? The impossibly handsome man was practically radiating charm. What do you think? What could you possibly use to repay me? Susie's face felt like it was on fire. I don't know. His gaze dropped to her lips, staring hard. Then let me give you a hint. The next second, his tall, lean body was pressing in, moving toward her red lips. Oh my God, was he going to kiss her? But she turned her head away just in time. He took the watch off his wrist as his deep voice rumbled, right above her head. You thought I was going to kiss you. So he wasn't. She had totally misread the situation. She wished a hole would open up and swallow her. Fu Nanching stepped past her, turning on the faucet behind her. He washed his hands while she just stood there feeling super awkward. If he wanted to wash his hands, fine, but did he have to box her in like this? After a moment, he finally shut off the water and smiled. So how are you going to repay me? Figure it out yourself, Susie muttered, raking a hand through her hair. This was beyond infuriating. Then Fu Nanching just turned and left. Meanwhile, Song Shilin was sitting in a fancy private room, still looking totally bummed. That girl from the sticks had actually put up a fight, and he was still aching from it. Someone asked, Yo, young Master Song, what's wrong? Who got you so pissed? He was in a terrible mood. Mind your own business. Then he glanced at his guy. Go check if that girl knows her place. If she dares to stay in your city, you will... Before he could finish, bam, the door to the luxury suite was kicked open. Song Shilin was about to yell, who the hell dares? But the next second he froze, because Fu Nanching was walking in. He shot to his feet. Second brother, you didn't tell me you were back early? Fu Nanching ignored everyone else. He just strode right up to Song Shilin, and then he raised his hand. A split second later, his fist slammed hard into him with a loud crack. Song Shilin collapsed onto the nearby sofa, seeing stars. Second brother, what are you doing? Fu Nanching's throat let out a terrifying growl. Who told you to mess with Susie? That country girl. His second brother actually punched him for that, nobody. Fu Nanching's handsome jaw was tight as he warned. Remember this! She's mine! Don't you dare touch her! He slumped to the ground, trembling with fear, not daring to say another word. Fu Nanching turned and strode away. Susie was still at the hospital with her grandmother. When Sushi called asking her to go keep Fu Nanching company, another substitute gig, to be with Fu Nanching now it would be for real, Susie immediately said no. I can't, I need to stay and take care of my grandmother. Then log into my WeChat and tell him yourself. The password is my birthday. Susie had to agree. Otherwise, she'd never find out where the jade pendant was. Sushi hung up immediately. Susie quickly logged in. Sushi had saved his contact as my hubby. It was so cheesy it made her sick. Susie carefully typed out hubby. Sushi always started with a cutesy nickname. If she didn't do the same, he'd know it wasn't Sushi. This was so unbelievably embarrassing. Fu Nanching was in a meeting when his phone pinged a few times. He checked it and saw messages from Sushi. Hubby, I have to stay home with my mom tonight, so I can't come. He replied instantly. So my wife is ditching me, Mrs. Fu. How long has it been since we've been together? Susie's face turned beet red. She knew exactly what he was implying. She could only force to text back, babe, can we rain check? He totally knew it was Susie. He shot back a text like, send me a voice note, call me hubby, babe. OMG, he seriously wanted a voice note of her calling him husband. Thinking about how sickeningly sweet Sushi sounded saying, hubby. Susie totally cringed. Like, how could she even do that? feigning texted again. Or you could just come hang out with me. Oh, fine. She hit the record button. She whispered husband into the mic, her voice all soft and breathy. Fu Nanching played the voice note, and her soft little husband was like music to his ears. He actually cracked a smile. But the office was dead silent, so a bunch of his execs totally heard it. Everyone just froze. What did they just hear coming from the CEO's phone? Was some girl really calling him husband? The CEO was getting called husband? OMG, Fu. Nanching realized everyone heard the voice note too. He turned and shot them all a death glare. The execs grabbed their stuff and bolted. Sir, we heard nothing. We're just gonna go work now. Secretary Song asked. Sir, about the Foser party tomorrow. Should we send an invite to Miss Sue? Feigning knew her vibe. Nah, don't bother. She'd probably bail anyway. Then he got an idea. Actually, I know how to get her there. So the big shot CEO actually invited this girl to the Foser gala. The crazy part? Everyone else needed an invite, but she was on the VIP list, no card needed. Susie was at the hospital with her grandma carefully tucking her in. Just then her phone buzzed. It was Fu Nanching calling. Why was he calling her now? Susie picked up, hello. His deep, smooth voice came through the phone. I left my watch at your place. Bring it to me, now. I'm sending you the address for the gala. Seriously. Not sooner, not later, but right in the middle of the Foser gala. He just said, I'll be waiting, and hung up. Susie checked on her grandma one last time, let out a huge sigh, and headed out of the hospital. 30 minutes later, she's outside this insane ballroom. The legendary, super mysterious head of the Fu family was supposed to make an appearance in East City tonight. Basically, every rich girl and socialite was there. The whole vibe was super glam and extra. Then this bougie car pulls up and out steps Sue. Flash, flash, the paparazzi went totally nuts snapping pics. Tonight, Sue was rocking a designer black dress. The neckline was super low, showing off everything. She looked drop-dead gorgeous and was totally turning heads. Of course she's Foser's model, those legs are insane, people were saying. Hearing all the hype, Suwe was totally eating it up. Old Mrs. Sue squeezed her hand, all proud. Wayner, you're going places, and Grandma is 100% behind you. As her fam was about to go in, Sue spotted someone she knew. She was shook. Susie was here. How did she even get here? Sue stomped right over to her, all aggressive. Susie, what are you even doing here? Susie just looked at her cousin with those big eyes and was like, I'm just here for something, cousin. Sue just laughed in her face. What's something? The Foser Gala isn't for randoms. You got an invite. Sue flaunted her fancy gold invitation card. Susie just shook her head. Nope, I don't. Chun-Lin jumped in, trying to shoo her away. Of course she doesn't. She's a total nobody. Susie, get lost. Don't you dare ruin your cousin's big night. Susie didn't budge, so Chun-Lin started yelling, security over here. A couple of huge security guards came over. Who's making a scene? Chun-Lin pointed right at Susie. It's her. She doesn't have an invite, but she's trying to crash the party. She's totally lowering the class of this whole event. The guard looked Susie up and down. Ma'am, I need to see your invitation. Susie shook her head. I don't have one. Someone told me to come. Sue sneered. Who that old bald dude you were shacked up with in that hotel? This is the Foser Gala. What kind of pull does he think he has? Old bald dude. Sue was seriously obsessed with saying that. Susie just hoped she wouldn't say it in front of Fu Nanching. Otherwise, he'd probably want to have a little chat with her. Susie gave a little wink. Like I said, cousin, someone asked me to be here. Who it is, that's a secret. Sue was so over it and just screamed, I don't care who, just get out of here. Stop making a fool of yourself. But then a voice cut through the drama. Who thinks they can tell Miss Sue to leave? Sue looked up and saw Secretary Song walking over with a crew. He walked right up to Susie and said super politely, Miss Sue, right this way. I'll show you in. Susie just nodded. Okay. Chun-Lin freaked out. Wait a minute. She doesn't have an invitation. How is she getting in? Secretary Song just gave them a look. Miss Sue is a VIP tonight. You guys need invites. She doesn't. As she walked away, Susie glanced back at them with her gorgeous eyes. She gave them an innocent little wave and a smile like bye-bye. Chun-Lin totally lost it. Wayner, she got in without an invite. Who the heck is that old bald guy? Sue was freaking out too. Mom, just drop it. I prepped so hard for tonight to meet the head of the Fu family. We can't let this little thing mess it up. Old Mrs. Sue nodded right away. Wayner's right. Let's focus on what's important. With a face like that, you think she could ever get the Fu family leader's attention? Sujun laughed. If Susie could actually land the head of the Fu family, I'd start calling her grandma. Meanwhile, Susie was led to a back area of the Song Hotel. She didn't see Fu Nanching, so she asked Secretary Song, Where's your boss? He smiled a little. Miss Sue, the CEO is busy with the gala right now. He'll be here later. Susie held out the watch to him. Look, I just came to drop this off. I don't want to go to the party. Since he's not here, can you just give it to him? He immediately shook his head. Oh, I can't do that, Miss Sue. Please go get ready first. You can give it to the CEO yourself during the gala. And with that, he totally rushed off. Susie just stood there looking around. Looking around like, did she ** really * need a full glam squad and a new outfit? Then the makeup artist was all, "Miss Sue, you're up first." She totally shrunk, feeling like a deer in headlights with zero clue what was going on. So at the Foser Gala auction, this totally random maid drops a crazy high bid. And just like that, she scores the first dance with the billionaire CEO. A bunch of wannabes. We're all up in Sue's space, totally green with envy. Sue just smirked, loving it. I mean, her family dropped a fortune for her to get into this Foser thing, even scoring her this insane designer dress. And then another guy walks up. "Hey, Miss Sue, can I get your socials?" He was like the 10th guy to ask for her info tonight. Sue couldn't be less interested, so she gave him a polite, "No thanks." But OMG, her ego was loving it. Then some other girl scooted up to her, totally buzzing. "So do you think the head of the Fu family is gonna ask you for the first dance?" Sue's eyes totally lit up, but she played it cool, waving her hand like, "No way, you guys. I'm just Foser Jewelry's spokesperson. You know, I've never even met the guy. He'll totally pick someone way more important." But then the whole room started buzzing. Someone was like, "Who is asterisk that asterisk? I've never seen her. Whose family is she from? She's like drop-dead gorgeous." Sue spun around and saw this girl who looked like she stepped out of a fairy tale. The second she walked in, every single eye was on her, and everyone else just faded into the background. Tonight, Susie had rocked this amazing princess updo with her long red hair looking like a total smoke show. Sue shook her eyes, bugging out. She just knew that bald dude must have set this all up. Even old Mrs. Sue and Chunlian were floored. The custom-made dress Susie was wearing was even more bougé than Sue's. But when Susie turned her head, you could totally see a scar on her face. The whispering started up again. "OMG, why does she have a huge scar on her face? Such a waste." Old Mrs. Sue was getting all worked up, muttering, "What a shame, what a shame. If it wasn't for that scar, just imagine how much she could do for the Sue family." Then she told Sue, "Listen during the charity auction later, don't even stress. With our family's backing, Fu Nanching will definitely ask whoever wins the bid to dance." After hearing that from old Mrs. Sue, Sue felt way better. As long as Susie had that scar, she'd never be a threat in the Sue family. Sue knew she was going to win this. Meanwhile, Susie was munching on dessert, thinking this was all so extra. Even with the fake scar, people wouldn't leave her alone. She was just wondering when Fu Nanching would finally show up. All of a sudden, the whole room went wild. "Look, the CEO's here!" When this tall, intense guy appeared in the doorway, the room went dead silent. The crowd literally parted like the Red Sea for him. He walked in like he owned the place. Susie was hiding in a corner just staring at him, along with literally everyone else at him, the guy who was the center of attention under the lights. She found herself completely unable to look away. Then she felt his gaze sweep over and it just kind of landed on her. Susie immediately looked down. He was dressed so sharp, giving off this majorly cool, untouchable vibe. It was insane. His whole powerful CEO energy made every girl in the room blush. This feigning guy was even more next level than she had ever imagined. Asterisk. "He has to be mine, asterisk," Sue thought. Just when Susie was about to give the watch back, she heard the host's voice boom over the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, the Fu Corporation Charity Gala is officially underway. Our first item up for auction comes from our very own CEO. It's a crown a foreign queen wore when she was young. It was in a private collection until his mom got it. The crown itself is priceless. Enough, but get this. The winner also gets to dance with the man of the hour, our CEO. How hyped are you? The bidding starts at 5 million. Just raise your hand to bid. Each bid has to go up by at least 500,000. The room's energy just exploded. Everyone was super into it. 5.5 million, 6 million, 7 million Sue. I knew this was her moment. She shot her hand up 7.5 million. As she was about to win, her heart was racing. The first dance was totally going to be hers. Did he fall for her the second he saw her? And then another voice cut through the noise. 100 million? Everyone whipped their heads around to see who it was. They saw Susie. It was so not fair. She was literally just standing there, not moving or anything. She had zero plans to fight for feigning, but then some girl next to her suddenly yelled, 100 million! And then shoved her arm up and took off, so everyone thought asterisk she asterisk made the bid. The host slammed the gavel down. 100 million going once, going twice sold. Susie was about to explain what happened, but they were already calling her up to the stage. Susie looked at Fu Nanching's ridiculously handsome face as he stood there all tall and perfect. All the city's VIPs were behind him, staring right at her. Their eyes locked and Susie's stomach did a backflip. She figured she could still explain everything, but he cut her off, his voice super low. "Care to dance with me?" Fu Nanching did this whole gentlemanly bow and held out his hand to her. Sue watched this whole scene and her jaw almost hit the floor. That first dance with Fu Nanching was supposed to be asterisk hers asterisk, but then Susie just shows up and bids 100 million. 100 million from that girl from the stick. Sue was not having it. "Are you kidding me? There's no way you have 100 million to bid." Chunlian, getting the signal from her daughter, jumped up. "Susie, you just got here from the middle of nowhere. You probably can't even scrape together 10,000, let alone 100 million. You're a total fake." The crowd started whispering, "Isn't that the weird girl the Sues took and broke, but pulling this kind of stunt? So desperate for attention. I mean, she's from the country. She's probably never been to a party like this and just wants everyone to look at her." Suwe saw her chance and stormed the stage, reaching for Susie. Susie, get down here with me! But she couldn't even touch her because Fu Nanching moved right in front of Susie, blocking her. Suwe yanked her hand back, totally scared, her heart hammering. Feigning leaned down a little, he held out his hand again, asking her for another dance. Susie was totally shook, feeling her face get hot, but her hand just moved on its own. Suwe started freaking out, shouting, Mr. CEO, I'm not lying to you. She's making a total joke out of this charity. She is so not worthy of dancing with you. Susie was just honest, sir, I'm broke. Fu Nanching's lips curved into a slow smile. That doesn't matter. Just tell me one thing. Do you want to dance with me? The super tall, hot CEO actually paid a crazy amount of money just to ask the maid for a romantic dance, and then in front of everyone, he passionately kissed Susie. Susie just shook her head, saying, for real, sir, I'll say it again, I have no money. Everyone just burst out laughing and started making fun of her. She's broke, she didn't bid a thing, haha, poor. Girls probably watched too many rom-coms, dreaming the CEO would actually fall for her. Don't make me laugh. Fu Nanching's lips curved up again as he said 3 little words. Little poor thing. Susie was speechless. That $100 million bid wasn't even hers. She was actually broke. Then Fu Nanching spoke again. I'm just asking if you want to. Susie didn't answer, which he totally took as a yes. The whole crowd was stunned and nobody was laughing anymore. What was even happening? The CEO was actually into that asterisk girl. Did they know each other? Wasn't she from the middle of nowhere? How could she possibly know? The CEO, Fu Nanching, raised an eyebrow and said like it was no big deal. Since you don't have any money, I'll pay the $100 million for you. Secretary Song immediately wrote out a check and tossed it in the box. The host's voice got all excited. The CEO has donated $100 million to charity in Miss Sue's name. Let's give them a round of applause. Fu Nanching looked at the girl in front of him, slowly lifting his chin, looking pretty proud, and saying, little poor thing, what are you spacing out for? Hurry up and ask me to dance. Susie's small frame was literally shaking with panic. He just dropped $100 million just like that, all to dance with her. Now with everyone staring, she couldn't even think about running. Her fingers nervously fiddled with the hem of her dress. Susie awkwardly tried to copy a gentleman, putting one hand behind her back and holding the other out to him. Mr. CEO, may I have this dance? Fu Nanching placed his strong hand in hers. Yes. Susie took his large hand, and they walked to the center of the dance floor. Just then, this amazing music started playing. Fu Nanching put one arm around her tiny waist, pulling her in super close. Everything happening tonight was just way too much, way too fast. Susie thought for a second, then explained, even though you totally saved me back there, that $100 million wasn't my bid. Fu Nanching just smiled. Whether it was you or not, everyone here tonight saw you spend a fortune just to dance with me. Susie relaxed into his lead, letting him guide her. She was speechless. Wasn't asterisk the one who spent a fortune? She looked at Fu Nanching, totally sincere. Sir, thank you for what you did tonight and for helping my grandma. The next second, he kissed her. If you really want to thank me, you can try some different ways next time. Suwe was absolutely fuming after planning for so many days. Susie was the one who ended up getting the prize. Why him? At that moment, the music hit its big finale. Fu Nanching gently guided her into a spin, and Susie twirled a few times. Her gorgeous rose dress just floated in the air. A second later, he caught her by the waist and pulled her back in. He whispered, Susie, you look beautiful tonight. The dance ended. The applause was like thunder. Charlene immediately jumped up, yelling, don't be fooled by her. I know you're not supposed to air your family's dirty laundry, but I'm scared you'll all get tricked. I have to expose Susie's disgusting secrets. Susie looked at her aunt, pretty much knowing what she was about to say. She tried to warn her, Auntie, I'm telling you, some things are better left unsaid. She said it anyway. What were you doing at Songs Club last Friday night? Weren't you in a room with some bald old guy? It's 100% true. We have pictures. We've obviously failed to raise our niece right. Secretary Song's mind clicked, and he froze. Wait, wasn't Miss Sue with their CEO that night? Oh, this was about to get interesting. They actually dared to call their CEO a bald old man. Their boss had a great head of hair. How could they even say that? And yet Fu Nanching's sharp, cold eyes shot right at them. Suwe had a smug I told you so look on her face. She smirked at Susie, basically saying, you're so done. Fu Nanching's lips barely moved. First off, I don't want to see these people ever again. Throw them all out. After he said that, he turned to leave. Suwe couldn't believe what she was hearing. Why weren't they kicking Susie out? Why then, Mr. CEO, what my parents said is true? I'm the spokesperson for Foster Jewelry. I'm supposed to model the jewelry later. Fu Nanching stopped. You just reminded me. The spokesperson is spreading rumors and hurting Foster's reputation. Pay the penalty for breaking the contract because it's officially terminated. Suwe tried to argue, but security was already dragging her away, and they were not being gentle. Outside, they literally threw her on the ground. Tonight, Suwe was wearing a black dress with a crazy high slit. When she fell, she couldn't cover herself up. It immediately got the attention of people walking by. A bunch of guys were giving her gross looks, pointing and saying, whoa, look at that woman. Suwe quickly tried to cover her chest, gritting her teeth. This shouldn't be happening. Susie should be the one getting thrown out. Why was it her? Just then Madame Sue's angry voice boomed. What is going on here? Sue's eyes filled with tears as she looked up pitifully. Grandmother, I don't. No! Madame Sue's hand flew up and she slapped her hard. You don't know. And you used it as proof. I thought you were the one with the most promise in this family. I've poured everything into you. How could you be so dumb? Sue's left cheek was flaming red from the hit. She gritted her teeth full of hate. Susie, you and I are so not done. Susie suddenly let out a huge yawn. Who was talking trash about her now? End of chapter 15. Didn't stick around, just bolted for the bathroom. Right then, Ding Ying's phone buzzed a new WeChat message. He opened it up and realized he'd totally forgotten to log out of Sushi's account. The text was from Fu Nanching, and the simple familiar words made his heart pound in his chest. Come hang out with me tonight. If you don't show, you can kiss your dreams of being a rich wife goodbye. For the jade pendant he had to go there was no other choice. He took a deep breath and typed back calmly. Babe, why are you being so mean? I'm on my way. Ugh, typing that gave him the creeps. This billionaire CEO was such a total flirt, making the poor maid blush, and even giving her a crazy expensive diamond necklace. Sushi had already gotten the 3 peach blossom birthmarks tattooed on. She officially let Susie know that her job as a stand-in was officially over. Late that night, Fu Nanching slipped into the room. He saw Susie was already fast asleep. He leaned in, his soft, cool lips brushing against her cheek. He was kissing her when he saw her eyes flutter open. His voice was husky. You're awake, you fell asleep without waiting up for me. As he talked, he leaned in to kiss her again. Susie totally freaked at how close he was and blurted out, Wait, let's just talk first. Fu Nanching looked down at the girl, so effortlessly beautiful, delicate, and cute. Talk about what you think I'm like 3. And like the next second, she bolted for the bathroom. Fu Nanching just chilled on the bed. A few minutes went by. He rolled onto his side, a smirk on his face. Ah, she's just being shy. When Susie came out, Fu Nanching called to her. Come over here. Let me dry your hair. Susie walked over and sat down like she was supposed to. He grabbed the hairdryer and got to work. But for some reason, Susie felt this weird pit in her stomach. Is this how he always was with Sushu? Just then he pulled out something and draped it around her neck. Susie looked down and saw a diamond necklace. She asked him what it was. He whispered, I saw this when I was traveling and it just screamed you. Why are you so into giving me presents? Hearing that, Fu Nanching gave her this super warm smile. If you like it, does that mean you'd want to stay with me forever? Susie's heart literally skipped a beat. She dodged the question fast. Are you hungry? I can go downstairs and whip up some noodles. In the kitchen, Susie was standing at the counter with a fresh bowl of noodles. He snuck up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. Mrs. Fu, I had no idea you were such a good cook. Susie told him to back off or the noodles would get cold. Fu Nanching just nuzzled into her hair, kissing her neck a few times. Nope, I want dessert first. Susie's face went bright red and her fingers snatched a tiny cherry tomato and shoved it in his mouth, basically saying, eat this and shut up. Fu Nanching just raised an eyebrow. You should try how sour it is too. What are you talking about, sour? I just had one, it was super sweet. And just like that, he leaned in and kissed her. Susie could taste the sweet cherry tomato he passed to her. It was so sweet. The sugary juice just exploded in their mouths like a total happiness. Rush. So addictive. He totally played her, that liar. She was all flushed and out of breath. No, we can't do this here. Ever since Fu Nanching got back from his business trip, he'd been extra intense. Call me husband, I want to hear. Susie was so overwhelmed she was about to cry. Her legs were shaking and her voice was just a whisper. She softly called him husband. Fu Nanching scooped her up into his arms. Their eyes locked and the vibe was just electric. He smirked. Let's go, Mrs. Fu. We can eat later. The next morning, Susie felt like she was glued to the bed. She was woken up by her phone buzzing. Someone was calling. She shot up wide awake. But just as she reached for it, the arm around her waist tightened, pulling her back into his arms. Fu Nanching mumbled without even opening his eyes. Just ignore it. Stay here and sleep a little longer with me. Susie turned to face him, trying to calm him down. You go back to sleep. What if it's something really important? Fu Nanching was already passed out again. Susie grabbed her phone, slipped out of bed, and went to the bathroom. The second she answered, Sushu's voice exploded from the phone. Susie, what took you so long to pick up? What were you doing with my husband? Susie's voice was ice cold. Sleeping. Why are you even asking when you already know the answer? You could feel Sushu's rage, but then she just laughed. Susie, I'm just calling to let you know your little stand-in gig is over. Figure out a time to switch back with me and make it soon. Susie totally froze. I'll get back to you. With pleasure. After saying that, she hung up. Susie was shaking. This was supposed to be amazing news. She was finally done with this whole fake identity thing, but for some reason she didn't feel happy. At all. She had no idea why she wasn't thrilled. Isn't this what she wanted the whole time, to be free of this mission? This whole mess started when the billionaire CEO and the little maid switched places with Sushu. A cold dread washed over Susie as she walked back into the room. Fu Nanching asked who was on the phone. She had to lie. It was my mom. Fu Nanching gave her a look. Oh, was it now? She felt so guilty she couldn't even look at him. Susie went over, standing on her tiptoes to fix Fu Nanching's tie. She'd never done it before, so her fingers were super clumsy. Fu Nanching chuckled. He gently put his hands over hers. Never tied one of these before. Here, let me show you. Fu Nanching held her, hands guiding her step by step. You can practice today. From now on, you're in charge of my tie. Would there even be a from now on for them? Nope. Just then, Fu Nanching suddenly said, Are you free tonight? You want to go on a date? Susie's heart did a backflip. Finally, she just nodded. Later in the president's office at Fu Corporation, Fu Nanching was sitting in his chair, not even looking at the papers. Same old. He pulled up the guy's group chat and fired off a message. Yo, where's a good spot to take a girl on a date? Right then, someone knocked on the door. It was Secretary Song reporting in a low voice. Sir, Miss Sue. So she got the fake birthmark and is showing up tonight. Fu Nanching's lips twisted into a smirk. This was getting good. He said casually, Tonight, huh? You think they're really gonna pull the switch and let Susie walk? On our date. Secretary Song was practically dripping sweat. I'm not sure, sir. Then go find out. Keep tabs on Suwe's every move. Fu Nanching cut him off. We'll just have to see what happens tonight. The group chat totally blew up. Song Ziling fired off a text. Wait, you're actually going on a date, bro. Sean jumped in. Nanching for real. You're getting serious with Susie. But deep down, he was giving her this one last chance, hoping she'd just come clean about this whole fake identity game. Because if he had to expose her himself, it was gonna get ugly. That night, Fu Nanching showed up to take her on their date. Susie asked, So where are we going? He just tilted his head, showing her they were already there. Susie's eyes went wide. They were parked in front of a huge, glittering amusement park. Fu Nanching, looking like a total model, came around and leaned down. Never been here before. Fireworks, carousels, a Ferris wheel. I heard girls are into this stuff. His hand reached for hers. The moment he laced his fingers through hers, her heart did a complete flip. Let's go. No one had ever taken her to a place like this. Fu Nanching was the first. Susie was ready to follow him anywhere, but then her phone started buzzing in her bag. Of course it was Suwe. Fu Nanching felt her stop and turned back, his brow furrowed. What's up? She forced a sweet smile. I'm suddenly craving ice cream, could you get me some? Fu Nanching glanced down at their tangled hands. We can go together. She had to think fast. Ugh, my legs are killing me, I can't walk another step. Fu Nanching raised his hand and gently patted her head. Tonight is our date. Just you and me, got it. Susie's head snapped up, her wide eyes locking with his. Why would he say that all of a sudden? Did he know? Seeing the guilt flash across her face, Fu Nanching's gaze turned unreadable. It's nothing. I'll go get your ice cream. The second he was gone, Susie snatched up the phone. Susie, what took you so long? Don't tell me you're backing out of the switch. Susie gripped her phone, her knuckles white. Just cut the crap, I'm at the main gate. If we're doing this, let's get it over with. A few minutes later, Fu Nanching came back with the ice cream, but the girl waiting for him was now Suwe. Fu Nanching's eyes went dark in an instant, his hand crushing the cone. Suwe ran up to him all bubbly. Honey, you're back, and you'll never guess who I just saw. Susie and young Master Fuyu are here on a date too. As Suwe lunged for a hug, Fu Nanching smoothly sidestepped her. She couldn't stop, and with a yelp, she totally face-planted on the pavement. Fuyu walked up, laughing his head off. Whoa, little Annie, you good? Susie was just standing there next to Fuyu, frozen. She had no idea he was going to be here, and since he still had dirt on her, she was stuck. Fuyu's eyes landed on the ice cream in Fu Nanching's hand, his jaw dropping. No way. My uncle actually bought ice cream for a girl. Cece, hold on, I'll get you one too. Before Susie could even say no, Fuyu was gone. Susie just giggled. Honey, should we head in? Let's not get in the way of their date. Fu Nanching's gaze was locked on Susie, totally glacial. So she hadn't dumped his nephew yet. The ridiculously hot CEO was about to blow this whole fake girlfriend thing wide open. In the next second, his expression was lethal. Susie laughed. Honey, they're totally in the honeymoon phase. Why would they break up? Who knows, maybe Susie will be our new sister-in-law soon. He completely ignored Sue, his lips curling into a smirk at Susie. A backstabbing little user. Then he chucked the ice cream on the ground. Susie just stood there, completely stunned, wondering what else he expected from her. No matter what she did, it would never be enough. Just then, Fuyu ran back with ice cream. Cece, I got it, come on, let's go inside. I'll be your date tonight. She just numbly nodded. Okay. But then Fu Nanching strode over and grabbed his arm. It's getting dark. You still want to play games, Fuyu? Your dad's looking for you, Fuyu mumbled. But I wanted to. Fu Nanching cut him off, his voice like pure ice. You wanted what? Fuyu looked totally crushed as he handed the ice cream to Susie. Sorry, Cece, I gotta go home. Can't hang out tonight. As he walked away, Fu Nanching started to leave too. We're leaving. We're getting a hotel for the night. Sue scrambled after him. Honey, aren't we going inside? She was just so confused. What was even happening? He was the one who wanted this date. Whatever. It wasn't her problem anymore. But just as she turned to walk away, Fu Nanching blocked her path. And where do you think you're going? Do I need to send you a formal invitation? The three of them ended up at some fancy duplex hotel. The manager rushed out to meet them. Mr. Fu, how many rooms should I prepare? Suwe jumped in immediately. Honey, we'll just take one room. Fu Nanching didn't even argue. He was actually agreeing to share a room with Suwe. She shot Susie a smug look, but he didn't say a word, just stalked toward the elevator. Suwe hurried after him. Honey, wait up. Later in their room, Suwe took a shower and came out in some seriously skimpy lingerie, letting one of the straps fall off her shoulder as she tried to slink into bed. Honey, let's turn in early. But that night, he just chain-smoked by the window. Out of nowhere, he asked, So where's my surprise? Suwe was totally lost. Surprise, Fu Nanching slowly turned, his eyes glinting through the haze of smoke. His eyes narrowed. Didn't you tell me you had a surprise for me tonight? Meanwhile, in her room, Susie had just gotten out of the shower and was drying her hair when suddenly there was a loud banging on her door. When she opened it, Suwe barged right in. Susie, what's this surprise you planned for my husband? Why wouldn't you tell me something so important? Susie's brow furrowed. She hadn't said a thing about a surprise to Fu Nanching. Just then, a tall, imposing figure filled the doorway. Susie saw Fu Nanching standing there, but Suwe's back was to the door, so she had no clue. She just kept going. You did this on purpose, didn't you? You wanted my husband to find out it was you with him this whole time. You're tired of being the stand-in and you're dreaming of being Mrs. Fu. That's when he cut Suwe off. That's enough. Susha, shut up. That's when Susha realized something was seriously wrong. She spun around and saw Fu Nanching standing in the doorway. Susha totally freaked. Babe, what are you doing here? Fu Nanching walked in, clapping slowly. His hands. If I hadn't dropped by, I would have missed this whole juicy story. A stand-in, huh? Suwe stumbled backward, her whole body shaking as she tried to explain. Babe, let me explain, it's not what you think. Fu Nanching lifted a hand and two bodyguards walked in. They grabbed Suwe by both arms and started dragging her out. She screamed, What are you doing, honey? Just listen to me, let go of me. Susie watched, her heart pounding as the man walked toward her. His gorgeous face was tight and cold, his eyes locked on her like a weapon as he closed the distance one step at a time. What was Fu Nanching about to do, and why wasn't he surprised at all? Susie kept backing up until her knees bumped the edge of the bed. She lost her balance and collapsed onto it. Fu Nanching stopped right in front of her, his tall frame leaning over, planting his hands on either side of her, trapping her. His intense mocking vibe was suffocating. So should I call you Susie? Or should I say Susha? Susie's voice trembled. You knew this whole time. Fu Nanching stared down at her, his dark eyes glinting with amusement. And what if I did? Susie's eyes went wide with shock. You knew and you still? A slow, cruel smile spread across Fu Nanching's lips. Wasn't it fun to play along for a while? Susie felt an icy chill shoot through her chest as all the color drained from her face. Move! Fu Nanching pulled out his phone and shoved it in her face. This was your voice message. I told you to get lost, but you showed up anyway, throwing yourself all over me, calling me your husband. So what's with the innocent act now? Susie's humiliation hit its peak. So you knew everything, you did all of that just to mess with me, to make a fool out of me? He let out a dark chuckle. Oh, that's rich coming from you. Hilarious. Susie cut him off, her voice like ice. Don't you touch me, Fu Nanching, I hate you. Hearing I hate you. Fu Nanching's eyes went dark. He slammed her back onto the bed, a twisted smile on his face. You hate me and you don't want me to touch you? Then who do you want? Touching you, Fuyu? The next second, he crashed his lips against hers. Guess he wasn't cutting it for you, so you couldn't wait to crawl into his uncle's bed. After forever, Susie finally gasped for air, her voice breaking, with sobs. Fu Nanching, you're a monster, I hate you. Fu Nanching's hands shot from her face down to the buttons of her shirt. Hate me all you want. See if I care. He grabbed her chin, that awful smile still on his face. What, you're playing the victim now? You're the one who got into bed with me pretending to be my rich fiancé. You came onto me first. Suddenly, a phone started ringing. His phone. Fu Nanching grabbed it. He glanced at the screen. It showed just one name, Fuyu. He held the phone out for Susie to see. It's Fuyu. What do you think would happen if I told him his girlfriend is a total liar who sneaks into my room at night to get with me? Who do you think he'd believe? It was all a lie. He was just a billionaire CEO, furious that some nobody had tricked him into a one-night stand. It was over. And just like that, Fu Nanching finally understood the deal with the jade pendant. The person he was supposed to marry 2 years ago was the real top perfumer. The phone just kept buzzing. Fu Nanching smirked. You'd better answer that. Unless you want him showing up here, or maybe you're into that kind of drama. Susie snatched the phone and answered. Fuyu's voice was immediate. Susie, hey, something's weird. My dad doesn't actually have any meetings tonight. Where are you? I can bring you a late-night snack. She fought back tears, her voice shaky. No, it's okay, I'm not hungry. Fu Nanching watched her, his eyes drifting over her messed-up clothes. Then his hand suddenly slid up her thigh. Susie flinched hard and cried out. Fuyu's voice filled with concern. Susie, what was that? Is your voice okay? Are you sick? Susie whispered. I'm fine, just really tired. He sounded relieved. Oh, okay. Then I won't bother you. I'll bring you breakfast tomorrow morning. Fu Nanching leaned in close and whispered, Is that how you talk to my nephew? If I hadn't been here tonight, you two would have hooked up right. Susie had hit her breaking point. She used the moment to slap him hard right across the face. The force of it snapped Fu Nanching's head to the side. When he turned back, his eyes were burning with rage. Then he smashed his mouth onto hers again. Fu Nanching's grip on her wrists was like steel. She cursed, Fu Nanching, get off. But this time he was genuinely furious, his hands yanking at her collar. She was telling him to leave. After all the money, time, and energy he'd wasted on this little game with her, this is how she repays him, by tossing him aside for Fuyu. What an ungrateful user, Susie fought back, her nails digging into his skin wherever she could reach. Quit scratching me. Later, Fu Nanching was leaning casually against the headboard. His chest was bare, and you could see the angry red scratches she'd left all over his chest and back. He grabbed a cigarette from the nightstand and lit it. His voice was still rough when he spoke. Handle it yourself. Don't even think about having my kid. The girl on the bed just lay there with her eyes squeezed shut, not moving a muscle. He got up and started to get dressed, all cool and composed, pulling on his pants and shirt. I'm not gonna say it a third time. Break up with Fuyu. If I ever see you two together again, I'll... He let the threat hang in the air. The person on the bed just pulled the blanket up, hiding her ghostly pale face. Fu Nanching let out a cold scoff, his expression pure ice. It was only after the door clicked shut that Susie finally moved. She curled into a ball, her eyes puffy and swollen, from crying just thinking it was all finally over. Fu Nanching, she whispered to the empty room, I owe you nothing. Late that night, Fu Nanching was back in the CEO's office, heading into his private restroom. He tossed his suit jacket aside and collapsed onto the bed. The group chat was blowing up his phone. He picked it up and gave a bitter laugh. Song Xiling was asking how the big first date at the amusement park went. He had actually been excited to go. Buy Susie some ice cream. The girl at the counter asked, Sir, is this for your girlfriend? He just said 2 words, not yet. Fu Nanching figured she'd probably like strawberry, but when he got back, he saw Sushu had shown up and Susie was hanging out with Fuyu. A hot flash of anger shot through him. Seriously, she'd ditch him for another guy. Susie was unbelievable. And of course, Sushu was there just stirring the pot, saying Susie came on a date with the young Master Fu. When Fu Nanching heard that, he squeezed the ice cream so hard he nearly crushed it. In the group chat, Fu Nanching fired back one message. No, she has a boyfriend. They're still together. The chat immediately blew up. Fu Nanching put his phone down and closed his eyes. He could still smell her perfume on him. It was impossible to shake. The next morning, Secretary Song knocked on the CEO's office door. Coming in, he reported in a low voice, Sir, we got in touch with the old madam in the capital. She said the marriage arrangement with the Su family 2 years ago was all for the family's jade pendant. Fu Nanching asked, What jade pendant? Secretary Song handed a jade pendant to Fu Nanching. This one. Fu Nanching sat back in his office chair. He stared at the pendant, and it suddenly looked really familiar. Wait, isn't this the jade pendant? That pink the top perfumer at CC always wears. There's no way Susie is pink, Secretary Song replied. You're right, sir. Susie definitely can't make perfumes. The person you were actually supposed to marry 2 years ago could very well be the top perfumer Pink. After all these years of her being a mystery, who would have guessed this was the connection? Turns out Pink doesn't just do perfumes. She's also in pharmaceuticals with connections to major medical companies. He lowered his eyes. The old madam's point is that you have to find the real owner of the jade pendant. Fu Nanching looked at Secretary Song. Why is she so obsessed with this? The old madam didn't spell it out, but she kept stressing that whoever owns the pendant is supposed to be your future wife. You have to find your real bride. Fu Nanching just went silent, his lips pressed into a thin line. Like, what was that supposed to mean? That the quiet maid was actually the legendary perfumer Pink. The whole game was up. It was over. But his grandma in the capital was demanding he find his actual bride. He asked, totally lost, so what now? And what about Susie? She's swearing up and down that the pendant isn't hers. We grilled her about King and she honestly looked clueless. It didn't seem like she was faking it. A shadow crossed over Fu Nanching's face. Get someone to keep Susie busy. I'm sure she's hiding something. Just then Song Xiling burst in, practically vibrating with gossip. Bro, what is the real story between you and Susie? Fu Nanching just blankly toyed with the jade pendant. Don't even say her name to me again. We're done. So Grandma wants you to find your bride now for real. Song Xiling was completely lost. Dude, you have a fiancé. Secretary Song jumped in. The boss's bride is supposed to be CC's perfumer King, but nobody knows who that is. Song Xiling just said King. Why didn't you just ask me? I know who they are. The other two just stared at Song Xiling, totally floored. He said all smug, my mom's been trying to get an appointment with them for her skin for like years. She finally got one and she's meeting them at the fragrance hotel any minute now. Fu Nanching shot a look at Secretary Song. So Mrs. Song can get an appointment, but I can't. You think I'm broke or something? Man, their boss was seriously holding a grudge. He was still salty about the time King told him to book a slot and wait in line. Fu Nanching stood up, grabbed his coat, and went to find out who this king person really was. Meanwhile, in a private room at the hotel, Susie was trying to make a call. But it wouldn't connect. She'd have to deal with the jade pendant mess later. First, she had to deliver the perfume to her client. Suddenly, she heard Song Ziling's voice right outside. Bro, it's... This room. Pink should be here any second. Susie went cold. No way was Mrs. Song actually Song Ziling's mom. She never imagined they'd meet like this. Susie couldn't let them find out who she was, not with the footsteps getting closer. Where could she go? Susie rushed to the window thinking she could jump, but it was too late. She heard the doorknob turn. The door was already opening. Song Ziling gasped. Susie, what are you even doing here? My mom's got a meeting with King. Where is he? Susie, balancing a tray, just gave him a cool look and said, Haven't seen anyone named King. I'm just a server here bringing out tea. Song Shiling was totally not buying it. He scoffed. A server, seriously? If you're that broke, just hit up my brother. He's already given you a ton. Don't you have any self-respect? Susie set the teapot down. Mr. Song, I'm heading out. As Susie headed for the door, Funning was standing right there, all tall and imposing. Susie looked up his icy stare, locking with the guy in front of him. Excuse me. Funning asked, totally deadpan, did you take it? His eyes were like ice. Vice President, if you're so worried, I can totally do it again right in front of you. Fu Nanching moved out of the way. Susie was gone. Song Ziling walked up like, bro, can you believe that hick? Like, what's her deal? The words were barely out of his mouth when Funing shot him a death glare. Are you dissing him? Just then, Mrs. Song showed up. She had on a mask, and her face was covered in these weird red spots. Director Fu, what are you doing here? Mom, we're here to see Pink. Mrs. Song totally shoved her way between them, all excited. Is Pink here yet? A waiter came over. Excuse me, are you Mrs. Song? Someone told me to give you this perfume bomb. Song Ziling grabbed the bomb. It had a note on it. Mom, this is so sketchy. All those famous doctors couldn't do anything, but this Pink person just hands you this thing without even seeing you and says you'll be fine in a week. Is that for real? Mrs. Song snatched it away. Duh, it's real. If Pink says it'll be gone in a week, it will be. She grabbed the server, totally hyped. Where's Pink? Where are they? The server just pointed. Mrs. Song immediately booked it in that direction. Fu Nanching and Song Ziling trailed right after her. After dropping off the bomb at the door, Susie was about to dip, but then he saw someone he knew coming his way. Su Chinro was back. Talk about perfect timing. They still had major drama to sort out. Susie bounced, and just then Mrs. Song came out and spotted Su Chinro, the so-called perfume prodigy who studied overseas. Like everyone knew who she was. She totally gasped. Totally freaking out. Miss Su, no way are you Pink. Su Chinro knew all about the top perfumer Pink, who was basically her idol and ultimate goal. She wanted to be the next Pink. Su Chinro glanced back and saw Fu Nanching, that crazy rich and powerful guy. Su Chinro just smiled apologetically. Mrs. Song, I can't really answer that. Mrs. Song was beaming. Oh, King, I mean, Miss Su, don't you worry, your secret is totally safe with me. Song Zising, standing behind them, just stared at Su Chinro. Second brother. So Su Chinro is King's secretary. Song added. Yep, she's Su's sister and has always been a perfume genius. The backstory checks out, and that jade pendant. It has to be hers too, the one Sui stole. Song Ziling was clearly a fan of Su Chinro. Second brother, you so weren't into Sui last time. This one's way better, right? Besides, you're engaged. So when are you two getting married? Feigning said nothing and just walked off. Watching his tall figure walk away, Su Chinro also made her excuses. Mrs. Song, I have to get going. Feigning is so obsessed with King. He thought it was him. Well, it wasn't just a thought since King never actually shows up, so why couldn't it be him? The tall, gorgeous VP was totally trying to make his little M jealous by announcing his marriage to Su Chinro, but Feigning wasn't getting the message. Instead, he just got blocked. Lan couldn't get a hold of Su. Su Changrong was raging. The backup failed to lock him down. Feigning. Married all this time with zero progress. So useless. Su Chinro, hiding around the corner, heard their whole conversation. And it all clicked. So Su was married to Fu Nanching. That kind of guy. She walked over, faking this super concerned voice. Mom, what's wrong? What's this about Snow and President Fu? Lan grabbed her hands. The Fu family saw a jade pendant and suddenly wanted to be allies. Snow stole that pendant from Susie and now we can't reach her. I'm so scared they found us out. Su Chinro just smiled. Mom, I have a bad feeling about this too. Where does the VP live? I'll go with you and Dad to find him. In the study of Villa, Fu Nanching was looking over some documents. Secretary Song spoke up. President, the Su family is here. Feigning didn't even look up, saying coldly, let them in. Su Chongrong Lan and Su Chinro walked into Villa. He stammered, VP, so sorry to disturb you, we're actually looking for our daughter. We can't reach her phone. Feining's sharp gaze shot towards Su Chongrong. I didn't call you here. You came on your own. So what's the real story with the jade pendant? The color drained from Su Chongrong and Lan's faces. He knew the truth. Something flashed in Su Chinro's eyes. She stepped forward gracefully, her voice all sweet and gentle. VP, actually 2 years ago my sister messed up and stole my jade pendant. I'm here to apologize for her. I was the one who was supposed to marry you 2 years ago. I'm your actual wealthy wife. Su Chengrong and Lan stared at Su Chinro in total shock, but they caught on quick. So Su was exposed, but they still had Chinro. They lied in sync. VP, we've wronged you so badly that jade pendant was definitely Chinro's. Yes, Su, we stole the pendant she wanted to marry into a rich family that badly. She even threatened to off herself. I had no choice. Feigning asked slowly. The pendant was really yours. Su Chinro looked right at him and nodded firmly. Yes. He asked again. Are you king? This time Su Chinro didn't answer, she just smiled at him. Feigning gave nothing away. His cold, deep vibe made it impossible to guess what he was thinking. Secretary Song, see them out! Secretary Song was on it. This way, please. Suwe had been released. She'd been put through hell for days and was kind of losing it. Get away, don't touch me, I'm a... Wealthy Madam Lan was heartbroken. Suwe, baby, it's Mom, don't be afraid. She comforted softly. Mom, I know a ton of famous doctors overseas. We'll get Suwe treated. Better if she never recovers. The Su family only needs one of her. Su Chonggrong sighed angrily. Fu Nanching's reputation is no joke. We got played so hard this time, Chinro, you have to win him over. Don't let him get payback on us. She smiled. I know. The VP didn't say he'd marry me, but he didn't say he wouldn't either, did he? Fu Ying watched them leave. She ran inside to grill him. Uncle Shu, are you seriously going to marry that Su Chinro? Fu Nanching frowned. Who told you to eavesdrop? She said dead serious. Uncle Shu, I don't want you to marry anyone else. I want Cece to be my aunt. At the mention of Susie, Fu Nanching checked the time. It was already 9:00. Why wasn't he home yet? Just then, the villa door creaked open. Susie was back. Fu Ying immediately ran over. Cece, something terrible happened. Susie asked. What is it? Is my uncle going to marry Su Chinro? Susie was totally shook. How did those two even get tangled up again? Whatever. He just gave him the cold shoulder and went upstairs. Feigning couldn't even get a reaction out of him. He just got straight up ghosted. Since he got back, he hadn't even really looked at him. Susie said calmly, Ying, I'm a little tired. I'm going to bed. Feigning went back to his room and took an ice-cold shower. In bed, he grabbed his phone to message Su Ci about their date as Fu again tonight. He didn't text back. Fu Nanching sent another message. Did you break up with me? The message wouldn't go through. He had been blocked. Fu Nanching angrily chucked his phone on the ground. He was the stand-in, and he had the nerve. Feigning knocked on Fu Ying's door. Give me your phone, he ordered coldly. She had to just hand over her phone. Fu Nanching opened WeChat and found Su Ci. He sent a message from Fu Ying's account. Cece, my uncle is really going to marry Su Chinro. I only want you as my aunt. Don't you have anything to say? She replied in like 2 seconds. Wish him a happy second marriage. Fu Nanching's face went rigid, and the room felt like it dropped a few degrees. Oh no, this was so bad. The tall and handsome VP just happened to see the young maid carrying a box full of protection. Even with 100 excuses, she wasn't talking her way out of this one. Feigning sat alone in his bedroom drinking. Heartless woman, he's marrying someone else and she doesn't even care. Just then, the phone on the table started buzzing. He picked up and a voice came through. Sweetie, how long have you and Susie been back? Why the silent treatment? Did you guys get into a fight? Lost my daughter-in-law or something? He rubbed his temples. Mom, chill. Your daughter-in-law is fine. Oh, good. Come see me soon, okay? Then she hung up. Feigning totally psyched, rushed over to Susie's room. It wasn't like she was looking for him. It was his mom who wanted to see him. Just as Feigning was about to knock, Susie popped up behind him, calling out VP. He noticed Susie was holding a box and reached for it. What you buy? Susie dodged him. It's nothing. Did you need something, VP? Feigning grabbed his arm. Why are you dodging me? Do you hate me that much or what? Susie totally struggled. Let go of me. And right then, his grip on the box slipped. The next thing you know, it hit the floor and a ton of little party favors went spilling everywhere. Seeing them, Feigning went beet red with anger and embarrassment. He demanded, Susie, why'd you buy so many? You think you can use all these? Who are you even planning to use these with? His heart totally dropped. Who I use them with is none of your business. Or do I need to remind you that we are so over? Feigning couldn't take it anymore and just slammed a kiss on him. But Susie wasn't going down easy and bit his lip hard. Feigning cried out in pain and let him go blood dripping. He said dead serious, better with me than some random dude. Want to give it a shot? Like for real. He was still trying to hit on him even now. What did he think he was? Susie shoved him back. VP, if you're that desperate, go find someone else. Don't get all weird on me. Then he stormed into his room and slammed the door. Feigning just leaned against the door completely heartbroken. Telling him to find someone else, that was low-key brutal. Later after school, Susie was waiting at the bus stop when this flashy sports car rolled up. Su Chinro smirked. Susie, waiting for the bus, I was just passing by, I could give you a ride. Oh whoops, I totally forgot my brand new sports car doesn't have enough room. Then another girl started dissing Susie. You're about to be at CC. You and this small-town nobody Susie are in totally different leagues. The bus is all she's good for. Just as their car was about to peel out, a sleek black car cut them off. That Bugatti was worth like over 10 million. Had to be a major VIP. Su Chinro figured she should go make an impression. She hopped out and walked over. Ma'am, hi. I'm Su Chinro from the Su family. You might know me, I'm super tight with Mrs. Song and I'm starting at CC really soon. Mrs. Song just gave her an icy look. Nope, don't know you, don't care. Then she got out, smiled all sweet at Susie and said, I came to pick you up from school. Su Chinro just stared at Susie. No way. This is impossible. How could Susie ever deserve this? The car just cruised away, leaving her standing there fuming, already hating Susie's guts. Susie? I turned and was like, Mom, what are you doing here? Madame Fu was all smiles. Sweetie, when did you get that scar on your face? Is that like a new trend? I missed you, duh. Ning told me you were at school, so I had to come see you. His gaze dropped. Madame Fu was all about her real daughter-in-law, and he wasn't playing the part of Sue's stand-in anymore. He frowned at her. Look, I only got in the car because I kinda had to. You've got me mixed up with someone else. My name's Susie. She gave Susie a once-over. Shall you changed your name, honey? You can change it to whatever you want. You'll always be my precious daughter-in-law. He tried to explain, but Madame Fu just cut him off. I'm just gonna call you Cece from now on. Come shopping with me later, okay? He gave a small smile and nodded. Okay, just for today. Once Feigning tells Madame Fu the whole story about the stand-in thing, she'll stop looking for him. That night, Susie was on a video call with Li Xiaoxiao. So did you get my little present as your bestie? I just wanted to, help out. With you and Mr. Fu. Susie was just speechless. Don't even talk about it. Feigning saw that box of party favors. Who knows what crazy idea he's got in his head now. Li Xiaoxiao realized she messed up and just went, and quickly changed the subject. She brought up how Su Chinro was for real, telling everyone she was going to CC and was even pretending to be you in front of all the city's rich girls. He just smirked. Perfect. I'll go too. The second Su Chinro steps onto my turf, it's game over for her. I have to get payback for my grandmother. The billionaire CEO's little princess was stirring up drama. But the VP wasn't coddling her, instead he was giving her a talking to. Su Chinro showed up at the CC building. The supervisor looked her over. This is your office. You'll be reporting to me from now on. Let me know if you need anything. Then Su Chinro noticed another office right next to hers. She got all curious and asked whose it was. That's for another perfumer. They're starting today and they'll be under me too. Su Chinro totally froze. Wait, wasn't CCE only hiring her this season? Susie strolled over, a glint in his eye as he looked at Su Chinro. Oh, you're here. I thought you weren't showing up till this afternoon. Su Chinro's eyes went wide. No way. It was Susie, the supervisor next to her, explained. He was recommended by King. Su Chinro tried to play it cool, thinking King was this huge mystery, and Susie probably never even met him. Susie, I had no idea you were into making perfume. No wonder you quit your maid job to come to CCE. That got everyone's attention. All their coworkers started pointing and whispering, wait, isn't that the janitor? Are janitors trying to steal our jobs now? Doesn't CC have standards for how people look? What was King even thinking, hiring someone like that asterisk? Just then Chinu walked up. He was all business and super sharp. What's going on here? You all bored? Cause I can definitely find you something to do. The whole room went dead quiet. All eyes were on Susie. It was totally King's doing because duh, he's King. When Susie spotted Shinkazu, she shot him a sneaky wave. After work, Su Chinro was fuming in her car, calling Lon to vent about how Susie actually got into CCE. Lylan was clueless, but did tell her the VP's mom was in town. I'll set up a meet and greet for you tomorrow night. Just then, Su Chinro spotted that lady from before. She walked right up to her like, Ma'am, remember me, I'm Su Chinro. We met before. But Madame Fu totally iced her out, just patiently waiting for her daughter-in-law. Then her whole face lit up. Susie was there. Cece, get over here. I got you a first day on the job gift. Su Chinro was grinding her teeth, having been ghosted in person. A sick red Ferrari was just sitting there by the curb, totally screaming money. Check it out, it's all yours. So you like it? Susie's jaw basically hit the floor. Whoa, no way, this is way too much. I can't take this. Madame Fu just dropped the keys in her hand. Why not? If other girls have nice things, our Cece deserves them too. Come on, let's go find my son. Susie got basically shoved into the car by Madame Fu and caved like, fine, I'll drive you. Su Chinro watched that Ferrari zoom off, her whole vibe just crashing. Why did he always have to mess up her game? She had to find a way to get him out of the picture like ASAP. Him and fast. Meanwhile, back at the company, Feigning was in the middle of some major deal. This Mr. Smith dude had flown in from overseas, and they were about to sign the contracts. That's when Secretary Song rushed in, looking totally panicked. CEO, it's an emergency, Miss Su, and your mother were in a car accident. You could see Feining's jaw tighten. He kept his voice low. Mr. Smith, my apologies. I have to step out for a minute. Mr. Smith looked intrigued. Like what could possibly be so important that the CEO had to handle it himself? As he was striding for the door, he just said, someone's in trouble. I need to make sure they're okay. The two of them were just standing by the side of the road. Madame Fu was trying to be chill. Don't stress, Susie. Ning will be here any second. But that was the last thing Susie wanted. And right on cue, Feining's tall, intense figure appeared, walking toward them with these powerful strides heading straight for them. He stopped right in front of them, his eyes scanning them for any injuries. He let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. Thank God nothing major. But then his lips thinned and he asked, clearly ticked off. Who was driving? Madame Fu totally bailed, taking a step back and giving Susie a little shove forward. She stumbled right into Feining's chest. Feining, still mad, grabbed her arm to steady her and pulled her back. Stand up straight. Do you have any idea how valuable my time is? I walked out of a major meeting for this. Do you even know what this car costs? The handling on this thing is a nightmare. It's not made for just anyone to drive. All you know how to do is buy pricey stuff. Total strangers on the street were watching the whole thing, whispering and giggling. OMG, look at the CEO, it's like we're in a K-drama or something. Seriously, stop, I'm so jealous. Madame Fu, seeing things were getting heated, made a quick escape. Cece, don't forget the family get-together tomorrow. I want to officially introduce you. Your mom has something she has to do. Susie tried to bail too, but Feining's hand shot out and grabbed her wrist. We're not done here. You're coming back to the office with me. I'll take you home after. So now Susie was sitting all by herself in his office, feeling totally bored. Then it hit her. Wait, why was she just sitting here waiting for him? She could literally just grab a cab home. Just then, this super glam-looking woman walked in. Hi, I'm Wong Manny, the CEO's personal secretary. And you are? Susie could feel Wong Manny throwing major shade already. It was so obvious the secretary had a thing for Feining. She wasn't even trying to hide it. Susie just calmly said, my last name is Sue. Wong Manny was holding Feining's suit jacket. I'm just dropping off the CEO's suit. It was just pressed. Susie reached for it like, but Wong Manny jerked it away. Miss Sue, I wouldn't touch that if I were you. Everything the CEO wears is custom. It would be a disaster if it got dirty. A lot of women try to get close to our CEO, but I've never seen anyone quite like you, Miss Sue. A girl should know her. Place, you get what I'm saying, right? Susie just chilled on the sofa and gave her a small smile. Instead of wasting your breath throwing this weak shade at me, you should probably focus more on your CEO. You've got the ambition to be the boss's wife, but that's about it. Too bad you're just the secretary. Now be a dear and get me some water, thanks, Secretary Wong. The look on her face was priceless, totally defeated, but she couldn't even say anything about it. Cut to Feining and Susie are on vacay on a tropical island. With the summer heat, the whole vibe on the beach was getting intense. Susie was just hanging with Fuying when her friend's eyes went wide. Cece, look. That guy is a total smoke show and his abs unreal. She literally dragged Susie with her to go get the hottie's number. Hey, your surfing was insane just now. You want to get to know each other? I'm Fuying and this is my friend. The guy was immediately all about Susie. You could tell his heart was racing and he just couldn't take his eyes off her. The second that Feining got to the island, the manager was all over him, pointing out the views. Then he looked over and saw his girl chatting up some random dude. He was so not happy. You could practically see the steam coming out of his ears. He stalked over and wrapped his arms around Susie from behind. Susie jumped, but then she turned and saw it was Feining. Feining gave the other guy a total death stare. The dude, seeing how close they were, looked obviously bummed. You guys are... Feining just leaned in and kissed Susie right on the lips before answering, together. The guy just walked away totally crushed. Then Feining turned on Fuying. If you have this much free time, come intern at the company. Stop trying to corrupt my girlfriend. All day, Fuying grumbled back under her breath. You show up to the beach dressed like you're going to a business meeting, there's zero to look at. At least that hottie had amazing abs. Susie used the distraction to sneak away. Fuying's arms. Fuying took off his tie and they messed around on the beach, splashing each other and chasing each other around. They ended up by these huge rocks. So what's the plan here? No one can see us over here. Fuying pushed him down and gave him this super intense kiss. Okay, so the next part is kinda not for all audiences, so we're just gonna skip ahead. Back at the hotel, Susie was trailing Fuying, whining. You were way too rough, I'm covered in marks. Everyone on the call was like shocked. Fuying had to remind him, I'm on a video call. Susie was instantly so embarrassed. He just dove under the blanket, too mortified to even show his face. Fuying seriously told his team, my girlfriend's a little playful, don't worry about it. Let's get back to the meeting. A bunch of time went by, and the meeting was finally over. Fuying looked over at Susie and just scooped him up, his eyes locked on the 3 little peach blossom birthmarks on his collarbone. He started feeling that spark again, especially remembering how Susie was checking out. Some other hot guy earlier. He got all possessive, grabbing his chin, and decided Susie needed a little punishment. It was already 4 a.m. Susie had barely gotten any sleep when Fuying woke him up again, wanting to go see the Lanting Pavilion and the view at night. Susie was digging through his bag for the swimsuit he wore yesterday, but couldn't find it anywhere. After searching forever, he was like, Fuying, have you seen it? But then Fuying just handed him a brand new one. It was this super modest one-piece thing. Susie just smirked, totally getting that Fu Nanching was jealous. Then they walked down to the beach holding hands. The sun wasn't up yet. Susie thought about when they were apart and asked him what he was thinking back then. Fu Nanching pulled him into a hug and was straight up. I was terrified, scared I was going to lose you. See, I'm never letting go again. The truth is, I was falling for you a long time ago. He got this super sweet smile when he heard that. Right then, AHE's sun started to come up, lighting up the whole ocean. Susie was just mesmerized by the view, his eyes totally sparkling. He suddenly leaned in and said, I was actually planning to wait until this whole project was finished before I brought you to see the sunrise, but I didn't think we'd see it this soon. He just shook his head like it didn't matter at all. And then they had this totally romantic kiss while the sun came up. That icy hot vice president's got some serious game, always kissing the little maid's lips and making a 6-month promise. Mr. Smith noticed Susie right away. Susie was just chilling on the couch reading a book. The side of his face was like perfectly innocent and totally captivating. Vice President, is that the one you brought back with you? Fu Nanching just raised, an eyebrow not even denying it. Mr. Smith looked over at Susie again like, wow, gorgeous, seriously. Fu Nanching stepped right in front of him, blocking his view. Mr. Smith, your hotel is all set. I'll have someone take you over. Can't even stand to have someone look for a second, huh? Mr. Smith just grinned. After he was gone, Secretary Song came up. President, did Miss Sue really get into CC today? Funing watched the girl. She was super into her book, looking all calm and collected, not cocky or antsy at all. He wasn't exactly shocked, but still, how did some girl from the sticks get in? I heard King was the one who got Miss Sue in. King. Wait, is Sue Chinro Miss Sue? If you think about it like that, it totally makes sense that Sue Chinro would set it up. Is that right? Fu Nanching walked purposefully toward the office. Hearing him come in, Susie looked up from his book. Oh, Vice President, you're back. I was getting kind of bored, so I just grabbed a book. I'll put it right back. If you like it, you can have it. Susie's eyes crinkled into a smile. I wouldn't dare take the Vice President's book. If your secretary found out, she'd probably be the first one to rip me to shreds. My female secretary, he asked. Wang Manyi. Susie's eyes were literally sparkling, and his already flirty eyes crinkled up. Even more. You remember her that well? That secretary of yours literally hugs your suit jacket like it's some kind of prize. She acts way too familiar. Fu Nanching's eyebrows shot up as he gave him a playful head-to-toe look. A little jealous, are we? Susie just pressed his lips together. Anyway, you're reading way too much into it. I'm here about Mrs. Fu. This whole thing has to stop. You need to find a way to tell her about the stand-in. He lowered his gorgeous eyes. My mom, she's not okay. We've been flying all over for her treatment for years, it's a mental thing. She totally freaks out over emotional stuff. He reached out and gently lifted her chin, making her look up at him. My mom adores you. Do you really think she could handle finding out the truth? Susie chewed on her lip, feeling a flush of guilt. But we can't just keep lying to her, she said, her voice full of worry. Stay with me for 6 months. Susie, wait. What? The words felt like a bomb going off in her head. Her eyes snapped up to meet his. Fu Nanching's gaze dropped to her now red lips. Just give me 6 months. Keep pretending to be my rich wife. In that time, I'll ease my mom into the real situation. So just keep being her stand-in. No way, she shot back instantly. I won't do it. Fu Nanching let out a bitter laugh. See, what did I tell you? You're just so ungrateful. All the love my mom has for you was a complete waste. That's not fair, Susie argued. Those are two totally different things. The air between them got super thick and awkward, the silence stretching on for what felt like forever. Finally, she asked hesitantly, Fu Nanching, what does this even mean? Are you saying you want us to be a real thing? Fu Nanching loosened his tie, his intense eyes burning into hers. What do you think it means? So, yes. But what were his real motives? Susie stood up to get out of there, but Fu Nanching's hand shot out and grabbed her arm. He held on tight. Susie jumped immediately, trying to pull away. Let go of me, Fu Nanching. I'm starting to think you're just using your mom's health as an excuse to keep me around as your side piece. She choked out, her voice shaky. And what if I am? He murmured, his voice low. What do you want? Name it and it's yours. And just like that, he crushed his lips to hers. He didn't care who else Susie might like. He was going to keep her. Susie was completely frozen. Did he really just admit he wanted her as his mistress? Fu Nanching's eyes narrowed, studying her. He had a feeling this girl was way more complicated than she looked. I heard King. I hooked you up with an in at CC. So do you know them? Like, who even are they? Susie knew he was still trying to find Ping, so obviously he was keeping his real identity on the down low. I don't know them personally, just like a friend of a friend. He gave him major side eye. For real? Susie totally bailed, looking embarrassed. Vice President, I got a jet, something came up. Fu Nanching yelled after him. Seriously, think about it, I'll be waiting for your answer. After Susie dipped, Secretary Song walked in. Fu Nanching laid down the law. Get someone to dig into Susie. I want everything on him from when he was a kid till now. Oh, and was Wang Manyi here earlier? Secretary Song was like, shook. Yeah, she dropped off some clothes. Tell her not to bother coming in tomorrow. He was totally floored. Did Wang Manyi do something to tick off Susie? The president was actually starting to ice out the female secretaries, all because of Susie. That night, Lylan brought Su Chinro to meet Mrs. Fu, and she'd even made this special calming sachet for her. She'd copied Pin's formula exactly like one-to-one straight from the director. This thing was basically priceless. Just then, Lilan stepped out to take a call. Su Chinro quickly scoped out the room. It looked like some kind of rich ladies' party, and she was the only young person there. Okay, this was her chance. Then out of nowhere, she spots Susie. What was *he* doing here? That old woman from yesterday must have brought him. Su Chinro totally hid the nasty look in her eyes and put on this super sweet, innocent smile. Cece, how'd you even get in here, look? Not everyone is as nice as Madame Song. There are a ton of sketchy people out there, so don't get played. Susie just gave her a chill look. Sketchy people, please. The biggest fake is standing right in front of me. Su Chinro gritted her teeth. I'm just looking out for you. And if I'm being real, this place isn't for people like you. I'm here to see Mrs. Fu. Why would you even be here? Susie acted all surprised. OMG, what a coincidence, I'm here to see Mrs. Fu too. She just laughed in his face like, yeah right. All of a sudden there was a stir. Mrs. Fu was here. Su Chinro whipped around totally hyped. Mrs. Fu walked out decked out in super expensive clothes and looking gorgeous. And then Su Chinro just froze. No way. It was that old woman the poor maid runs into. Trouble when some creep gets handsy. But the billionaire CEO swoops in just in time to save him. The second she realized it was that old lady, Su Chinro was ready to make an excuse and bounce. But then out of nowhere, Madame Song grabbed her hand and dragged her right over to meet Mrs. Fu. Mrs. Fu knew who Su Chinro was right away, and her smile just vanished. Madame Song, is this the friend you brought with you? Madame Song gave her a look like hurry up and give her the gift. Su Chinro pulled out the sachet holding it with both hands and stammered, Mrs. Fu, I made this sachet myself. If you know it's ugly, then why are you even showing it to me? Mrs. Fu stared down at her with a stone-cold look. Su Chinro was completely frozen. Then Mrs. Fu spotted Susie hanging back. Cece, what are you doing all the way back there? Get over here quick. So Susie walked over. Mrs. Fu ruffled his hair. Forget this party, Madam. Song, just take her and go. We don't want people who mess with our Cece here. And Madam Song, let me give you some advice. You should really be more careful about who you hang out with. Su Chinro used that chance to bolt. Madam Song asked, all confused. I've never seen Mrs. Fu go off on someone like that. What did you do to make her so mad? Su Chinro couldn't afford to lose Madame Song's trust, so she just played dumb and threw Susie under the bus. Madame Song frowned. Isn't he your cousin or something? You're the one who brought him here from the country and he's still acting out. Later the two of them were chilling on the sofa when Susie suddenly asked, Hey, 2 years ago when I married into the family, I had this jade pendant, but now it's gone. Do you have any idea where it is? Mrs. Fu answered. Fu Nanching took it. Susie froze. Oh crap, Fu Nanching has it. Now what? Mrs. Fu looked concerned. What is it? He just waved it off. It's nothing, I'll just call Nanching. He had to get that jade pendant back from Fu Nanching, but he still had no clue how to answer that other question he'd asked. Like 20 minutes later, after totally overthinking it, he still didn't have a plan. Just then he heard someone yelling, Young madam, it's awful the madam is having one of her spells in the kitchen, Mrs. Fu's face was white as a ghost, and she was holding a bowl of dumplings. She was mumbling, I'm not sick. Susie rushed in, held out both his hands to her, his eyes super warm. Mom, Mrs. Fu's state seemed to get a little better. She offered him a dumpling. Cece, you haven't eaten. Here, eat this. Susie leaned down and took a bite. A second later, he said sweetly, It's so good. Then he gently helped her stand up, saying, It's getting late, you should go get some rest. I'll come hang out with you after I'm done eating. The second she was gone, Susie immediately asked, What's wrong with her? Does this happen a lot? The servant answered truthfully, The madam hasn't had a spell like this in a long time. It's just... The new maid was running her mouth saying nasty things about the madam behind her back. It triggered her, and that's why she's like this. She just stopped talking. Susie pushed, What happened before? But the servant was too scared to say more. I'm not really sure. Susie just handed her some aromatherapy oil. This will help her sleep, go light it. He thought to himself, stroking his chin. Mrs. Fu's mental health was definitely not in a good place. To help her, he had to figure out what caused all this. That maid was being super shady. What was she hiding? All of a sudden, his phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out and saw a text from Fu Ying. Help, I'm at the Shandy Hotel. Susie's heart dropped. Something was wrong with Fu Ying. He bolted for the hotel, totally freaking out. He heard a commotion inside one of the private rooms, so he went over and threw the door open. Fu Ying was being grabbed by some drunk corporate guy. Another dude saw him show up and got all hyped. Hey, looking good. Come have a drink with us. Susie yanked Fu Ying behind him. I'd back off if I were you. Keep your hands to yourself or I promise you won't like what happens next. The creeps were all just staring at Susie and Fu Ying. And just then, bam, the door to the fancy private room got kicked wide open. Fu Nanching's eyes narrowed. Susie looked up and saw this tall, intimidating guy standing in the doorway. No way, what was he doing here? Fu Yingying saw her uncle and felt this huge wave of relief. The execs recognized Fu Nanching instantly, and their jaws totally hit the floor. Fu Nanching lifted his eyes and stared down the wasted exec across from him. A smirk played on his lips. Wow, it's a real party in here. What's the game? And yeah, the super hot vice president had given the maid Susie a night pearl to show he was serious. And she had actually agreed to his 6-month deal. This was literally day 1 for them, and they were doing all the cute couple stuff. The exec trying to suck up offered him a cigarette. Mr. Fu, we were just having a little fun, don't mind us. Fu Nanching didn't turn him down, just took the cigarette between his lips and lit it up. After taking a long drag, he asked, one of them is my niece, the other is my wife. And you want to have fun? The exec was totally frozen. He was so shocked he burned a nasty hole right through his hand and could only beg. Susie, watching from the side, shot the VP a look. Just drop it. I didn't get away with anything. Let's just go. Fu Nanching's eyes landed on Susie, and his whole vibe softened just a little. All of you wait outside. Fu Yingying grabbed Susie's hand and they left. Outside, he got super serious with Yingying, asking, why are you working at a place like this? Are you short on cash? Fu Yingying kinda hesitated before finally spilling, Susie, the thing is, I'm in love. His name's Sun Yiming. He's crazy talented, but his family's broke, so he can't afford school. I just want to help him. Susie's brow furrowed. And how are you helping him? She gave this sheepish little smile. I want to help with his tuition, but my allowance is nowhere near enough, so I got a job here. Right then her phone buzzed. It was a text from her boyfriend, and she got this huge, sweet smile on her face and turned to go. Susie had this gut feeling she should stop her, but then she heard someone call out, Miss Susie, from behind her. It was Wen Xiaoqian walking over. And he asked, Miss Susie, are you and Nanching a thing now? Susie frowned a little at the question. No, why? Because Nanching is seriously into you. After that whole thing with his grandmother, he totally went off on Ziling, and his very first date was with you. He was even asking all of us for ideas on where girls like to go. He spent forever planning out that whole amusement park day. Susie was floored. Wait, that was his first date asterisk. Okay, no wonder he was so ticked off. And right on cue, Fu Nanching walked out. His voice was low and not happy at all. What are you two talking about? Wen Xiaoqian just grinned. Nothing. Dude, why are you giving me that look? Fu Nanching just clapped a hand on his shoulder. You're coming back to the family house with me tonight to see my mom. She nodded. She was planning on going back anyway. It wasn't long before they pulled up to the Fu mansion, and the two of them headed into the living room. Fu Nanching asked, Where's my mom? It's kinda early for her to be asleep. The maid smiled all happy. She was having a bit of a rough time earlier, but Susie managed to calm her down. She's resting upstairs now. Fu Nanching shot a surprised look at Susie. They'd seen so many big-shot doctors from all over, but none of them could help his mom's condition. And yet Susie could. She was always full of surprises. A small smile touched his lips. He said faintly, Let's head up. Susie, you're staying here tonight. You could totally see how happy Fu Nanching was when he heard she was staying. Once they got to the bedroom, Susie just had to ask, So what exactly is going on with your mom? I mean, you totally don't have to tell me. I just feel like if I knew what started it, it might be easier to help. Fu Nanching finally opened up. I'm the illegitimate son. Everyone thinks I'm the one who wrecked their perfect family, but the truth is my mom didn't have a choice. Her own family, her brother-in-law, her sisters, they all cut her off. My mom felt like she was this horrible person, and her mental health just broke after all that. As he finished, he hit the lights, plunging the room into darkness. He reached out and pulled Susie into a hug. Things were so rough for my mom and me, but then this amazing socialite my aunt took me under her wing. She was my savior. Then he pulled out this glowing night pearl and held it out to her. Susie was speechless. It was unreal, so beautiful. Fu Nanching looked right at her. This was a gift from my benefactor. I used to have the worst insomnia, like I could never sleep. This thing got me through so many nights, and now I want you to have it. Susie's instant reaction was to say no. Then he asked, Susie, about that 6-month deal. What's your answer? She just nodded and whispered, Okay. In a second, Fu Nanching pulled her in close and kissed her. He couldn't take his eyes off her with her dark hair and red lips looking so innocent, and Fu Nanching had to catch his breath. He gently toyed with a strand of her hair. So this is day 1 of us being official. Look at us, the hotshot CEO and the cute little maid already getting into all kinds of fun. Susie playfully poked him in the chest. For real, was that amusement park thing your actual first date? He just hummed yep. Then he lifted his hand, gently touching her cheek. So next time you see my mom having a hard time, you call me, okay? Don't just rush into there by yourself. I'll be worried sick. A little smile played on his lips. What's with the silence, you scared? Susie looked at his serious expression and said quietly, Why would I be scared? Your mom would never hurt me. But what about you? Does she ever hurt you? Before she could say more, Fu Nanching leaned down and gave her this intense kiss. Later, they were just lying in bed under the covers and drifted off to sleep. He wasn't going to push things tonight. Just being with her was enough. The next morning outside the CC building, Ying waved Susie over. Hey, you go on up, I gotta go find my boyfriend. Susie just smiled and nodded. But then a guy's voice came from right behind her. Ying, what are you doing here? When she saw who it was, her eyes went wide with shock. Aren't you supposed to be in class? The girl hanging on his arm piped up. Who are you and how do you know my BF? Fu Ying looked like she was about to cry. Yiming, what is happening? Why are you doing this to me? He just scratched the back of his head. I mean, it is what it looks like. I was just messing around with you. Seriously, look at you. You didn't actually think I was for real, did you? That was too much for Fu Ying. She just turned and ran off. Susie saw her sobbing and snapped. She walked right up to him and slapped him hard. You are actual garbage, lying to Ying, pretending to be some student. You're a pig. He touched his stinging cheek and yelled, Who the heck are you? Mind your own business. Like, aren't you too broke for school? Here's like tens of thousands. Think of it as charity. She literally whipped a card out of her bag and just threw it on the ground. And Sun Yiming, seeing the cash, actually bent down to grab it, but then a foot slammed down, pinning his hand to the pavement. Sun Yiming totally yelped in pain. Susie just stared down at him, all backlit and stuff, her eyes just dripping with total disgust. Yeah, that's right, losers should know their place. Then she just turned on her heel and bounced. His girlfriend literally dumped him on the spot. Susie pulled out her phone and shot a text to her senior. Hey, do me a favor and get Sun Yiming fired from the tech department. CC doesn't need that kind of trash. Her senior hit her back instantly. Done. That night, she snuck into Fu Eining's room. Eining must have been way too self-conscious about her birthmark, which is how she got played by that total scumbag. Susie had to figure out how to get her the fragrant pill. All of a sudden, a hand shot out and grabbed her arm. Before she could even blink, she was yanked down. Fu Nanching pulled her straight into his arms. Susie started pounding on his chest, all annoyed. Fu Nanching, what are you doing? He just held her tighter and smirked. Can't you tell? Susie totally blushed and looked away. I'm trying to do something important. Let me go. I got one of those fragrant pills from Pink that can get rid of birthmarks. Make sure you give it to Eining when you see her. Fu Nanching was like, why don't you just give it to her? I'm worried it'll just bring up bad memories for her. A little smile played on Fu Nanching's lips. I mean, I can help, but what's in it for me? And then he just scooped Susie up, bridal style, and started walking toward the bed. Susie got a majorly bad feeling. What are you doing? What does it look like? Fu Nanching sat on the edge of the bed. Susie ended up face to face on his lap, feeling super shy. Fu Nanching put her hand right on his belt. Help me with this. Susie got even more flustered, her fingers fumbling with the buckle. Then she heard his phone buzzing in his pocket. You've got a call, you should get that. Fu Nanching just grinned. You sure about that? Then with a sudden move, Susie's face went bright red and she winced a little. He actually grabbed his phone and answered it. You animal? You want someone to hear this? Susie slapped a hand over her mouth. Fu Nanching winced as she said it. Susie had literally bitten his shoulder. He couldn't deal, and rushed off the phone. Look, I got it, just have your assistant handle it. The second he hung up, he pushed her back on the bed, laughing a little. You're the one who told me to answer. Talk about getting even. Susie just felt crazy hot, like she was about to melt. Okay, so the next part is a little too spicy for the screen, so we're just gonna fast forward. Anyway, our girl totally slayed at the birthday party, leaving everyone shook. Susie showed up to work at CC all covered up. That guy Fu Nanching has zero chill. The second Su Chinro walked in, she started flexing the Fu family's invitation. Everyone else saw it and got so jealous. No way, Chinro, the Fu family princess actually invited you to her birthday party? You're so lucky. Can you, take me with you so I can see it? Susie frowned. Fu Eining was having a birthday party. Why would she randomly invite Su Chinro Super Sus? Su Chinro caught Susie staring and sauntered over. Susie, you want to go? I can totally take you. Then she got all close and whispered, You have any idea who was on the phone with me yesterday? I'd check those thirsty thoughts if I were you. Once I'm all better, I'll basically be the Fu family's savior. Susie cringed, thinking about how awk last night was. So that call was from Su Chinro. Please tell me she didn't hear anything. Right? When Susie didn't say anything, Su Chinro just smirked. As soon as she becomes Mrs. Fu, she's shipping Susie back to the middle of nowhere. Just then her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out. And it was a text from Fu Eining. Cece, I used that fragrant pill Uncle gave me. The birthmark on my face is seriously gone. I'm throwing a huge party for my birthday this year. You have to come. We are going to blow them all away! Susie couldn't help but smile, imagining the look on Su Chinro's face when she sees Fu Eining's clear skin. Before she knew it, it was party time. Su Chinro was just gawking at how extra the whole setup was. It was obvious the Fu family was obsessed with their little princess. Zhao Qin waved her over. The birthday girl hasn't made her entrance yet. What'd you get her? She gave a fake smile. It's a secret, something I made myself. Miss Fu is going to love it. Right then, everyone started buzzing. Su Chinro turned to see what was up. It was Susie and Fu Nanching walking in together. Her whole face just fell. Why was the Fu family princess hanging out with Susie? And wait, where was her birthmark? If the birthmark was gone, what was the point of her stupid fragrant pill? The two of them walked in arm in arm, and everyone was totally floored, staring like crazy. The birthmark on her face was completely gone. With her perfect little oval face, she looked drop-dead gorgeous. I'm Fu Nanching of the Fu family. Thanks so much for coming to my birthday party. I hope you guys all have a great time tonight. Someone nudged Su Chinro. Go on, give Miss Fu your gift. Su Chinro forced a smile. Miss Fu, I brought you a beauty fragrant pill. Fu Nanching reached out like she was going to take it, and then just dropped it. It smashed all over the floor, into a million pieces. I don't think I can accept a gift from you, Miss Su. You're always picking on my friend being snarky and just being totally two-faced. How do I know which face you're showing me right now? Su Chinro's face went totally white and she balled up her fists. Fu Nanching grabbed Susie's hand. Come on, let's go get some cake. I had Uncle order it special for us. Susie was so touched, but it was Nanching's birthday. She was about to say no, but
Fu Nanching leaned in close. I know you're the one who sent me the pill. If my uncle could have found one, he would have done it years ago. Susie smiled. Okay then, Nanching, you've got to help keep me safe. I can't let anyone know who I am yet.
My identity. She nodded. Of course. Su Chinro was grinding her teeth. Susie was friends with the Fu family princess. She must have told Miss Fu something. Why does everything always happen to her? Fu Nanching was up on the second floor just chilling by the fancy railings, watching all the drama go down. Looked like that fragrant pill wasn't Su Chinro's after all. So where'd Susie score it? Fu Nanching locked his. He was totally staring at Susie's delicate frame. Every time he thought he had her figured out, she was a whole new mystery. Susie looked up, their eyes locking for a split second before she bolted. For a sec, he totally cracked up. Susie was actually kinda cute. But then Secretary Song burst in, freaking out. Essie, this is bad. The people from the capital are here. Just then, a whole crew of bodyguards in black suits stormed in, right into the main hall. Then this powerful-looking guy in a suit walked in. Everyone started whispering like, who are these guys crashing the Fu family princess's birthday party, the nerve? He asked with so much attitude, who is Susie? I have business with Miss Su. Oh my god, look, they're kissing again. Things were really heating up. Susie stepped right up, totally owning it.
That's me. Fu Nanching just waved a hand, basically saying this wasn't the place. He stayed dead silent. Once they were in the living room, he finally dropped the bomb. I'm Fu Nanching's father.
It took Susie a second to even process that. After a beat, she just nodded and said politely, hello, uncle. Fu Nanching then whipped out a gold-embossed black card. Ying took your fragrant pill. How much? I'll buy it. From the capital, don't do favors. Susie's lips curled into a smirk. How much is on that thing? Tens of millions, billions, uncle. If you're that loaded, why didn't you just buy it yourself? Oh wait, the fragrant pill can't be bought, can it? Fu Nanching's whole vibe shifted. You? Susie just kept going. I wasn't asking for any favors, but since you're so hung up on it, I guess you'll just have to owe me one forever. He was fuming. Who do you think you are, Feng is? Just some illegitimate kid. You think getting with him is your ticket? Susie cut him right off. Oh, so it's not about owing favors, it's about not owing Fu Nanching a favor. If you look down on him that much, why, don't you just take his place? Fu Nanching turned to storm out. Is this how you talk to your elders? As he was leaving, he ran straight into Fu Nanching and spat. The girl you're keeping is just as trashy as you are. Fu Nanching's voice was deadly quiet. Don't touch her. Fu Nanching actually looked intimidated by him. Who wants to touch her? She's just some girl. You think she's worth it? Fu Nanching's ice-cold stare never left him. You'd better not. All of a sudden, the black card fell out of his pocket. Fu Nanching's eyes snapped right to it. He saw the card on the floor. Behind him, Secretary Song couldn't help but sigh, probably wondering what went down. Miss Su was the first person to ever make the capital's Fu family look so bad. A slow smile spread across Fu Nanching's lips. This girl just kept surprising him. He loosened his tie. The birthday party is over. And with that, he turned to leave. Secretary Song was shook. But what about Susie? Fu Nanching didn't even care, just shot Susie a quick text. Come to my bedroom. That night, Susie showed up at Fu Nanching's bedroom. He
Wrapped his arms around Susie from behind, whispering in her ear, where did you really get the fragrant pill? She knew he was going to ask. Susie fed him the line she'd practiced. Didn't I tell you I got it from King?
Fu Nanching just stared at her. Little liar, you can't tell the truth to save your life. She was about to argue, but then Fu Nanching kissed her. Susie tried to push him away, but he was stronger, pulling her down onto his bed. Cece, you're not escaping tonight. Then he held out a different black card. Don't use his. Whatever you want, I can give it to you. Susie's eyes were wide. He's a whole generation older than me. Are you actually jealous? Of him too, how childish can you get? Fu Nanching's sharp features looked so young and handsome right then. His lips curved up in a low chuckle. Then make me feel better. I want you right now. Susie's heart started pounding. Fu Nanching, you're shameless? His eyes flickered down for a second. Susie's face went bright red. Then Fu Nanching turned her around and unzipped the back of her dress. Seeing her tear up, he whispered, It's not time for you to cry yet. The next second, he slid her straps off her shoulders and gave her a few deep, lingering kisses. The next morning, Susie woke up aching all over. She saw a notification about Fu Nanching's latest drama. The rumor about him and Su Chinro was trending with headlines like Genius Perfumer and Fu Corp's CEO on a romantic dinner date. Is a wedding next? There was even a picture. She was instantly wide awake and sat straight up. Yeah, right, the CEO likes to sneak back at midnight to kiss his wife. Susie opened Weibo. The comments were just a flood of Su Chinro's stans celebrating. Everyone was commenting, OMG, our Queen Chinro actually did it. She's dating Fu Nanching, the #1 bachelor in Fu City. They said he was totally untouchable, but our girl Chinro brought him down from his throne. Goddess Chinro, I love you. Susie just stared at the ceiling for a minute, completely zoned out. She decided to just wait and ask Fu Nanching about it when he got back. Just then, her phone rang. It was Su Chongrong. When she answered, he was way too happy. Cece, come home for dinner tonight. I have something really important to announce. Susie thought for a second and then agreed. So Susie went back to the Su.
Family home. Su Chongrong and Li Long were on the sofa beaming. Cece, come sit. She sat down. Just say whatever you have to say. So 2 years ago, when the CEO married you, he actually married the wrong person. Chinro was supposed to be his real bride. Susie was in shock. Fu Nanching married the wrong person. He was supposed to marry Su Chinro. Her face was a total mask. This has nothing to do with me. Why are you even telling me this? Li Long jumped in. I don't know how you got so close to the Fu family, but your sister and CEO Fu have a marriage arrangement now. You need to stay away. Your parents will set you up on a blind date, introduce you to a great guy who won't mind your face. How does that sound? As if. They must be desperate. They actually wanted to, make it up to her. No, they were just scared she'd get in Su Chinro's way. Susie stood up. Don't worry about my business. I have a boyfriend. At that exact moment, Su Chino's voice rang out. Cece, who's your boyfriend, Susie? I looked up and saw Su Chinro walking in, and she wasn't alone. Fu Nanching was actually with her. Su Chinro kept pushing, all curious. Cece, you didn't answer my question. Who is your boyfriend, Susie? She shot Fu Nanching a look. If you want to know, figure it out yourself. And then she was gone. Fu Nanching's voice was ice cold. Did you leak those photos? The only reason I even agreed to see you was because you mentioned Xiang Wang. That doesn't mean I'll put up with your games. I'd advise you to drop the little tricks from now on. Su Chinro totally froze. He really came all this way just to ask about that. Fu Nanching gave her one last warning glare and left. Su Chinro started to get a little panicked. He could figure out even a tiny little scheme like that. The CEO was just too sharp. Could they really keep the engagement a secret from him? Back at Eplon Villa, Susie immediately started tearing the place apart, looking for the jade pendant. She checks the bedroom and the study, but it was nowhere. Susie flopped onto the bed, completely drained. She thought, it's not at the Fu family mansion, and it's not at Eplon Villa. So where in the world did I put that jade pendant? And just like that, she passed out. When night fell, Fu Nanching showed up. Susie felt a weight pressing down on her. A trail of soft kisses moved over her cheeks and lips. Soon, a hand also slipped right under the blanket. Susie's sleepy eyes fluttered open. The first thing she saw was Fu Nanching's handsome face. He whispered, asking if he'd woken her up. Her voice was all soft and drowsy as she pressed against him. He kissed her forehead. You can go back to sleep. Susie looked at him, her eyes totally clear now. What's the deal with you and Su Chinro? He looked down at her, his gaze getting intense. Are you jealous? Susie turned her head away. Fu Nanching just watched her for a second, then suddenly asked, Who's this boyfriend of yours? Is it me? Susie's heart did a complete flip. She wasn't sure if she wanted it to be him or not. She forced a smile. Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you, CEO. I mean, our whole arrangement is only for 6 months. I'm not going to say anything to make your life harder. Fu Nanching got up to go. Good, glad you get it. He left the room. Susie squeezed her eyes shut. Yep, he wanted nothing to do with her. All she needed to do was find that jade pendant, and for these next 6 months. Right then, her phone buzzed. It was Madame Fu. After she picked up, Madame Fu sounded frantic. Susie, honey, you've been so wronged. Come home quick. Tomorrow, Mom is going to help you get even. Susie was confused. Get even with who? Fu Nanching, just because his girl didn't explain things to him, that heartless CEO, he went and punished her hard. Susie and Madame Fu were chilling on the sofa, chatting and laughing. Then suddenly, bam, the main door flew open. Fu Nanching stormed in from outside, his eyes locked on Susie. Madame Fu was not happy to see her son. You dare to come back. You have such an amazing wife at home, and you're out there messing around. Is this how I raised you? He was, just about to explain, but Madame Fu cut him off. Get out and fix your mess. Don't even think about coming back until you do. She chucked a pillow at him. Get out. Don't make me lose my temper. Fu Nanching glared at Susie, who was smirking on the couch, and he felt this weird flash of anger. Oh, he would deal with her later. Then he spun around and left. Susie happily headed back to the master bedroom. She turned around to find Fu Nanching waiting for her in the room. Her face fell. How did you get in? Seeing the open window, she knew he must have climbed in. Fu Nanching didn't say a word. He just walked over, pulled Susie into a hug, and kissed her. Susie yelled, "Hey, don't bite my ear." He kissed her more gently. Why didn't you defend me this afternoon? Were you enjoying the show? Susie was blushing like crazy. Given our relationship, I don't have to help you. Fu Nanching scoffed, and then swept her up into his arms. What relationship tonight? I'm going to show you exactly what our relationship is. He fell back onto the bed with her. Susie got scared and held on to Fu Nanching for dear life. As a result, Susie was on top, and he was on the bottom, their eyes locked. The vibe was a little awkward. The next second, Fu Nanching cupped her neck and pulled her into a kiss. A few minutes later, Susie gasped for air. You better be gentle. I have work tomorrow. The next day, Susie woke up sore all over. She grabbed her phone to check the time, but accidentally saw what was trending, and it was all about her. Turns out Su Chinro had posted on Weibo, Susie, yeah, the girl our family took in is in love, but the guy's identity is complicated, so they're not going public. I'm just so worried she'll get hurt. Susie got angrier and angrier reading the comments. I've heard about this girl from friends in the biz. Apparently she's some nobody from the countryside with scars on her face. It'll be a miracle if she finds a good guy. Can someone please spill the tea? Who's this guy with the complicated identity? I'm dying to know. Fu Nanching walked out of the bathroom and noticed Susie looked totally bummed. He asked her why she seemed so down. Susie looked at the floor. Su Chinro made me trend online. Her fans are all demanding to see my boyfriend. She tossed the phone to him. Fu Nanching glanced at it. He stepped closer. You want to tell everyone about us? Susie smirked. What's the matter, you scared? He frowned. Seriously, think this through. Not saying anything is for your own good. I can have my people handle all this online stuff. Susie, who was already dressed, let out a bitter laugh. For my own good. Yeah, right. You just don't want people to... No, I've been with you, Fu Nanching. Otherwise, after we're done, no one would dare come near me. But don't worry. Once we're out of bed, we're nothing to each other. I won't blow your cover. Then she left for work. Fu Nanching. I'd rubbed his aching head. What come near her? What does she think I am? Over at the CC company, Susie called her bestie Lin Xia and told her everything. Xia was beyond furious and said she'd figure out a plan. Shortly after, Susie got in a bunch of girls crowded around her. Susie Su Chinro said on the internet you have a boyfriend, is that true? What's this about a complicated identity? Come on, spill. What's so complicated about him? Is he super rich or what? Like our President Joe Rich? Not that he'd ever be into her anyway. Susie sneered. Some people have worked here for ages and still don't have their own office. Maybe you should work more and gossip less. They were totally fuming. What's she so proud of anyway? She's just some girl with connections. Looking like that, what decent guy is ever gonna want her? Just wait. She's about to get so embarrassed. Fu Nanching arrived at, so wanting to grab dinner with Joe Jean, he hit up Secretary Song like, is Joe Jean even here on business? Nah, word is President Z is back for his girl. We basically had to move mountains to lock this meeting down, mostly to chat about a collab with CCE. Then Joe Jean showed up with some girl totally clinging to his arm. Not gonna lie, they looked like a total power couple, like they were completely in the same league. Fu Naning's eyes immediately locked onto Susie. Zine, giving her major hard eyes, was like, this is my girlfriend Susie. Susie just played it cool and said, Vice President, it's an honor. I've heard so much. His eyes narrowed into dangerous slits. He was so not okay with his asterisk girl suddenly having a boyfriend. The whole Ice Prince CEO thing was cracking. He was raging inside, giving the guy a death glare that could freeze hell over. Zini threw an arm around her shoulders, pulling a totally frozen Susie in front of Fu Nanching. Vice President, you know my girlfriend. Not wanting her senior to get dragged into her drama, Susie jumped in with a quick, nope. Feigning slammed his cup down. His gaze shot from Zine's hand on her shoulder to Susie's face, his expression pure ice, sending out some seriously intense vibes. Zine totally picked up on it and asked, Vice President, you good? Fu Nanning snapped back to reality, forcing a polite smile. It's nothing. Let's just sit and talk business. Fast forward 2 hours and Zine grabbed Susie's bag and looked over. Oh, gently, at the Vice President, Susie and I are gonna head out. Fu Nanching basically burned holes in their backs as they walked away. Suddenly, his whole expression went dark. He shot up from his chair, and you could just feel the temperature in the room drop. His voice was pure ice. We're leaving. Secretary Song just froze behind him, super awkward. Outside, Zine was being a total gentleman, helping Susie into the car and making sure she didn't hit her head. The way they were so naturally close and caring, it didn't look fake at all. Fanning saw the whole thing from across the street. His jaw was clenched, his face a total thundercloud. He never realized she could have that effect on someone. He coldly ordered his secretary to tail them. A Rolls-Royce Phantom peeled out after them, totally flooring it. When their car pulled up to some insane 6-star hotel, Fu Ning's jealousy morphed into pure rage. It was getting stronger, and he was about to storm right into the hotel after them. Secretary Song looked like he was thinking the same thing. Suxi hopped out of the car. Zhuan just smiled. Sister Xiao told me you needed someone to play your boyfriend. I didn't totally blow it, right? Suxi nodded, playing along. Of course not. But honestly, you just had to fool that one guy. You didn't have to be that convincing. Hearing that, he totally teased her. What you worried that VP is going to get the wrong idea? Suxi looked away, trying to deny it. Zhuan was just about to ask her to come up, saying he had her favorite tea, when suddenly Fu Nanching marched over his eyes, looking scary as hell cold. His presence just sucked all the air out of the space. In a voice that left no room for argument, he said, "She's not going anywhere." He got right next to Suxi and grabbed her arm hard. Suxi immediately cried out in pain. His grip was brutal, his eyes filled with pure hostility. "President Zhou, about your girlfriend." Zhuan grabbed Suxi's other arm, frowning. "Vice President, what's your problem? If you don't explain yourself, I'm not just going to let this go." He just let out this cold laugh. "Oh, really? Then let me make this crystal clear. Suxi and I..." Suxi shot Fu Nanching a death glare and cut him off. "Just shut up, fine, I'll go with you." Like half an hour later, Fu Nanching was dragging her by the wrist into a hotel. Sweet. He was taking these huge strides and just shoved her right onto the bed. Suxi's head was spinning. She gritted her teeth and stared him down, but he was already hovering over her, pinning her down. Then he leaned in and smashed his mouth onto hers. The kiss was angry and rough, almost like he was trying to bite her. It was all about making her feel bad. It was nothing like how it usually was between them. Tonight, he just wanted to let it all out on her. Suxi shoved him off with all her strength. "Fu Nanching, I'm not some toy you can just summon whenever you feel like it. If you keep up this psycho act, we are so over." And in the grand scheme of things, they'd only been a thing for a few days. Fu Nanching just smirked, pushing his tongue against his cheek. "What, found a replacement already? Talking a big game now." "Huh, Suxi, here's a rule, I don't share who I'm with." Suxi's clear eyes just got icier and icier. "Wow, what a coincidence. I don't like to share either. So you and that Su Qingru." Fu Nancheng's eyes flashed red. "Damn it, don't you dare say another word. Nothing ever happened with Su Qingru, but you're out here getting all cozy and..." Hugging Zhuan right in my face. "Suxi, you!" "Nothing happened with Zhuan. Believe it or don't, I could care less. I'm not your girlfriend, and I'm definitely not your wife. I don't owe you any kind of explanation." She tried to shove him off again, but his eyes went black as he grabbed at her clothes and ripped them. That was the last straw. Suxi slapped him hard. "Fu Nanching, you're completely insane," she yelled, storming out in tears. So Fu Nanching wanted to keep her on the side while playing games with Su Qingru, and now he gets to grill her. Like, where was all this supposed concern before? Just then, her senior's name popped up on her phone as soon as the call went through. Her senior asked, "Shixi, are you okay?" She tried to pull it together. "Senior, I'm fine. Seriously, I'm already gone, so don't even worry about it." But then her senior said, "Actually, since I've been back, I heard something. Fu Nanching is supposedly into someone back in the capital, and this isn't just a rumor, it's legit. Everyone in the capital knows." "Hey, all about it. Shixi, look, it's cool to have fun, but don't get in too deep. Okay, you gotta protect your heart." Susie felt like her chest was caving in like she couldn't breathe. Still, she just choked back the feeling and said, "I get it."